still remembers that several years ago, one of his apprentices came to see him and said that he could play chess online and compete with masters. But somehow, he just couldn't think of a chess move when staring at the bright computer screen. And he was dizzy and couldn't make a move. His own apprentice was fighting against that AI, and the battle was very intense. The AI's moves were so profound that even he couldn't understand them. At that time, Li Ziyu knew that he, the former chess king, had fallen far behind. Chen Sheng looked at Li Ziyu and suddenly said, "Old Li, people who can leave a name in one era do not necessarily have to shine in the next era. If it weren't for you, domestic chess might not be on the right track now. Without you representing the country in those years, there wouldn't be more fresh blood joining the industry. You are a pioneer, you have done enough in this position. The next era will be left to your successors to work hard." Li Ziyu listened to Shen Feng's words and looked up at the sun in the sky. "Yeah, we can only let them try their best there. Nothing I can do anymore. I want to find someone to play chess with me, but I don't understand the stuff on the internet. And there's no one in the nursing home who can play against me. Brother, you guys should stay here, otherwise I'll be too bored." Chen Feng could only shake his head helplessly. Li Ziyu sighed again after seeing this. He had invited Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan many times before, but the two either remained silent or shook their heads. Li Ziyu actually realized that these two would probably not stay in the nursing home for long. "I can't help feeling a little regretful." After walking around the nursing home, Chen Feng and Zhang Wanwan saw many old men greeting Li Ziyu. It can be seen that many people in the nursing home know his identity. At noon, Li Ziyu invited Chen Feng and Zhang Wanwan to have a meal in the cafeteria. All the dishes ordered were the best in the cafeteria. Li Ziyu even specially called the staff of the nursing home and asked for a bottle of white wine so that he could have a drink with Shen Feng. Originally, Shen Feng shouldn't have drunk alcohol for the purpose of filming the show. But after looking at Li Ziyu, Shen Feng still drank 2 glasses with him. Unexpectedly, Li Ziyu himself could not hold his alcohol tolerance and got drunk after just 2 drinks. In the end, it was the staff who helped Li Ziyu go back to rest. Watching Li Ziyu leaving, Zhang Wanwan felt even more embarrassed. She pulled Shen Feng's arm and whispered, "Should we tell him the truth?" "I'll tell you, don't worry." Chen Feng patted the back of Zhang Wanwan's hand and comforted her. MRLI is a respectable man, and Shen Feng has no intention of keeping him in the dark. However, Li Ziyu did not show up again for the rest of the afternoon. The staff also said that he seemed to be resting, so Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan didn't want to disturb him. The two of them could only continue the tasks arranged by the program team in the nursing home and play the roles of 2 elderly people. The afternoon is actually much longer than the morning. The weather in August is also quite hot. Chen Feng and Zhang Wanwan spent most of the afternoon staying indoors with the elderly people in the nursing home. The nursing home organizes indoor activities every day, such as movie screenings, book reading, handicrafts and so on. For example, today, the nursing home organized hand embroidery. Many old ladies gathered together holding needles and threads, embroidering something on a piece of white paper. Some old men are not interested in this, so they just read books, play with their mobile phones, or find something to do. Some old men would embroider with their spouses or old ladies with whom they get along well. Zhang Wanwan had never been exposed to embroidery, but she was quite interested in it. She asked the staff for needle and thread, found a pattern of a flying phoenix and started embroidering. Of course, for Zhang Wanwan, who had never been exposed to these things before, it was not easy to embroider it exactly as the pattern was, or even to embroider a rough outline. In particular, in order to make Zhang Wanwan look like an old person, the makeup artist put some fake skin on her hands, making her hands even more uncontrollable. The needle and thread left irregular marks on the fabric. This gave Zhang Wanwan a headache. Chen Sheng was standing by, watching Zhang Wanwan fumbling around and failing to embroider anything. So he whispered in Zhang Wanwan's ear, "Brother Wan, do you want to learn?" "I want to, but I can't learn this in a short time." Zhang Wanwan was a little depressed. Seeing that other old ladies were embroidering very easily, Zhang Wanwan felt that it shouldn't be very difficult. "I didn't expect it to be so difficult once I got started." Shen Sheng smiled and suddenly put his arms around Zhang Wanwan's waist. He picked Zhang Wanwan up from the wheelchair and held her on his lap. The other elderly people around immediately turned their eyes over. Zhang Wanwan was so embarrassed that she whispered, "What are you doing? There are so many grandparents watching us." "I'm here to teach you embroidery. You want to learn?" Chen Feng whispered in her ear, "I'll teach you." "Well, then you don't have to be like this, right?" "No, you learn faster this way." Shen Sheng said this and let Zhang Wanwan sit comfortably on his lap. Then he held Zhang Wanwan's hands respectively. One hand helped Zhang Wanwan hold the cloth, and the other hand helped Zhang Wanwan hold the needle and thread. Chen Feng leaned close to Zhang Wanwan's ear and whispered, "My dear, your needle should move like this first, and then like this." At first Zhang Wanwan felt embarrassed, but slowly, when she found that Shen Feng was really teaching her seriously. Her attention was focused on embroidery little by little. At this time, almost half of the old men and women present turned their eyes to them. Some of the old ladies had shy expressions on their faces, while some people had a hint of sadness and envy in their eyes, as if they were recalling something from the past. Especially after Zhang Wanwan gradually became familiar with the embroidery techniques. She was threading the needle below, and Shen Feng was helping her guide the needle from above. A thin needle flew alternately in the hands of the two men. A red line entwined and spread between the fingertips of the two people. Such a beautiful and harmonious scene makes people have a lot of thoughts in their hearts. If the old men and women at the scene were just watching with envy or were reminded of their memories, most of the young viewers in the live broadcast room got to eat a real dose of dog food. The scene of holding her in her arms and embroidering hand in hand is so beautiful. I just had lunch, can you please stop feeding me dog food? It's sugar. Feng Zi, are you really that good at this? Amid the barking of dogs from the audience, Zhang Wanwan finally finished embroidering one of the two phoenixes with the help of Shen Feng. She smiled and excitedly lifted up the embroidery to take a look at it. An old lady came over, pushed her reading glasses, and praised with a smile. This chicken is embroidered nicely, but the tail is a little long. The smile on Zhang Wanwan's face froze. But the old man next to the old lady said something fair. What are you looking at? Is this a chicken? Zhang Wanwan laughed again. It seems there are still people with discerning eyes. This is clearly a roast duck that has been cooked red. Zhang Wanwan. Is it really so ugly? Chapter 80 for my spouse has the final say. Zhang Wanwan knew that her embroidery was not good looking. Although she had Shen Feng's help, she, a novice who wasn't even halfway capable, was still a huge drag. So this phoenix. It doesn't really look like a phoenix. After being criticized by the old man and woman next to her, Zhang Wanwan quickly put down the embroidery she was holding. Is there anything simpler that I can embroider? Zhang Wanwan called the staff. This staff member seemed to be unaware that Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan were wearing makeup. She hurriedly brought them a few simple patterns and reminded them. Uncle and aunt, be careful. The expression on his face seemed to be a little envious and embarrassed. Shen Feng took the patterns, put his hands around Zhang Wanwan's waist, and placed the patterns in front of Zhang Wanwan, flipping through them one by one. Every time he turned a page, he asked Zhang Wanwan in her ear. How about this one? For this one? What about this one? Shen Feng's breath hit Zhang Wanwan's ears, making her ears itchy and her face red. Not to mention seeing the patterns, I couldn't even concentrate. She quickly moved her head away and picked a simpler pattern. Shen Feng originally wanted to teach her how to embroider step by step, but Zhang Wanwan insisted on doing it herself. Shen Chang had no choice but to hold Zhang Wanwan silently, watching her embroidering stitch by stitch in her arms. Because the pattern is relatively simple, and Shen Feng had introduced her to the art before. Although the final embroidery is still far from the pattern, at least you can tell that it is a flower. Zhang Wanwan stuffed the embroidery into Shen Feng's hand and whispered. This is for you. Shen Feng hesitated. Actually you. Zhang Wanwan glared and said, I know my embroidery is not pretty, but it is a token of my love, so just accept it. No, I mean, you actually forgot to take the needle off. Shen Feng said this, spreading out his hands. And he pulled out the needle that was stuck in his hand. Zhang Wanwan's face changed when she saw this, and she asked hurriedly. Does it hurt? Does it hurt? I didn't pay attention just now. He also grabbed Shen Feng's hand and examined it for a long time. Shen Feng smiled and touched her head. It's okay. It's just the outer layer of props that was pierced. Zhang Wanwan finally breathed a sigh of relief. She quickly took the needle away and put it in a safe place. Then he carefully checked the embroidery again. After making sure there was nothing else on it, she handed the embroidery to Shen Feng. Shen Feng glanced at the embroidered flower and said, This is jasmine. The flower language is the sincere love between two people that will never be separated. Thank you, bro. Zhang Wanwan was stunned. She doesn't understand flowers or their language. I didn't expect to pick such a suitable flower just by randomly choosing. I just picked it randomly. Does this flower really mean love? Shen Feng, it's fake, I made it up. Zhang Wanwan. Seeing Zhang Wanwan's speechless expression, Shen Feng smiled, tilted his head, and gently rubbed the side of her face. But the love between you and me that will never be separated is real. Zhang Wanwan's grip on the embroidery suddenly tightened. Although she was too embarrassed to respond to Shen Feng with words, she still imitated Shen Feng and rubbed his face. The two people whispered in a very low voice. None of the other elderly people around heard it, but they were all transmitted to the audience's ears through the microphone. The little interactions between the two were also recorded by the photographer. The flower language is made up, but my love for you is real. I knock like crazy. Today's finale is such an exciting one. I just want to ask if there is anything more exciting. It's a pity that both of them are wearing makeup. Otherwise they should hug each other and kiss right now. I watched chess in the morning, and originally wanted to come back in the afternoon to see if there was any chess to watch. But when I came in, I saw this dog abuse scene. Same chess player. I have been here since this morning and have not left. I have eaten lunch in this live studio. This pair is so interesting. The audience was very excited. In addition to embroidery in the afternoon, Shenfeng also accompanied Zhang Wanwan and learned to make some snacks in the nursing home. Shenfeng's cooking skills are unquestionable, but Zhang Wanwan's level is more worrying. After all, if Zhang Wanwan knew how to cook, she would never have let Shenfeng, whose cooking skills were not very good, mess up the kitchen. Although they are all snacks, the pastries baked by Shenfeng are all delicious in color, aroma, and taste. But Zhang Wanwan could only bake a few small black balls. Zhang Wanwan was so angry that she ate all the snacks baked by Shenfeng. By the time she finished embroidering and making snacks, it was almost 5 o'clock. The weather outside is cooler than at noon. Zhang Wanwan pulled Shenfeng aside and said that she wanted to go talk to Mr. Li and tell him the truth of the matter. Shenfeng nodded, pushed Zhang Wanwan, asked the staff about MRLIS residence, and went there. However, when they found MRLIS room, they discovered that the door was still closed. After asking the staff in charge, I found out that it seemed that MRLI was still sleeping and had not woken up yet. I didn't expect MRLI to have such a low alcohol tolerance. I should have told him about it over the table. Zhang Wanwan felt a little regretful, because it is estimated that in half an hour, they will finish the recording and leave the nursing home. Even if they come again tomorrow, they will come in a different appearance. It would have been inappropriate to explain to Mr. Li at that time. Seeing Zhang Wanwan's regretful expression, Shenfeng hesitated for a moment and said, I will find a way to explain it to him. Don't worry, Brother Wan. Zhang Wanwan didn't know what method Shenfeng had, but she has become accustomed to trusting Shenfeng. The two people left Li Ziyu's residence and returned to the yard of the nursing home. The sun was about to set, and the sky was somewhat red. Old people were strolling in the yard in groups of 3 or 4. Although it is not autumn yet, the leaves on the trees have begun to fall. A gust of wind blew and rolled up the fallen leaves again. Zhang Wanwan raised her head and watched the leaves drifting past the setting sun. Shencheng pushed her, and the sound of the wheelchair rolling across the ground was obviously loud. Yet it seemed so peaceful and harmonious. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on the two of them. The gray hair of the two people reflected a dim light. Such a scene was recorded in the photographer's lens. Many viewers in the live broadcast room also captured the picture. Compared to the vast snow-clad mountains and the endless sea of flowers, this scene seems too ordinary and too simple, but it is this kind of ordinariness that makes the audience feel the most touched. Feng Zi, do you think there will be a day when we are really old and you push me like this? And then we two will live together in a nursing home. In such a scene, Zhang Wanwan's heart suddenly became melancholy. She looked up at Shenfeng behind her and asked. Shencheng lowered his head and looked at Zhang Wanwan, smiling and shaking his head. Won't. Zhang Wanwan was stunned. But Shenfeng continued, we want to have a daughter, and preferably a son. By then, our whole family will live together. You will hold your granddaughter, I will hold my grandson, and we will take a walk together in the sunset. Zhang Wanwan whispered. Why are you even thinking about grandchildren? Why can't I think? Shencheng smiled slightly. I've thought about our whole life. The most sincere confession is not the happiness I promise you now, but it really is, staying with you till old age. After hearing what Shenfeng said, Zhang Wanwan's eyes suddenly turned red. It was clear that Shenfeng didn't say this seriously at all, but she just felt like crying. Wiping away her tears, Zhang Wanwan suddenly stood up from the wheelchair. She hugged Shenfeng's neck, stood on tiptoes and kissed Shenfeng. A photographer rushed to capture this scene, but the setting sun was right behind them, and against the light, the photographer could only capture a pair of people kissing. By the time he wanted to find a good angle, Zhang Wanwan had already let go of Shenfeng. She pulled Shenfeng's clothes, her eyes red, and whispered, I want to know what you think of our lives. Then I'll tell you. Shencheng helped Zhang Wanwan wipe her tears and spoke softly. But Zhang Wanwan shook her head. I don't want to hear you say that. She fell gently into Shenfeng's arms and leaned on Shenfeng. Let me experience it all myself, your imagined life together. Shenfeng smiled. He leaned down again and kissed Zhang Wanwan on her lips. Okay, my wife has the final say. Chapter 85. You are just as stubborn. 10 minutes later, Director Chen sent a car to pick up Shenfeng and Zhang Wanwan. The two people removed their makeup with the help of a makeup artist. Before leaving, Shenfeng asked Zhang Wanwan to get in the car first, saying that he had something else to do. Zhang Wanwan knew that Shenfeng was most likely going to deal with Mr. Li's issue. She obediently waited for Shenfeng in the car. The photographer wanted to take a picture of Shenfeng, but was stopped by Shen Feng. Another 10 minutes passed before Shen Feng returned to the car. Zhang Wanwan looked at him and asked, "Have you explained it clearly to Mr. Li? I haven't seen him, but he will understand what I mean." "Don't worry," Shen Sheng said softly. Zhang Wanwan nodded and followed the car back to the hotel. And at this time, in the nursing home, in Li Ziyu's room, Li Ziyu was holding his mobile phone, looking at the screen, seeing Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan leaving in a car. Sighed. In fact, he woke up after drinking and taking a nap at noon. Then he received a call from one of his apprentices. The apprentice had already told him that Shen Cheng and Zhang Wanwan were actually two young people who went to the nursing home to film a program. "Master, don't even think about keeping them. The two of them combined are not even as old as me. Let alone you." After hearing this, Li Ziyu locked himself in the room for the whole afternoon. He thought he could find a confidant to accompany him in spending the rest of his life. But I didn't expect that the final result would be so ridiculous. In the afternoon, he asked his apprentice for the live broadcast room of Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan, and started watching it in the room. Watching the two of them leaning on each other. Watching the two of them being affectionate with each other. Li Ziyu laughed out loud from time to time, and felt sad from time to time. These two little guys are quite interesting. When he saw in the live broadcast room, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan wanted to come to him to apologize in the afternoon. He himself didn't know why. It was as if he deliberately didn't want to listen to their explanation of the truth. He just didn't want to see them, and pretended to be asleep. After the two people left, he got up again and continued watching their live broadcasts. Until now, Li Ziyu was still a little puzzled when he heard Shen Sheng in the live broadcast room say that he would understand what he meant. Shen Feng never came to see him, nor did he explain anything to him. So how could he understand what he meant? Li Ziyu was very strange. He came out of the room with his cell phone and walked around outside to see if Shen Feng had left him any message. I asked the staff again if they had left any messages. Unfortunately, none of them. Li Ziyu frowned. Suddenly, he remembered a place. He hurried to the stone table where he played chess with Shen Feng in the morning. Sure enough, he discovered that a game of chess had already been set up on the stone table. This was an endgame that even Li Ziyu had never seen before. It's very complicated and difficult to solve. After just one glance, Li Ziyu came to this conclusion. He sat in the same position as in the morning and got off alone. Take a step, think for a long time, feel it is unreasonable, and take a step back. For a full half hour, there was hardly any major change on the chessboard. Li Ziyu was a little obsessed with his research. I didn't even notice that the sky was getting dark. It was not until it was dark and the chess pieces could no longer be seen that Li Ziyu remembered to take out his cell phone to light up the space. But before he could turn on the flashlight on his phone, a beam of light shone down from the side. Li Ziyu looked up in surprise and looked at the people around him. "Master, I'm here to see you." Surprisingly, it was the apprentice who called him in the afternoon. Li Ziyu's eyes were a little dazed. He hadn't seen this disciple, who was already in his 50s and was considered an elderly person, for a long time. I heard that he set up a chess club that organizes competitions and often travels abroad. It's not easy to see each other. Sit down, sit down, sit down, and study with me." Li Ziyu pushed his reading glasses and pointed to the seat opposite him. The apprentice nodded and sat opposite Li Ziyu. But he just held up his phone and pointed it at the chessboard without expressing any opinion on the game. A true gentleman watches chess without saying a word. He knew that his master hated being disturbed when he was solving a game endgame. An old man in his 70s and an old man in his 50s. The two of them sat in front of the stone table. Play this game of chess bit by bit. A full hour and a half passed. A smile appeared on Li Ziyu's face. The endgame was about to be broken. All it took was one move of the old king that had never been moved. He moved the commander's position to the side. The endgame is broken. And he also discovered that under this old sword that had never been moved, there was a piece of paper. Li Ziyu picked up the note and unfolded it. The note was left by Shen Feng. Written above was Shen Feng's explanation and apology to Mr. Limarel. I looked at it in silence for a long time. Finally, he smiled, rubbed his eyes, and sighed. Young people nowadays really know how to have fun. They really know how to play. Yes. The apprentice nodded and set up the chessboard again. "Master, shall we play a game?" Emarelli suddenly rolled his eyes at him. "Come on, you came all this way and you're going to starve? Go eat in the cafeteria." "Okay, then master, you have to treat us. My fellow disciples may also come over later. I have already made an appointment with them." "Why didn't you say so earlier? Come on, master will take you to a restaurant." Hotel lobby. After Shen Sheng and Zhang Wanwan returned to the hotel, they waited for a while before they saw the two groups of Meng An, Shang Wei, Li Tingting and Jia Tenan. However, Chen Lu and Xiao Shu's group never came back. Director Chen looked at the time and suddenly waved his hand. Okay, everyone, let's get ready to go to the last stop of our recording today. One last stop? Zhang Wanwan was stunned. It's getting dark outside. Besides, Shen Lu and the others haven't arrived yet. Li Dingting also said, shouldn't we wait for them? Director Chen chuckled and said, it's not us who are waiting for them. It's them who are waiting for us. The last stop we are going to is where the two of them are. Follow me and you will find out. This time, Director Chen found a bus and let everyone in the group sit on one bus. After getting in the car, Jiat Nan looked at Shen Feng excitedly and asked, Brother Shen, where did you go to record just now? What did you record? They went to a nursing home. Shen Feng said. Seeing Jiat Nan's excited expression, Zhang Wanwan couldn't help but ask, why? Is it that the recording you guys made is quite fun? Well, it's not fun. Jiat Nan suddenly felt a little embarrassed. He glanced at Li Dingting beside him. Then he whispered, we went to record a wedding ceremony. Because we chose the veil before. Director Chen gave us the task of acting as a couple holding a wedding today and acting out the wedding scene. Jiat Nan recalled the scene of him wearing a suit, holding the arm of Li Dingting, who was wearing a white wedding dress, walking together on the flower path. I feel my heart beating especially fast. Originally, Jiat Nan participated in this show simply to make some money and gain popularity. I don't plan to get involved with anyone just because of this show. But after spending these few days with Li Dingting, especially after the two of them simulated the wedding scene today, Jiat Nan was really attracted to Li Dingting. Zhang Wanwan is an experienced person after all. Zhang Wanwan saw through what Jiat Nan was thinking at a glance. She patted Jiat Nan's shoulder, wanting to say something to encourage him. But I don't know what to say. Finally she said solemnly, Xiao Jia, I wish you and Ting Ting's wedding will be all the best. Jiat Nan. Is there something wrong with this blessing? Li Dingting also lowered her head shyly. She pursed her lips and said nothing. Seeing that Li Dingting was silent, Jiat Nan thought that Li Dingting didn't like him. So he quickly said, I was just joking, Ting Ting. Don't take it seriously. Then Li Dingting whispered to Zhang Wanwan. Thank you. Thanks? This thank you completely confused Jiat Nan. In the end, Zhang Wanwan slapped Jiat Nan in the face. You still don't understand what Ting Ting means, you are so stupid. Don't say you know me when you go out next time? Jiat Nan then reacted. With a surprised expression on his face, he took Li Dingting's hand and said, Ting Ting, are you willing to follow me? Don't say it in front of the camera. If you have anything to say it in private. Li Dingting hurriedly stopped Jiat Nan and spoke softly. Jiat Nan nodded quickly, but still had an excited smile on his face. Like a fool. The audience watching the live broadcast wanted to cry and laugh at the same time. Damn it, why can such a silly Jiat Nan hook up with a talented girl like Li Dingting from Peking University and Tingshui University, while I, the great Wu Yanziyu from Jiangsu and Xizang, am still a single dog? Wow, I originally thought that watching the show only required me to eat the dog food of Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. But now it seems that I have to eat the dog food of Jiat Nan and Li Dingting as well. Don't cry, this is the last episode of this show. You won't get to eat their dog food. Damn, you making me want to cry even more. I'm begging you to not end date by spending my 10 years of being single. Zhang Wanwan looked at Shang Wei and Meng incuriously again. Sister Meng, what are you recording today? She remembered that the reward chosen by Meng Yan's group was a pot. Are they going to take the blame? We just play the role of an ordinary couple, running a small restaurant together, Meng Yan said with a smile. Although their experience was not as special as that of Li Dingting and Jiat Nan, she and Shang Wei also found it very interesting. Zhang Wanwan nodded. Xiao Jia's group is newly married, Meng Ji is living together after marriage. Feng Zi and I are elderly, so Chen Lu's group should be in the young and innocent period of just falling in love. But why did their group choose a sword? Zhang Wanwan looked at Director Chen in confusion. Director Chen coughed lightly. Originally, we planned to have them play a middle school couple. And the sword was supposed to be a school uniform. We were planning to film them dating in school. But the school we contacted said they didn't want to encourage underage students to fall in love. So our plan fell through. In the end, we could only find a small film and television base in Lan Yu County and let Chen Lu and the others wear ancient costumes to play a pair of chivalrous lovers. Director Chen's expression still showed some regret. After all, his original idea was to film the whole process of a couple from youth to maturity. From falling in love, getting married, living together, to growing old together. From school uniform to wedding dress. And then to a head full of white hair. How wonderful and romantic. As a result, due to the school's rejection, this last issue was incomplete. When Zhang Wanwan heard what Director Chen said, she immediately looked at Director Chen as if he was a fool. This made Director Chen feel very uncomfortable. He frowned and said, Can you stop looking at me the same way you look at Jay Adnam? Jay Adnan. What does it have to do with him? Zhang Wanwan said to Director Chen. Director Chen, you are just too stubborn. The school doesn't want to encourage underage students to fall in love early. So why don't you make Shenlu and Xiaotianshu students repeating a grade? Anyway, neither of them looks like a student. You can just say that one of them failed a grade for 5 years, and the other failed a grade for 6 years, and that they had a long-term love affair in high school. Students from the school have left one after another. And I have always been with you. The school leaders have all been replaced. But I am still by your side. How romantic and touching it is. Director Chen. Director Chen, you can be the director next time. Okay? Chapter I Texas cheers. Law NYU County Film and Television Base. This is also a newly developed project in Law NYU County. There are not many people actually filming there, but there are quite a few people visiting for sightseeing. Shenfeng, Zhang Wanwan and others were sitting in the car and saw many tourists waving at them, obviously recognizing them. Shenfeng's popularity is really increasing now. Seeing this scene, Director Chen couldn't help but feel emotional. When he first accepted Shenfeng into the team, he thought Shenfeng was just a relative of Shenfeng, a newcomer who came to take advantage of the popularity. Unexpectedly, Shenfeng brought him such a big surprise and brought such high ratings to the show. It's only been a few days. In less than half a month, he went from an ordinary and unknown newcomer to a celebrity who is frequently on the hot searches. This speed of rising to fame is unprecedented, if not unparalleled. Come to think of it, shouldn't classmate Shenfeng thank me? After all, I am a stepping stone to your success. Director Chen's eyes suddenly turned, and he smiled at Shenfeng to take credit. Anyway, Shenfeng became famous because of his show. Shenfeng glanced at him, smiled and nodded. Yes, thank you Director Chen for being a stumbling block on my road to success. Oh, that's right. No, what do you mean by a stumbling block? Director Chen thought about it and realized something was wrong. He frowned and said, when did I ever trip you? When have you never tripped me? Shenfeng said with a sigh, although you failed every time. Failure doesn't mean you haven't tripped before, right? Zhang Wanwan at the side also said, that's right. Don't you know how much trouble you have done to our group? Director Chen choked. It seems so. Although he had never succeeded, he seemed to have dealt with Shenfeng and Zhang Wanwan a lot. He coughed lightly and defended himself. Am I being naughty? I'm just training. Besides, wasn't it you two who took the money from me every time? It's obviously you two who cheated me every time. Chen Cheng said to Director Chen earnestly. Can you call that a pit? I call that training. Director Chen. My Director Chen, you have been unable to defeat Shenfeng since the beginning of the show. After so many episodes, why don't you learn your lesson? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But speaking of it, Feng Zi became famous really quickly, probably thanks to this show. That being said, with my brother Feng's looks, intelligence, and talents, he would still be popular even if he participated in some other shows. In other words, even if other celebrities were brought in to participate in Director Chen's program to replace Shenfeng, they certainly wouldn't be as popular as Shenfeng. Right? After all, Feng Zi's ability is here, so he is bound to be awesome. No one refuted this. If anyone dared to say that Shenfeng was incompetent, I guess everyone in the entire lit broadcast room would grab that person and criticize him. Shenfeng is incompetent. He is a great cook, a powerful singer, proficient in mathematics and multiple foreign languages, a professional pianist, and a professional chess player. If this is still considered incompetent, then there is probably no one truly talented in the entire entertainment industry. Besides their abilities, Feng Zi and Wan Wan are childhood sweethearts and a real couple. They really have a tacit understanding and are so sweet. I've followed so many CPS, but this one is the best. Even if Feng Zi doesn't have so many skills, I'd still be a fan of him just based on his interaction with Wan Wan. Indeed, Feng Zi dotes on Wan Wan too much from the first episode to the last episode to the last episode. She is fed dog food every day until she is full. Someone has already edited the scene where the two of them confessed their love this afternoon. I played it on repeat for a long time and it has cured my hypoglycemia. Stop talking, I already have diabetes. Zhang Wanwan was currently holding her mobile phone and looking at the comments in the live broadcast room. Seeing these comments, she suddenly glanced at Shenfeng beside her. Seeing that Shenfeng didn't seem to notice her, she secretly took a photo of Shenfeng, and I posted it on Weibo. Zhang Wanwan, I'll secretly show you my Feng Zi picture. As a result, in addition to those who liked the post, many people commented below, asking Wanwan why she posted so late. Much slower than Feng Zi. Zhang Wanwan was confused. Until she clicked on Shenfeng's Weibo and took a look. Shenfeng from La NYU Entertainment, let me show you my elder brother picture. Shenfeng actually took a picture of her secretly. I also posted on Weibo using a similar sentence structure to hers. The most important thing is that Shen Feng's Weibo post was published 5 minutes earlier than hers. No wonder some people said she came late, and some said she plagiarized Shen Feng. But wasn't this guy arguing with director Chen 5 minutes ago? When did he take the photo? Feng Zi, why are you so fast? Zhang Wanwan pinched Shen Feng's arm and said through gritted teeth. Everyone in the car looked at Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan with strange eyes. The expressions all looked interested. Zhang Wanwan then realized that there was something wrong with what she said. He quickly changed his words and said, I meant to post on Weibo quickly. It's Weibo, don't get me wrong. The expressions of the others suddenly became boring again. Shen Feng and the others turned their gazes back before quietly turning off the microphones on him and Zhang Wanwan. Then he leaned into Zhang Wanwan's ear and whispered, I have misunderstood. I feel like my wife is questioning me. What should I do? What should I do? Zhang Wanwan blushed and punched Shen Feng. I've explained everything to you besides, you took a sneak shot of me and posted it on Weibo. I haven't settled the score with you for this yet. Then you took a picture of me too. So that makes us even, right? Shen Feng smiled and lowered his voice. After we finish recording the show and go home, I will settle another account with you. Zhang Wanwan's face turned even redder. It is obviously a very happy thing to go home after work. But now, for some reason, Zhang Wanwan suddenly became afraid to go home. Blame it all on Feng Zi. When Zhang Wanwan's heart beat faster as she thought about it. The car has stopped. It stopped inside the film and television base, next to a scene specially used for filming costume dramas. As soon as they got off the car, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan saw Xiaotian Shu, Chen Lu, and some other staff members who had arrived earlier, preparing things. Meat skewers, vegetarian skewers, barbecue grill. Director Chen was the first to get out of the car and said to everyone, today is the end of the show, I'll treat you all to a barbecue. No limit, eat as much as you want, I've gone broke eating this, and my wife is paying for it. After Director Chen finished speaking, a middle-aged woman came up from behind and kicked him. What are you talking about? Go and help. Okay. Director Chen gave the middle-aged woman a flattering smile and then slipped away. The woman then smiled and greeted Shen Feng, Zhang Wanwan, and Jia Ten An and the others. Hello everyone, my name is Wang Ying. You can call me Sister Wang, I am Chen Ming's wife. Then, she turned to Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan and said, Xiao Chen. Wanwan, you two have to sign for me later, especially Xiao Shen. Remember to grill a skewer for me, Sister Wang. But I couldn't make it in time before. Must. Shen Cheng nodded at Sister Wang. Sister Wang led them to the barbecue grill and brought several boxes of beer and drinks. Let them sit, drink and eat wherever they want. You can grill whatever you want to eat yourself. Or ask their hired kebab chef to grill it. After this was said, several guests took a handful of skewers of meat. In the end, no one went to find the skewer chef. They all came to find Shen Feng. Isn't the chef recognized by the state banquet chef better than this kebab chef? Shen Feng smiled helplessly and said, I can't grill so many. Besides, grilling skewers has little to do with cooking skills. They are all marinated meat as long as the fire is not too deep. Anyone can grill them the same. That being said, everyone still wants to taste Shen Feng's cooking. Zhang Wanwan took a look and suddenly reached out to take all the skewers in the hands of these people and handed them to Shen Feng. Everyone's eyes lit up. Wanwan is still the best. Thank you Wanwan, thank you Shen Feng, I'm looking forward to eating the skewers you grilled. Then Zhang Wanwan smiled and said to them, thank you all for the skewers. We will grill these and eat them ourselves. Having said that, he took Shen Feng to eat barbecue. In the end, the group of guests could only hold the skewers and go to the skewer chef. Each of them feels quite aggrieved. The kebab chef feels more aggrieved than them. He thought his craftsmanship wasn't that bad, right? As for this expression, for a moment, the aroma of charcoal fire and cumin, along with the aroma of meat, wafted into the air. Director Chen appeared out of nowhere at this moment. In his hand, he was holding a large wine glass. He glanced at everyone, then raised his glass high and shouted at the top of his voice. Everyone, let's start dating today, officially ends today. Thank you for your hard work these days. Cheers everyone. Everyone put down the skewers in their hands and raised their glasses of wine or drinks. They all shouted together. Cheers. Chapter 87. It's not a serious award ceremony. Cheers. 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 The audience in the late broadcast room followed the shouting of the program team and also launched barrage. For the program crew, this is the end of this recording. For the audience in the late broadcast room, especially the old audience who have been following the show since the previous episodes, this is also the end of an unforgettable journey. Before many people clicked on this program and learned about it, they never thought that they would spend such a happy time in this live broadcast room. Every day I watch Feng Zi and Wan Wan show off their love. Watch other groups of guests being oppressed, and watch director Chen being humiliated. This show didn't seem to follow a routine from beginning to end. And it kept bringing them surprises. Many people who never followed variety shows before ended up watching this entire season. There will soon be nothing left to watch, and they just feel so empty. Most importantly, Feng Zi seems to have no other works except this show. If she stops performing in Date, where can we see Feng Zi? Many of Shen Feng's fans are more worried about this. Shen Feng's ability to attract fans is too strong these days. Not only relying on CP and appearance, but also relying on his own abilities to attract a large number of loyal fans. As soon as Date ended, these loyal fans had no place to pursue Shen Feng. It's like having no home. So many people went to the official Weibo of La and Yu Entertainment and Shen Feng's Weibo to petition, hoping that Shen Feng could film more dramas and participate in more programs. Of course, Shen Feng can't see all this now. He was grilling skewers of meat and eating the skewers that Zhang Wanwan fed him. How about it? Zhang Wanwan asked with a smile. She roasted the skewer for Shen Feng to eat. Zhang Wanwan thought the baked goods looked pretty good and thought they wouldn't taste too bad. Shen Feng nodded. Not bad, you are worthy of being my elder brother. You have inherited my true teachings. Of course. Zhang Wanwan was very proud. At this moment, Director Chen came over, rubbing his hands and asked, Student Shen, do you have any baked goods? Let me taste your cooking skills. Zhang Wanwan immediately passed another bunch to Director Chen. Eat this, eat this? Director Chen didn't think much about it. I thought this was baked by Shen Feng, so I took it with a smile. Took a bite. Then his face changed. He hurriedly found a bottle of beer. Gulped down several gulps, and then he breathed a sigh of relief as if he was reborn. And he looked at Shen Feng with horror. Student Shen, have you drunk too much? Why is the roasted food so hard? And why did you put so much chili powder in it? Oh, the smell is too strong. Zhang Wanwan was stunned. Ah, is it so unpalatable? This is what I baked. I didn't remember to put so much chili in it. She looked at Shen Feng again and asked worriedly, why didn't you have such a big reaction after eating it just now? Is it spicy and numb? No, I can eat spicy food, so I think it tastes good, Shen Cheng said while smiling, while taking a sip of yogurt that he got from somewhere. Zhang Wanwan. Forget it, she should just eat the meat grilled by Shen Feng and not waste food. Thinking of this, she stuffed the several skewers of grilled meat in her hand to Director Chen. Director Chen pushed it to Shen Feng as if he had held a bomb. He also took away all the skewers that Shen Feng had grilled. Zhang Wanwan glared and was about to speak. Director Chen quickly changed the subject and said, well, I came to you not only to get food, but also to discuss business. Didn't I tell you before that the best group of guests today will receive a reward? The awards will be presented soon. When Zhang Wanwan heard this, she no longer cared about the skewers and asked hurriedly, why, did we win the prize? Director Chen enjoyed eating a skewer that Shen Feng had grilled. And then said mysteriously, I can't tell you this for now. Come with me. At this time, someone had set up a projector and a screen on the open space. In addition to Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan, the other three groups of guests have also been called over by the staff. A group of people sat in front of the curtain. Next to the curtain, there were several boxes of various sizes. This is probably what is called a reward. When everyone was present, Director Chen signaled the staff to turn on the projector. Then he picked up the microphone and said, what's going to happen next is our final award ceremony. The first award to be presented is the Heavily Voice Award. After Director Chen said this, everyone looked at Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. When it comes to singing, they are definitely the best among these people. The audience in front of the live broadcast room thought so too. Director Chen smiled slightly. Suddenly, the projector was switched on. Immediately afterwards, the name of a group was seen projected on the big screen. An ugly combination. Jiat Nan and Li Ting were both dumbfounded. The other guests and audience were also dumbfounded. The two of them. The sound of nature. Isn't the sound of an angel screaming in pain when her vocal cords were torn and her tonsils were inflamed? And then someone stepped on her toes with spiked shoes better than the song they sang? Director Chen smiled and told the two to come and receive the award quickly. The two of them hesitated for a long time, but finally went up. Director Chen gave them two pairs of headphones. He asked them to put them on with a smile. Jiat Nan was very cautious and always felt that Director Chen had no good intentions. So be careful when putting on headphones. Li Ting was a straightforward girl and she just put it on her head. Then she heard the duet voice she and Jiat Nan sang in the previous show coming from the headphones. She was so scared that she quickly took off her headphones. Director Chen, you are not giving us a reward, you are sending us off. Jiat Nan's expression was even uglier than Li Ting's. Because the song playing in his headphones was, I'll Love You Until I Die sung by him. Although he was careful when wearing headphones, he was still shocked by his own high notes. Seeing the expressions of these two people, some viewers who were not familiar with their singing became curious. What's playing in the headphones? Is it that scary? Can you please release it so we can listen to it? Seeing the demands of these new viewers who don't know Jiat Nan and Li Ting, the old viewers were annoyed. You are courting death. I advise you not to have such thoughts, it may cost lives. But there are some old viewers who are quite bad. From there, he added fuel to the fire. What are you afraid of? It's not that scary, Director Chen, please let him out. Please let him out. Yes, let it out. Director Chen has always been a good director who is very responsive to the audience's demands. He immediately asked someone to play the voices in Jiat Nan and Li Ting's headphones. The guests and staff present hurriedly covered their ears. The old audience members smiled sinisterly and turned off the sound. Only the curious new audiences are still blinking their eyes, waiting for the arrival of the heavenly sounds. Then, oh my god, my ears. What kind of monster is this? Director Chen, please stop using your magical powers. We won't listen anymore. Director Chen cut off the sound at the right time. Then, amid the wailing of the audience, he smiled and sent Jiat Nan and Li Ting back to their seats. Zhang Wanwan glanced at Jiat Nan and Li Ting, then suddenly patted Jiat Nan and said, Xiao Jia, listen to me. What? Don't ever sing love songs to Li Ting again. Zhang Wanwan thought about it and added, no, don't sing any songs unless you want to break up. Jiat Nan gave a smile that was uglier than crying and said thank you. Director Chen made it clear that he was not here to present awards today. Instead, he is here to play a prank on the guests and the audience. So his second award was, of course, also unusual. The next award to be presented is the Bravery and Fearlessness Award. The winner is the Qianlu Group. Xiao Chenshu and Chen Lu both smiled bitterly and went to receive the award. This time, Director Chen gave out the small boxes as rewards. He said the reward was in the box. Xiao Chenshu and Chen Lu opened the box. The toy spider that jumped out of the room scared the two people so much that they went into cardiac and respiratory arrest. At this time, the screen was scrolling with the video of Xiao Chenshu and Chen Lu's group's fearful expressions when they encountered the black bandit snake before. And the scene when escaping the secret room. When it comes to escaping from a secret room, Chen Feng and Zhang Wanwan are the group that come out the fastest. Then Chen Lu and Xiao Chenshu were definitely the group that screamed the most. Although Xiao Chenshu looks big and strong, he doesn't seem to be very courageous. Not to mention Chen Lu, a little girl. The two of them played the escape room like a haunted house. The scrolling footage looked like a public execution of both of them. Director Chen also asked the two of them to give their acceptance speeches, which was really bad. After sending Xiao Chenshu and Chen Lu away, everyone was certain that Director Chen was not here to distribute awards today. This just to torment people. Therefore, everyone became nervous about the next award to be presented. I was afraid that I would be the next one chosen. Director Chen saw this and spoke again. Everyone, don't be scared, the previous awards were just jokes. But this one is different. As he spoke, Director Chen took out a box. The latest Apple 13 mobile phone is inside. See, this time the reward is a genuine new phone. I asked someone to buy it for me it's definitely not fake. Seeing this, everyone became excited again. But Director Chen's eyes swept over all the guests. Finally, it stopped on Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. He held the microphone and said loudly, the next award is the worst award of the season. The winner of this award is the Peng Hubei Group. Zhang Wanwan jumped up excitedly and was about to rush towards the Fruit 13. Then I heard Director Chen gasp. The photographer of Peng Hubei Group. Zhang Wanwan? Chapter 88 Fanfiction. When I saw the photographer rushing forward, holding the movie and crying, Zhang Wanwan was stunned. Is this award also given to photographers? Director Chen looked at Zhang Wanwan. Why, don't you think it's unreasonable? Think about Xiao Zhang, who has to eat your dog food up close every day, and when you guys are enjoying the delicacies of the land and the sea, he can only eat boxed lunches next to you. Every day he has to endure cruel abuse that he shouldn't have to endure at his age, and endure both physical and psychological torture. Isn't this worthy of a reward? Photographer Xiao Zhang hugged Director Chen and cried, Director Chen, you still understand me. Wow, thank you, Director Chen. Okay, stop crying. Director Chen patted Xiao Zhang on the back gently and said, you have worked hard these days, this is what you deserve. As for the money for the phone, I'll deduct it from your salary. Go away. Photographer. What salary? What deductions? He didn't have time to ask questions. He had already been dragged away by the people Director Chen had called. Seeing this scene, the guests and the audience were stunned. Is Director Chen turning evil? I think I was assimilated by Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. Indeed, I feel like he is acting a lot like Feng Zi and Wan Ji right now. What do Feng Zi and Wan Ji feel? The feeling of being immoral. Regardless of whether it is blackening or assimilation, Director Chen's award ceremony is not over yet. Next, Director Chen presented more than a dozen awards in a messy manner. For example, the Youngest Partner Award was given to the Wei Meng Group, and the reward was 2 pairs of Zuligian senior shoes. The Best Landlord Prize was given to Jie Et Nan, and the reward was a deck of playing cards. The award for acting skills that will never be crushed was given to Meng An, and the reward was a script that she and Zhang Wanwan had performed before. The Best Woman Award. The most outrageous one was given to Director Chen's wife, Sister Wang. The reward is a diamond ring. There were also the Most Manly Award, which was given to Jie Et Nan, who was once forced to dress as a woman, and the Best Partner Understanding Award, which was given to Shang Wei and Meng An, who almost had a falling out because of their tacit understanding in guessing words. There was also a Best Director Award awarded to him. A series of awards made people in the live broadcast room feel like Ma Jian's mother was opening the door for Mahjong. It's so numb. I originally thought that tonight I would just watch them eat meat and drink. But I didn't expect Director Chen to give me such a hard job. I understand, but I am still shocked. Director Chen went crazy today. I want to cut out this award ceremony and post it online to poison other people. Remember to cut out Jie Et Nan's singing, otherwise it won't be poisoning, but murder. Anyway, after a bunch of mess of awards, Director Chen finally walked to the largest box, the only one that had not been awarded. He patted the mysterious box and said, "The last prize is related to the task we released today." The day he asked everyone to play other roles to spend the day. As Director Chen spoke, the pattern on the screen changed. The picture is divided into 4 parts. Each piece represents the performance of a group of guests today. The chivalrous couple has a deep affection for each other and they roam the world with swords. An unpleasant combination of walking down the aisle in a wedding dress and a suit. A powerful duo that runs life with a wok and spatula. There is also the white-haired Peng Hubei group at dusk. Director Chen looked at the screen and said slowly, "As you can see, everyone completed their tasks very well today. But since we said that only the best group will get the reward, we'll have to decide who's better. So, after the audience vote, the group that won today's final grand prize is." Director Chen extended his hand towards Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng. Shen Feng, Zhang Wanwan, Peng Hubei group. The staff and several other groups of guests applauded and celebrated. They didn't think there was anything wrong with losing to Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. After all, they were very aware of the excellence of this group. Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan walked over to Director Chen, who smiled and said to them, "This time the reward really isn't a prank. It's a genuine reward. You two deserve it. I know you are a real couple. I hope this film can bear witness to your love. I also hope that you can finally grow old together like you did today." Shen Feng shook hands with Director Chen and nodded in response. "Of course, thank you Director Chen. Okay, open your gifts." Director Chen said this and left all the shots to Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. The two of them opened the box together. I found a box inside. I opened it again, and it turned out to be another box. After opening it again, there were boxes again. Zhang Wanwan's expression froze. She looked at Director Chen and found that the Director Chen, who had a serious face before, was now grinning wickedly. Obviously this is another of his dirty tricks. Just dismantle it honestly. Don't worry, the reward in the end will definitely be very good. Director Chen saw Zhang Wanwan looking at him and said with a smile, a day he was destined to get his revenge, and he was in a very good mood. A very good mood. Zhang Wanwan glared at Director Chen, then asked Shen Feng, "Feng Zi, how do we deal with him?" "Simple." Shen Cheng smiled and said a few words in Zhang Wanwan's ear. Zhang Wanwan nodded immediately, then ran to Director Chen's wife Sister Wang and said, "Sister Wang, ask Director Chen to help us unpack the boxes. And I'll ask Feng Zi to grill skewers for you. You can grill whatever you want to eat. How about that?" Sister Wang's eyes lit up. She didn't even care that she was wearing the diamond ring that Director Chen had just given her. Pulling Director Chen by the collar, he walked to the big box. Then he forced Director Chen to unpack the boxes. Zhang Wanwan stood next to Director Chen, watching while eating melon seeds. She would urge him from time to time, "Hurry up, how come you've only demolished 3 floors in such a long time? Sister Wang, look at him slacking off." When Sister Wang heard this, she reached out and twisted Director Chen's waist. Director Chen begged for mercy and pain, then looked at Zhang Wanwan bitterly and said, "You are too unkind. I packed so many boxes so that you can have a surprise in the end. I have put in so much effort, and you are repaying my kindness with hatred. You even bribed my wife. You have no moral principles. Despicable, despicable, despicable." Shen Feng patted Director Chen, You've offended too many people tonight, didn't you see that many of the guests were staring at you? We're here to find something for you to do so that they won't cause you any trouble. We have good intentions, how can we be repaid with evil? So stop being a baby and just go for it. Director Chen burst into tears. Finally, Director Chen dismantled a large box that was half a person's height, leaving only a small box the size of a palm. Handed over to Shenfeng and Zhang Wanwan. Shenfeng opened it and found a very exquisitely crafted necklace inside. Director Chen wiped his sweat and panted while saying, "Although it's not a particularly valuable item, it was specially made by someone hired by our production team. Take it, I hope you guys can be together forever." Damn, I'm so tired. Water. Director Chen left after saying this. He even specifically drove away the other guests who were there to watch the fun. Shen Cheng looked at Zhang Wanwan and took out the necklace. It was gently tied around Zhang Wanwan's snow-white neck. Then he slowly placed a kiss on Zhang Wanwan's lips. "Wanwan, I love you." The staff members far away recorded the scene with their cameras. This photo quickly became the new avatar of the Penghu Bay Super Topic. And in such a night, the live broadcast of Let's Start Dating Today has finally come to an end. The mood after the end is always sad. When leaving the next day, even Zhang Wanwan couldn't help but have red eyes. Although she has lived to lives and filmed countless movies, but in her previous life, she always felt numb and heavy when filming. Only this time, when she participated in the variety show with Shenfeng, did she really devote herself wholeheartedly and feel really happy. It is because Shenfeng is by my side that everything becomes meaningful. Sitting in the car from Lanyu County to Changhan Airport. As Zhang Wanwan thought this, she looked at Shenfeng beside her. But he found Shenfeng was browsing his phone with a mysterious smile on his face. The expression on his face was very wrong. Zhang Wanwan was stunned by what she saw. Her daughter Fengzi rarely shows such an expression. What happened? Was he possessed, or did he see something he shouldn't have seen? Zhang Wanwan immediately glanced at Shenfeng's cell phone. I only saw words like old fox and little cat. Before she could see anything else clearly, Shenfeng averted her eyes. Zhang Wanwan reluctantly pulled Shenfeng's hand away and said, "What are you looking at? You're smiling so abnormally." "Nothing, just a fan fiction about the two of us written by a fan." Zhang Wanwan blinked. "Fan fiction? Ours? Then let me see it. Zhang Wanwan immediately became interested. However, Shencheng put the phone back into his pocket. He smiled and said, "Forget about just watching it, why not go home and practice it tonight?" "Practice? What to practice?" Zhang Wanwan was a little puzzled. But Shenfeng seemed unwilling to say anything more. Out of curiosity, she went to her own Super Topic and asked several people using her secondary account if there were any fan fictions she could read. The last fan sent her a document mysteriously. Zhang Wanwan opened it and took a look out of curiosity. Then her face turned red. "This Fengzi, why did you start watching these messed up things?" And I thought about what Shenfeng had just said. Go home and practice at night. Zhang Wanwan covered her face with her phone out of embarrassment. Shenfeng raised his eyebrows and said, "What's wrong? Wan brother, are you practicing unlocking your phone with your forehead?" Zhang Wanwan put the phone in front of Shenfeng's face again. "I want to practice unlocking your skull with my phone." Chapter 89. That's fine, let's have some fun. After meeting Sister Lin in Changhan City, Zhang Wanwan and Shenfeng took a plane back to Zhonghe City. On the way, Sister Lin praised Shenfeng highly. "Xiao Chen, this is the first time I've seen a new artist become so popular in his first variety show. You have so many abilities, why didn't you mention them before? You're really amazing. Xiao Shen, are you tired these days? Are you hungry now? Do you need me to give you something to eat?" Zhang Wanwan immediately said, "He's not hungry, but I am." "Sister Lin, why don't you ask me? I've only been an artist following you for a few years." Sister Lin rolled her eyes at her. "It's because you are my artist that I don't bother to care about you. Xiao Chen is so outstanding, of course I have to find a way to catch Xiao Shen in my hands." Zhang Wanwan raised her eyebrows. "I am his wife. He must listen to me if I tell him to go east, he dare not go west. You should please me." "Bullshit, do you know how many big companies have contacted me now? They are all asking about Shenfeng's contract price." Sister Lin sneered. "Mingle Eye Entertainment, which offered the highest price, is even willing to pay 500,000 yuan to buy a copy of Shenfeng's contract from me. To put it bluntly, the 500,000 yuan is just a tip for getting information. When the time comes to sign Xiao Shen, the price will definitely be dozens of times higher than this." As she spoke, Sister Lin poked Zhang Wanwan with her finger and said, "You are his wife, don't you want him to have a better future? They are offering a signing fee of several million or tens of millions. Can you not let him go? What's more, whether it's Mingle Eye Entertainment or other companies that contacted me, they are basically large companies, much larger than Lion Yu Entertainment. and more formal if Xiaoshen goes to those companies. He will only develop better and soar to the sky. When Zhang Wanwan heard this, she fell into deep thought. She thought about it and finally nodded. Sister Lin. What you said makes sense if you catch Feng Zi, wouldn't it hinder his development? No, Sister Lin, forget it. Zhang Wanwan stood in front of Shen Feng like a hen protecting her chicks. I will find a good company for Feng Zi when I go back. Sister Lin took the mineral water bottle and smashed it on Zhang Wanwan's head. Silly girl, didn't you say before that you wanted to start your own business? If you want to start your own business, why would you find a company for Xiaoshen? Xiaoshen, why don't you keep this important resource for yourself? Zhang Wanwan rubbed his head and said confidently. I also need startup capital if I go it alone. I will sell Shen Feng first. And then use the money to work on my own if I make money. I will redeem Feng Zi. What if you don't make any money? Sister Lin looked at her. If I didn't make any money. And I didn't make any money anyway. I didn't lose anything. It was Feng Zi who worked for others, not me. Zhang Wanwan said. Sister Lin covered her forehead speechless lie. This girl, how come she is so happy to sell her husband? As the person involved, Chen Feng felt that he had a say. He raised his hand and said, actually, I participated in the variety show this time just to help Wanwan settle the penalty issue and make an official announcement at the same time. It's mainly the official announcement, right? Sister Lin said. Chen Feng coughed lightly. In short, I don't actually plan to develop a long-term career in the entertainment industry. To be honest, I would rather be a house husband who cooks for the night. No. Unexpectedly, Sister Lin and Zhang Wanwan expressed their opposition in unison. Sister Lin looked at Shen Feng and said, Xiaoshen, do you know how much potential you have now? Why do you think those big companies are trying every means to poach you now? Don't talk about other companies, just take Lian as an example. The boss calls me every day and asks me if I have renewed my contract with you. He said he will agree to any conditions you set. Forget about acting. With your looks, singing ability, and versatility, you can definitely shine in the entertainment industry. With such a good foundation, you actually want to be a house husband? This is a waste of talent, don't you know? Zhang Wanwan also glared at Shen Feng. Feng Zi, aren't you happy filming variety shows and acting with me? Why don't you want to be a star? Shen Feng spread his hands. I just want to take care of you and cook for you every day. That's enough. Zhang Wanwan patted Shen Feng and said, even if you're a star you still have to cook for me. The most important thing is that you are so valuable now. So hurry up and make some money to support your family while you are still popular. It won't be too late to quit the circle when you are no longer popular. I am still waiting to use the money you make from selling your body to start my own business. Shen Feng. Sure enough, this girl was still thinking about selling him to make money. However, seeing that Sister Lin and Zhang Wanwan were so opposed, Shen Sheng could only say that he would think about it again. To be honest, Shen Feng is not really interested in being a star. If he wants to make money, he has ways to do it. This time I debuted in a variety show mainly for Wanwan. Or it could be said that it was mainly for the purpose of finding an opportunity to make an official announcement openly. Now that his goal has been achieved, he has nothing else to ask for. And it doesn't matter whether he becomes a star or not. If his wife strongly requests it, he will definitely obey. After hearing Shen Feng say that he was willing to consider it again, Zhang Wanwan and Sister Lin began to discuss with each other what kind of dramas and film and television roles they should get Shen Feng to take in the future. He didn't even ask about Shen Feng's wishes. Shen Sheng simply leaned back in his seat and fell asleep until he returned to Zhonghai City. After returning to Zhonghai City, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan were wrapped tightly by Sister Lin and got off the plane. When the group got off the plane, they saw a large group of people waiting to pick them up not far away. He was holding a light sign in his hand, but it was too far away, and I couldn't see what was written on it. Zhang Wanwan couldn't help but ask Sister Lin, are there any other big stars on the same plane with us? Sister Lin rolled her eyes. Then he tapped Zhang Wanwan's head with his hand. My great star Zhang, they are all here to pick you and Xiaoshen up. How popular do you think you and Xiaoshen are now? Are you still the second-tier celebrities and the newcomers? Don't you know how many trending searches you have been on in the past few days? Although these words were directed at Zhang Wanwan, there was still some pride and complacency in Sister Lin's tone. These are all the artists she brought up. Although she didn't do anything other than wiping butts. She said to Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng, I have asked the airport security to come here soon. You must pay attention to safety and be careful you can greet the fans. Don't have too much interaction, understand? Shen Feng nodded. Zhang Wanwan naturally didn't need to listen to Sister Lin's instructions. She had seen much bigger scenes in her previous life than this. After the security guards arrived, Sister Lin took Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan through the busy airport reception queue. Fans on both sides held up signs that read Peng Hu Bei and Circle Locked Couple. When they saw Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan coming over, the fans cheered. Circle Locked Couple YYDS. I'm your fan. You guys are so sweet. Shen Feng, husband. Zhang Wanwan was originally in a good mood. When he heard this, his expression changed immediately. She yelled at the fan, "He's my husband, mine?" And another male fan came out and shouted, "Husband Shen Feng, I want to give birth to a baby for you." Zhang Wanwan glared at him again, "How can you give birth to a child?" Amid the laughter of the crowd, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan walked out of the airport. It has to be said that Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan's fans cover a wide range, not just young people. So the overall age is a bit older. And the fans who came to pick them up at the airport were not that crazy. The quality is pretty good. After leaving the airport, Sister Lin drove Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan to La MYU Entertainment's company. Although Zhang Wanwan didn't really want to come, the company's boss specifically said he wanted to meet them today. And they are also contracted artists under La NYU, so it would be bad to not meet. Arriving at La NYU Entertainment, Sister Lin originally wanted to take Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan to meet the company's CEO. As a result, when they arrived at the company, the boss's secretary actually said that the boss wanted to talk to Shen Feng alone for a while. Sister Lin is very smart and she can tell at a glance that the boss has bad intentions. But it was not easy to let Shen Feng not go, so he could only remind Shen Feng. "Xiao Shen, remember, no matter what conditions he offers you, don't renew your contract with him. This company is not suitable for you and want to develop. Don't be tempted by him what he can offer, others will only offer more." Shen Feng nodded and followed the secretary to the office of Wang Wei NQI, the president of La NYU Entertainment. Wang Wei NQI is in his 30s. He wears a pair of gold-rimmed glasses and a suit, and looks quite gentle. Seeing Shen Feng coming in, he smiled elegantly, made a gesture of invitation, and asked Shen Feng to sit opposite him. Then, while pouring tea for Shen Feng, he said in a gentle voice, as if he had known Shen Feng for a long time, "Shen Feng, I watch every episode of the variety show you and Wanwan filmed. It's really good, and you are really talented. It is a great honor for our company to sign you." "Mr. Wang, you're welcome," Shen Feng said with a smile. Wang Wei NQI put down the teapot and looked at Shen Feng. He pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses and continued, "Let's be frank, I hope to renew my contract with you for a while longer. What do you think?" Shen Feng was about to refuse. But Wang Wei NQI said, "Don't be so hasty to reject me. I know that Shanglin doesn't want you to renew your contract with me. She has even been trying to get Zhang Wanwan to leave. But after all, she is just an agent and cannot represent you. Actually, from a contractual point of view, you and Wanwan got married privately and announced it openly on Weibo, which to some extent still made Wanwan breach the contract. It's just that the company decided not to pursue the matter anymore. If you agree to renew your contract with us, even if it's only for 1 year, we at La NYU Entertainment will not mention the penalty for breach of contract again. But if you don't agree, we will do our best to collect the penalty." He pushed his glasses up again, and the smile on his face gradually became a little darker. "Your family runs a supermarket. Although Zhang Wanwan's family has a company, it is difficult to pay such a large amount of liquidated damages. You probably don't want both parents to be burdened with such a debt, right?" Wang Wei NQI's words made Shen Feng narrow his eyes. He sat on the sofa, looked at Wang Wei NQI, and said slowly, "You investigated me and threatened me? So what?" Wang Wei NQI took a sip of tea. "To put it bluntly, Shen Feng, you may be very popular now, but you have no backing or background. Even if you are very popular, it will be easy for me to control you." "Yeah." Shen Feng also picked up the teacup and took a sip. "Why not? Let's have some fun." Chapter 90. Do you know why an ambulance was called? La NYU Entertainment is not a good company, and Wang Wei NQI is not a good boss. Shen Feng knew this a long time ago, when he was reborn before. He spent some time investigating entertainment matters related to Zhang Wanwan. As Zhang Wanwan's boss, Shen Feng knew exactly who Wang Wei NQI was and what he had done. Originally, Shen Feng didn't want to pay any attention to this person. After all, Zhang Wanwan planned to go out and work on her own after the contract expired. So Shen Feng thought that he would not have any interaction with this guy. "I didn't expect this guy to come to my door." Not only did they investigate him, they even threatened him with Zhang Wanwan's penalty for breach of contract once again. Since he was willing to die, Shen Feng was willing to bury him. After hearing what Shen Feng said, Wang Wei NQI couldn't help but laugh. "Shen Feng, you wanna play with me? Why do you think you can play with me? Because of your popularity? Or because of your family's supermarket background? Don't even think about it, young man. This is a game of capital. If you don't have capital, you are nothing." Shen Cheng leaned on the sofa and looked at Wang Wei NQI. Nods slowly. "You're right, this is a game of capital. But who told you that I have no capital? Mr. Wang should have an idea of how many companies are planning to sign me these days. If I announce to those companies that as long as someone is willing to pay the penalty for breach of contract for me and Wan and I are willing to switch jobs to them at a low price, do you think those companies will rush to pay for me? Before Wang Wenqiu could say anything, Shen Feng smiled and said, "It's not that you don't know, on the contrary, you know this very well. That's why you didn't let Sister Lin and Wan come in with me. You were afraid that they would give me some advice. You have investigated me in your mind. I am just an ordinary person. And I am still very young, so you think that a young man like me who has not experienced much in the world would not think so much. Based on your understanding of people of my age. You think that as long as you use the huge penalty to scare me, I, a young boy, will lose my composure and finally obey you. But unfortunately, you now realize that you didn't scare me. And I even discovered your little plan, so you are a little nervous. And you want to cover up your nervousness by drinking water." Wang Wenqiu, who was about to reach out to touch the teacup, paused and quickly retracted his hand. Shen Sheng watched his little movements with a smile. Then he continued, "Not only are you drinking water, your left foot is shaking unconsciously, and the frequency of pushing your glasses has increased. You are touching your nose while pushing your glasses, which is also a sign of your guilty conscience and nervousness." Wang Wenqiu frowned, stood up and opened his mouth to say something, but Shen Feng interrupted him again. "You stood up and looked at me, hoping to use your superior position to put pressure on me and boost your own self-confidence. When you stood up, you stamped your feet unconsciously, to relieve your own stress." As he spoke, Shen Feng also stood up and continued to look at Wang Wenqiu. "Boss Wang, you have built such a big company in your 30s. You seem young and promising, but why are you so easily nervous and guilty? Is it just because your strategy didn't scare me? It's not that simple, is it?" Wang Wenqiu's expression finally changed. "You, what nonsense are you talking about? Stop talking, I won't sign you. I won't mention the penalty for breach of contract anymore. Get out of here." Shen Feng, however, had a smile on his face. He walked to Wang Wenqiu, pressed Wang Wenqiu's shoulders, and forced Wang Wenqiu back onto the sofa. Wang Wenqiu tried his best to struggle, but Shen Sheng hit him on the shoulder, and he felt the pain as if his shoulder was dislocated. "All of a sudden I can't use any strength anymore." Shen Feng sat beside him, crossed his legs and continued, "The reason why you suddenly feel so guilty and nervous is not just because I am not as easy to fool as you think. Moreover, my conversation with you reminded you of your past experiences. I deliberately mentioned the word psychology many times to remind you of the psychiatrist you visited for 5 consecutive years. As for the reason for seeing a psychiatrist, it's because you, Mr. Wang, once destroyed 2 families." When Shen Feng said this, Wang Wenqiu had already hugged his head with both hands. His face was covered in cold sweat and he looked pale. Shen Sheng seemed not to see it. He continued talking to himself. Wang Wenqiu once pursued a girl desperately, but it turned out that the girl was with another man. The young and hot-headed Wang Wenqiu was furious at the time and went to argue with the girl and the man. The more they talked, the angrier they got, and finally they started fighting. He accidentally killed the man. The girl was so scared that she wanted to call the police. Wang Wenqiu was afraid that he would be reported, so he strangled the girl to death in a fit of panic. Afterwards, he dumped the 2 bodies into the river. Their families searched everywhere for them but couldn't find them. In the end, the parents of both of them died of depression due to worry. During that period, Wang Wenqiu was extremely scared every day. I couldn't sleep well every day when I closed my eyes. I saw those 2 families. My life was extremely miserable." He found a psychologist friend for 5 years, and through medication and psychological counseling, he finally moved on from that period of history. But he also developed a chronic illness. If someone mentioned the names of those 2 people in front of him, or reminded him of the time when he saw a psychiatrist, he will relapse. It's like this. This is Wang Wenqiu's secret, and few people know it. It's a pity that Shen Feng is one of the very few. His eldest brother's boss has a criminal record, so of course Shen Feng has to find out. While patting Wang Wenqiu on the shoulder, he smiled and said the names of the 2 people killed by Wang Wenqiu. After hearing these 2 names, Wang Wenqiu finally couldn't bear it anymore. A nightmare that had troubled him for many years suddenly came back to his mind. He vomited all over himself. Shen Feng sat a little further away from Wang Wenqiu. Then he smiled and asked Wang Wenqiu, "Mr. Wang, how do you feel? By the way, I should call an ambulance for you." Having said that, Shen Sheng picked up the phone. How do you know all this? What's your relationship with those 2 people?" Wang Wenqiu asked, gritting his teeth. Shen Feng raised his eyebrows. "Boss Wang, by asking this, does that mean that everything I just said is correct? You've checked so thoroughly, do you still need to ask me if I'm wrong?" Yes, so what if I killed them? Not only them, since you know all this. You can't even think about living. With my power, it would be easy for me to kill you. Wang Wenqi gritted his teeth and glared at Shen Feng fiercely. If it weren't for the recurrence of his old illness and the inexplicable lack of strength in his arms, he would probably have attacked Shen Feng by now. Shen Feng still crossed his legs calmly. He ignored Wang Wenqi and dialed the phone instead. Hello, is this 110? This is the CEO's office on the top floor of Lion Yu Entertainment. I've caught the suspect in the 422 tragedy. Yes, case 422. I'm sure of that, because I've been tracking him for years. Yes, please call an ambulance when you come. Why? Because when I came to confront the suspect, he reacted violently and attacked me. I knocked him out in self-defense. Don't worry, his life is not in danger. Okay, thanks. Shen Cheng hung up the phone. Wang Wenqi frowned and looked at Shen Feng, then suddenly sneered. Call the police? You want to arrest me just based on your one-sided statement? Shen Cheng shook his phone and opened a recording. At the end, it was Wang Wenqi's voice. Yes, so what if I killed them? Not only them, since you know all this, you can't even think about living. With my power, it would be easy for me to kill you. Wang Wenqi's face changed. But what frightened him even more was yet to come. Because Shen Cheng put away his phone and stood up. Smiling at him, she asked, Mr. Wang, do you know why I called an ambulance? As he spoke, Shen Feng picked up a vase on the table. Shen Cheng said softly under Wang Wenqi's shocked gaze. You'll know soon. Chapter 91. Enthusiastic citizen comrade Shen Feng. When the police and medical staff rushed to the office of the CEO of Lion Yu Entertainment, Zhang Wanwan, Sister Lin and the secretary who received them were all stunned. After a moment's silence, several people hurried to the CEO's office. What he saw was Wang Wenqi being carried out with a bloody head. And later, Shen Feng was brought out. Zhang Wanwan was startled and hurried to Shen Feng and asked, Feng Zi, you what did you do? I didn't do anything. Shen Cheng looked innocent. I'm just doing something nice. Good thing? Zhang Wanwan looked at Wang Wenqi, who was lying on a stretcher, with his face covered in blood, unconscious, and bruised and swollen. You call this a good thing? Shen Feng spread his hands. Isn't it a good thing to eliminate harm for the people? Seeing Zhang Wanwan's nervous expression, Shen Feng smiled and patted her head, saying softly, Don't worry, it's okay. Just ask Sister Lin to take you home later. I'll take care of things here. Be good and listen to me. Having said that, Zhang Wanwan still couldn't feel at ease. After Shen Cheng was taken away, she and Sister Lin hurriedly drove to the Public Security Bureau and waited outside. All the two of them were waiting anxiously at the Public Security Bureau. Sister Lin's cell phone rang. She answered a phone call and her expression immediately turned ugly. After hanging up the phone, Sister Lin quickly opened Weibo and took a look. The more he looked, the worse his face became. Seeing this, Zhang Wanwan also took out her mobile phone and opened Weibo. Soon, I found out why Sister Lin looked unhappy. Less than an hour had passed since Shen Feng was taken away. But at this time on Weibo, entries like Shen Feng was arrested had already topped the list. An influential Big V in the entertainment industry wrote an article with the title, There is a picture to prove that Shen Feng was arrested for wounding someone. Is the perfect celebrity finally in vain? This article not only contains photos of Shen Feng being taken into the police car, but also many pictures from inside Lion Yu Entertainment. There must be a traitor, otherwise this photo wouldn't have spread so quickly. Zhang Wanwan said. Yes, and it's not just an insider. Look at the Big V who posted the article on the surface. He has always been a neutral entertainment blogger. But in fact, he is an account supported by Phoenix Entertainment. You should know the pillar of Phoenix Entertainment. That Fu Yan. Sister Lin took a deep breath. Shen Cheng has been on the hot search list many times recently, which has made Phoenix Entertainment and Fu Yan's fans very jealous. Phoenix Entertainment has also been trying to find negative information about Shen Feng, and even wanted to pay me to buy it. They have been keeping an eye on Shen Feng's movements, and this time Shen's arrest has given them an opportunity. Phoenix Entertainment has finally nurtured a top star like Fu Yan, and they don't want Xiao Shen to steal the limelight. As long as they have the chance, they will definitely beat Xiao Shen to death. As she spoke, Sister Lin clicked on the article. The comments below have been controlled by Fu Yan's fans. The comments of passersby and Shen Feng's fans who said to wait for official news and not to jump to conclusions were all pushed to the back. However, the various fabricated, slanderous, and defamatory remarks made by Fu Yan's fans all received a very high number of likes. Many bystanders who do not know the truth, when they click on the relevant articles and hot searches, the first thing they see are these remarks that are unfavorable to Shen Feng. Under preconceived notions, many people subconsciously thought that Shen Feng had really committed a crime and was arrested. As a result, many fans didn't even have a chance to explain themselves. As long as they spoke up for Shen Feng, they would be accused by Fu Yan's fans of whitewash and being part of the internet troll army. Sister Lin frowned, but seemed helpless. This is the power of capital. If Shen Feng also has a strong company supporting him, or if Shen Cheng has his own studio running, then Sister Lin can still mobilize manpower to fight back. Unfortunately, Shen Feng is now just an artist of Law and YU Entertainment. The CEO of Law and YU Entertainment was even beaten into the hospital. In this situation, even if Sister Lin had a plan in mind, she had no ability to implement it. Just as Sister Lin and Zhang Wanwan were scrolling through Weibo and thinking of a solution with a depressed mood, they suddenly saw Shen Feng and several policemen walking out. As they walked, these people were chatting and laughing. I've watched your live broadcasts online before, and I thought you were amazing. I didn't expect you to have this kind of skills. Amazing. Really amazing. Yes, now we have irrefutable evidence. The 400 tweet that has troubled us for many years can finally be solved. You're welcome, this is what I should do. Shen Feng smiled and shook hands with the two policemen. Then said, if you need me cooperation in the future, feel free to contact me. I will definitely help if I can. Well, the same goes for you if you need anything. Please feel free to contact us. After all, you really helped us a lot this time. As he spoke, Shen Feng walked over under the escort of two policemen. Zhang Wanwan and Sister Lin hurried over to greet them. Seeing Shen Feng was fine, Zhang Wanwan asked, Fengzi, what happened? Are you okay? Of course I'm fine. Didn't I tell you not to worry? Shen Feng said. A policeman at the site also said with a smile. 1G, this time your Fengzi helped us solve a big case. By the way, I am a fan of both of you. Remember to give me an autograph later. Solve the case. Didn't you beat Wang when QIU unconscious? Does this count as solving the case? I was in a state of defense out of necessity. Wang Wenqiu had a criminal record of murder and was a fugitive suspect. After I exposed his crimes, he wanted to kill me, so I knocked him out. Although his head was bleeding, I didn't hit him very hard. I stopped when he lost the ability to continue to hurt me. It can be considered as self-defense. Shen Feng said. Zhang Wanwan was even more confused. A criminal record of murder? Offense? What did Wang Wenqiu do before? Not only Zhang Wanwan, but even Sister Lin was a little slow to react. She walked up to the police and asked, Comrade police, what's going on? Can you tell us? The two policemen looked at each other and explained the situation to Zhang Wanwan and Sister Lin. At first, when they heard Shen Feng say that Wang Wenqiu was the real murderer of 422, I certainly didn't believe it and thought that Shen Feng was making an excuse for knocking Wang Wenqiu unconscious. But later, Shen Feng borrowed the police station's computer and hacked into Wang Wenqiu's computer and the computer of the psychologist who was treating Wang Wenqiu. Through the medical records they exchanged, it was determined that Wang Wenqiu had been treated for post-homicide trauma syndrome by a psychiatrist. The police then called the psychologist, who finally had no choice but to tell the truth and gave Wang Wenqiu away. Combined with the recordings made by Shen Feng, the police have been able to identify Wang Wenqiu as the culprit behind the 22 case that year. Now all we have to do is wait for Wang Wenqiu to wake up so that the police can conduct the final interrogation and prosecution of him. In short, Comrade Shen Feng really helped us a lot. Thank you so much. Only after hearing the police officer's thanks did Sister Lin come to her senses. She didn't expect that Shen Feng actually did a good deed. Not only is it a good thing, but it also solved a major case. Sister Lin had heard of case 422 before, but she never expected that the murderer was actually Wang Wenqiu. Well, police officer, can I trouble you for something? Sister Lin said as she took out her cell phone, opened Weibo, and let the two policemen take a look at the current situation on Weibo. I hope you can come forward and speak for Shen Feng. Today, for some of Fu Yan's die-hard fans, it was like Chinese New Year. Since the broadcast update, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan have been on the hot search list every now and then. Although his popularity still cannot be compared with Fu Yan. More and more people compare Shen Feng and Fu Yan. It is said that Fu Yan is not worthy of the position and is not worthy of the title of top idol. He is crushed by Shen Feng in all aspects. Such remarks made Fu Yan's fans feel deeply resentful towards Shen Feng, especially Fu Yan's old employer Phoenix Entertainment, which would occasionally give this group of fans guidance. As a result, Fu Yan's fans treated Shen Feng as an enemy. When Shen Feng was arrested, this time, Fu Yan's fans were eager to celebrate and sing and play swords, under the deliberate guidance of Phoenix Entertainment. Some fan leaders, with many of Fu Yan's fans, rushed directly into Penghu Bay, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan's topics in Weibo, and stirred up all kinds of trouble. What all-round star. He even hired some trolls to say that my Fu Yan is unworthy of the position. I think your master Shen Feng is the one who is unworthy of the position. He beat up his own boss and even hospitalized him. Is this a violent maniac worthy of being compared with my brother? The entertainment industry is a magic mirror if you stay in it for a long time. You can see whether someone is a human or a demon. My Fu Yan has been popular for so long without any scandals. On the other hand, this Shen Feng has only been popular for less than a month and such a scandal broke out. It's ridiculous. Shen Feng's fans naturally couldn't stand it. However, the photos of Shen Feng being taken away by the police and Wang Wenqi being carried away on a stretcher had already been circulated all over the internet through an article by a big V in the entertainment industry. To be honest, this time the evidence is irrefutable. Although many fans think that there must be a reason why Shen Feng hit people, but it is undeniable that no matter what, this is already a piece of black material. It's hard to reverse. Therefore, many fans have no idea how to fight against these crazy and arrogant Fu Yan fans, and can only be bullied into silence. There is no doubt that Fu Yan's fans have gained an overall advantage. Seeing this scene, Fu Yan's agent in the Phoenix Entertainment office smiled. I was having a headache before, wondering how to take down Shen Feng. I didn't expect that he would cause trouble and ruin himself. Besides, Law NYU Entertainment has no power, and they can't even afford to use a troll army. I just did some work, and Shen Feng's super topic has exploded. His reputation has gradually turned to being black all over the internet. Without this so-called all-round star, there will probably be no newcomers in the entertainment industry who can affect your status. Fu Yan sat opposite his agent with a disdainful smile on his face. I thought he was a great rival, but this is all I could think of. How boring. As he spoke, Fu Yan took a sip of water from the cup while opening his phone to check Weibo. The result of a Weibo post that came up made Fu Yan spit out water. Zhang HA, Police Online. We would like to thank the enthusiastic citizen Comrade Shen Feng for helping our bureau solve the 422 case. Comrade Shen Feng not only made great contributions to solving this case, but also bravely fought with the suspect at the risk of his own life in order to capture the suspect. His courage is commendable. We hope that Comrade Shen Feng's acting career will reach new heights. Picture. In the picture below, Shen Cheng stood with several policemen. In his hand, he held a large banner. Chapter 90 to go together? Fu Yan ran was stunned. I almost threw my phone away. Fuck, what's going on? Didn't he beat the guy to the hospital? How did he become a caring citizen who was brave enough to do something righteous? Fu Yan's agent also hurriedly looked at the Weibo post. It was released by the official Weibo account, so it is impossible to be fake. Then he hurriedly made a few more phone calls. After a moment, he frowned and said, "It's over, it seems that Shen Feng has really been released." I asked the informants at Law NYU, and they said they saw Shen Feng and the others had already returned to the company. Check what's going on, quickly. Fu Yan threw the cup on the table and said angrily. 8 was popular a few days ago, and Shen Feng was on the hot search list again and again. Not only that, they are all hardcore hot searches. Either they are good at singing, have a high level of piano skills, or are professional at chess. Not to mention Fu Yan, Shen Feng's versatility almost overshadows 90 of the stars in the entertainment industry. It's fine that celebrities can sing, dance and play the piano. But why the hell do you have to learn advanced math competition questions, and more than a dozen foreign languages? Shen Feng's existence is indeed a dimensionality reduction blow to the entertainment industry. Of course, Shen Feng doesn't have as many fans as him, and he can't even be ranked among the top stars yet. But Shen Feng's rise was too fast, which gave Fu Yan a great sense of oppression. So Fu Yan panicked. So when Fu Yan heard that Shen Feng had beaten someone and was taken away by the police, he immediately went to his agent to confirm the authenticity of the news. And then heaved a sigh of relief. But I didn't expect it. It was a little too early for him to be happy. Now, not only has Shen Feng not been arrested, he has also been regarded as an enthusiastic citizen who helped solve the case. What should I do now? Fu Yan looked at his agent and asked hurriedly. There was no trace of the pride he had when he looked down on Shen Feng before. The agent glanced at Fu Yan and then shook his head. What can I do? I can only collect all the water army and marketing accounts I bought before. This time, we lost. The public opinion on Weibo changed immediately after the Zhang HA police posted this message. Fu Yan's fans who had previously criticized Shen Feng and described him as an unforgivable criminal, as well as some marketing accounts that were hoping for chaos in the world, were shocked when they saw this Weibo post. What about the promise that you'll be sent to jail for beating up your boss? What about the violent tendencies? How come everything has changed? Even now official accounts have come out to support Shen Feng, saying that Shen Feng is an enthusiastic citizen who bravely helped solve the case. Is this reasonable? Many of Fu Yan's fans want to say that this is unreasonable. But this is the news released by the official account and it cannot be questioned. Some irrational fans of Fu Yan even dared to go to the Weibo of Zhang HA Police Online and question whether the official Weibo had received money from Shen Feng. As a result, these fans, without exception, were directly banned and their accounts were blocked by Weibo. Now, all the Fuyan fans who had been dancing in disco thing under the Shen Feng and Peng Hubei super chats have become listless. Shen Feng's fans, who originally thought they were in the wrong and dared not speak, suddenly became angry when they saw this. He chased Fuyan's fans and cursed them all over the street, feeling so proud. Some of Shen Feng's fans even went to the marketing accounts that posted articles slandering Shen Feng and asked them to apologize. The marketing account could only apologize and delete the article in shame. All of Shen Feng's fans are very proud of themselves. Are you saying that Mai Fengzi has committed a crime? Are you saying that Mai Fengzi has violent tendencies and isn't worthy of her position? Look at what's written on the banner. Concerned citizen. Acting bravely. Your idol is awesome, your idol is great. Why doesn't your idol help catch a murderer? Later, some of Shen Feng's fans even used this incident as a joke. There's no way a star can't even catch a murderer. Right? His sarcastic look made Fuyan's fans very angry. But there is nothing I can do. Because they lost. The moment the official clarification came for Shen Feng, Fuyan's fans were completely defeated. This war without gunpowder on Weibo has left many big names in the entertainment industry dumbfounded. For example, Minglai Entertainment wanted to sign Shen Feng with a large sum of money. Minglai Entertainment focuses on creating high-quality stars rather than simply traffic stars. With the appearance of Shen Feng, he naturally became the only choice for Minglai Entertainment. After what happened today, the boss of Minglai Entertainment, who had been keeping an eye on Shen Feng, put aside all the things on hand and decided to see how Shen Feng and Sister Lin were going to deal with the matter. It is definitely true that Shen Feng beat Wang Wenqi so hard that he was hospitalized. And there are pictures to prove it. Therefore, Minglai's boss felt that Shen Feng would most likely find some plausible excuse for beating Wang Wenqi, and thus reverse the current public opinion. If the situation can be reversed, then Minglai's boss will continue to consider signing Shen Feng. If the situation cannot be reversed, Minglai's boss will give up on Shen Feng. No matter how talented a person is, if he has a stain on him, it will eventually have an impact. The result was something that Minglai's boss did not expect. Shen Feng didn't make any excuses. The police in Zhonghai City actually came forward to speak for Shen Feng. Not only that, Shen Feng, who originally beat Wang Wenqi, has transformed himself into a good citizen who bravely stands up for justice. Even helped solve a murder case that happened several years ago. Apart from a certain singing god who can catch suspects every time he holds a concert, Shen Feng should be considered the first star who has helped the police solve such a big case. This not only helped Shen Feng clear his reputation, but also made Shen Feng even more popular. Minglai's boss immediately picked up the phone and called Sister Lin. Hey, Sister Lin, 100 million, I'll sign Shen Feng for 5 years. Sister Lin, who was driving, answered the call using the speakerphone. Zhang Wanwan, who was sitting nearby, heard the high price of 100 million and immediately said, sign right away. Sister Lin rolled her eyes at Zhang Wanwan and said, sign you idiot, don't interrupt me. Then he said to Mr. Minglai on the other end of the phone, Mr. Lei, I'm just Shen Feng's agent. Shen Feng didn't sell himself to me, I can't decide who he wants to sign or not. Also Mr. Lei, we are all acquaintances, and I will not hide it from you. In fact, Wanwan is planning to work on her own if Wanwan works on her own. It would be best for Shen Feng to stay with Wanwan. What do you think? Lei Ming, the CEO of Minglai Entertainment, frowned slightly after hearing what Sister Lin said. Go ahead, let Wanwan sign me as well? The price is the same as Shen Feng's. We can sign now, I will pay Liam Yu's penalty. Minglai Entertainment is not a small company like Liam Yu that has only been in business for a few years and only has a second-tier star as its mainstay. He is a true giant in the entertainment industry. Minglai's assets are enough to defeat dozens of Lion Yu. The real deal is rich and powerful. When Sister Lin heard this, she looked at Zhang Wanwan. Wanwan, what do you mean? Zhang Wanwan looked at Shen Feng. Shen Feng smiled and rubbed her face with his hand, saying, Wanji, you have the final say. You don't have to worry about money. If you lose money, I will find a way to make it in the future. As long as you feel happy, that's all. Zhang Wanwan thought about it. As someone who has lived to lives, she knows how free she was when she worked on her own in her previous life. That kind of life where she is not bound by the constraints of the company, and can take the roles she wants and act in the movie she wants is what she really likes. The high price offered by Minglai is certainly tempting, but for someone who has had a successful career in his previous life. In this life, Zhang Wanwan just wants to live a happy life. So she slowly opened her mouth and refused. I'm sorry. Mr. Lei, I still plan to work alone, which is more free. Lei Ming was very sorry. However, Zhang Wanwan suddenly changed the subject. But I'm working on my own now and I don't have any startup capital. How about I sign Feng Zi to you? Instead of signing her for 5 years at 100 million. How about signing her for 50 years at 1 billion? Zhang Wanwan. Sister Lin interrupted Zhang Wanwan's words with a stern roar. Zhang Wanwan pursed her lips in grievance and whispered. Forget it, Mr. Lei, I won't sign it. In fact, Lei Ming also knew that if Zhang Wanwan really planned to work alone, Sister Lin would definitely not let Shen Feng run away. The CP of Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan is very popular now and will only become more popular in the future. One is an all-round star, and the other is an acting talent who was named by the veteran movie star. The future for this couple is definitely limitless. Knowing this, Lei Ming was willing to pay a sky price to sign them both. Although he felt regretful that he couldn't sign, it was understandable. He laughed and said, "It's okay if you work alone. It is indeed important to keep Shen Feng by your side. I support you and wish you all the best. By the way, since you don't plan to sign with our company, then there should be no problem with cooperation, right? I'm planning to prepare a trainee talent show recently. Are you two interested in joining us?" Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng looked at each other. Finally, Zhang Wanwan said, "Boss Lei, although I'm not very old, I've been in the industry for many years. As for Feng Zi, she's not the type to be a trainee, so let's just forget about it, right? Hey, who asked you to be trainees, with your singing level? If you were trainees, why would we choose you? We could just let you two form a group and debut." Mr. Lei laughed and said, "I want you to be guests and mentors for a few episodes. How about it, are you interested?" After sending Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan back to Zhang Wanwan's villa, Sister Lin hurried to discuss the variety show with President Lei. The variety shows that Minglai Group is going to organize are definitely big budget ones. And they are definitely not comparable to the low-cost variety shows like Date that director Chen casually put together. For Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan, who are currently very popular, they really need this kind of big budget and high traffic program to consolidate their fame. After returning home, Zhang Wanwan nestled comfortably on the sofa in the living room. What happened to Shen Feng today almost scared her to death. Although Shen Feng was fine in the end, she still felt physically and mentally exhausted. "I just want to have a good rest for a while." Shen Cheng walked to her side. Zhang Wanwan was too lazy to give Shen Feng a seat. She pursed her lips and said, "You go sit over there. I'll take this place." In the end, Shen Feng did not change places. Instead, he stretched out his hands and pressed his body forward. He gave Zhang Wanwan a sofa bang. Zhang Wanwan, who was sleeping with her eyes closed, was so scared that she suddenly shuddered and thought there was an earthquake. Shen Feng smiled and looked at Zhang Wanwan meaningfully. "Brother Wan, now that we're home, do we have anything to do?" Zhang Wanwan immediately understood what Shen Feng was talking about. Her face flushed, and she curled up on the sofa whispering, I don't know what you were talking about. I'm tired. I need to rest." Shen Feng leaned close to Zhang Wanwan's ear and whispered in her ear, "Then shall we go and rest together?" Chapter 93. She clearly distinguishes between public and private matters and is definitely on the side of her husband. When Zhang Wanwan's face turned red, Shen Cheng had already grabbed her into his arms. Zhang Wanwan struggled symbolically for a few times, and then nestled limply in Shen Feng's arms. A look of submission. In fact, Zhang Wanwan had already prepared herself mentally before returning home. As a result, when Shen Feng was about to carry Zhang Wanwan upstairs to the bedroom, the cell phone on the table rang. If someone else called, Shen Feng would definitely not answer the call. You can check the caller ID at a glance. "Father." Shen Feng could only sit back on the sofa holding Zhang Wanwan. Picked up the phone and answered the call. "Shen Xiaojiuo and Tang Ping don't check Weibo very often. Naturally, the news is received much slower. I just found out that Shen Feng was taken to police station. I called right away to ask what was going on." Shen Feng explained to Shen Xiaojiuo and said that he would be home in a few days before hanging up the phone. Then he picked up Zhang Wanwan again and prepared to go upstairs. As a result, just as I reached the stairs, I heard knocking on the door again. Zhang Wanwan seemed to remember something and said, "My phone ran out of battery, so I asked Sister Lin to help me order some takeout. I plan to come back to eat it, and it looks like it's already arrived." Shen Feng could only helplessly put Zhang Wanwan down and go get the takeaway. When Zhang Wanwan saw the takeout, she wanted to pounce on it and eat it. This time, Shen Feng didn't say anything and just carried Zhang Wanwan upstairs. But after taking just 2 steps, there was another knock on the door. Shen Cheng looked at Zhang Wanwan depressedly. "How many takeouts did you order?" Zhang Wanwan was also stunned this time. "I only asked Sister Lin to order 1 restaurant. But did she order an extra one?" Shen Feng frowned. Reluctantly put Zhang Wanwan down again, and ran to open the door. As soon as he opened the door, 2 words popped up in Shen Feng's mind. Finished. Because the person who came this time was not delivering a courier. But, uncle, aunt? Chen Feng looked at Zhang Ziyi and Su Yan at the door, trying his best to appear less complicated. Chen Feng is not afraid of Zhang Ziyi and Su Yan. But once the father-in-law and mother-in-law come, they definitely can't leave in a short time. Ian Wanwan might not be able to rest. Chen Feng was so tired. When Zhang Ziyi and Su Yan saw that it was Chen Feng who opened the door, smiles appeared on their faces. However, Zhang Ziyi reacted quickly and soon put away his smile. He coughed lightly, frowned and said, Chen Feng, why are you here? Uncle, forget it, you don't have to say anything. We are here to see Wanwan, so please get out of the way. Zhang Ziyi said this and walked into the villa with a haughty look on his face. It was Su Yan, however, who greeted Chen Feng with a smile. This surprised Shen Chang a little. Su Yan and Zhang Ziyi used to be very opposed to him and Zhang Wanwan being together. Even Su Yan felt that he and Wanwan were not suitable for each other more than Zhang Ziyi. Why does it feel like Su Yan's attitude has become a lot better now? When Zhang Wanwan saw that it was her parents, she quickly straightened her messy clothes and hair and went to greet them. But I just called them mom and dad. As for enthusiasm, it's not enthusiastic at all. Ever since she argued with Zhang Ziyi about Chen Feng last time she went home, Zhang Wanwan felt there was some distance between her and her parents. Especially now, not only did she and Chen Feng officially announce their marriage, but it also caused a sensation on the internet. Zhang Wanwan felt that Zhang Ziyi and Su Yan came to her this time to scold her. So she sat opposite Zhang Ziyi and Su Yan, without saying a word, and looked like she didn't care no matter what you said. She didn't speak first. Zhang Ziyi looked at her and then at Chen Feng, but didn't speak first. In the end, Chen Feng brought 2 glasses of water and asked, Uncle and Aunt, what's the matter with you this time? Zhang Ziyi took a sip of water and said in an unnatural tone, This is my daughter's home. I came to see my daughter. Is there something wrong? As he spoke, Zhang Ziyi suddenly looked at Chen Feng again. He cleared his throat and said, Chen Feng, come to think of it, I heard that you were taken away by the police before? I knew you were a dishonest kid. Why are you being released so soon? Zhang Wanwan couldn't help but say, Dad, Chen Feng is doing good things to help solve the case. Why can't he be released? What good can he do? Zhang Ziyi looked disdainful. Why can't he do good things? Can you not be so prejudiced against Chen Feng? Didn't you see that the Zhang Hai police posted a Weibo to speak for Chen Feng? Zhang Wanwan was very unhappy. Chen Feng patted Zhang Wanwan's hand, then looked at Zhang Ziyi with a smile. I did go to the police station to make some notes before, but they are all minor matters. I'm sorry to bother you. Uncle, who is worried about you? I'm afraid you'll do something bad and involve my daughter. Zhang Ziyi glared at Chen Feng and took another sip of water. Then he suddenly stood up and said to Chen Feng, Come with me. Let's talk alone. As he said that, he was about to take Chen Feng to the study on the 2nd floor. Zhang Wanwan knew that her father looked down on Chen Feng and thought that Zhang Ziyi was going to say something bad to Chen Feng again. So she hurriedly wanted to go with the 2 of them. But Su Yan smiled and held her back. After seeing Zhang Ziyi and Chen Feng go upstairs, Su Yan smiled and whispered to Zhang Wanwan, Don't worry. Girl auntie, look at your father's expression, he's just pretending. Pretending. Yes, in fact, he came here specifically to see Chen Feng. Su Yan pulled Zhang Wanwan to sit next to her. Your father and I went to the company for a meeting earlier. After the meeting, I heard from a kid in the company that Chen Feng was arrested for beating someone. Your father and I were shocked, so we wanted to call you to ask what happened. As a result, I don't know what happened and I couldn't get through to your phone. Your father called your agent, but he was busy all the time. But someone told him that Chen Feng was released. He didn't beat anyone, but helped solve the case. Your dad thought you guys would probably come here, so he hurriedly drove me here to see if Chen Feng was injured and what the situation was. Zhang Wanwan was stunned. Her cell phone couldn't be reached because it ran out of battery and turned off after she was busy browsing Weibo at the Public Security Bureau. Sister Lin should be discussing cooperation with Minglai Entertainment, so she has been on the phone the whole time. But these are not what Zhang Wanwan cares about. What puzzled her most was, her father actually cares about Chen Feng so much. Even because he couldn't get in touch with him, he drove all the way from the company to the villa? Is he afraid that Chen Feng will beat me? Zhang Wanwan asked doubtfully. Su Yan smiled and said, Come on, your dad is always worried that you'll beat up Feng Zi. Don't be fooled by your dad's look of disdain for Chen Feng. He's just pretending. In fact, ever since your dad and I watched the variety show you and Feng Zi filmed, we both think Feng Zi is a nice person. We have all agreed to let you be together. I even had dinner with Feng Zi's parents in private. Zhang Wanwan was very surprised. Also very pleasantly surprised. But I still can't figure it out. Well, since my dad already recognizes Feng Zi, Why does he still pretend to look down on Feng Zi? Why bother? Su Yan curled her lips. You should ask your husband about this. If Shen Feng hadn't interrupted that day and insisted that Zhang Ziyi give him time to prove himself, Zhang Ziyi would not pretend to look down on Shen Feng now to stimulate Shen Feng to work hard. Your father said that if he accepted Shen Feng too early, Shen Cheng would not be as motivated as he is now. But don't tell Feng Zi that your dad accepted Shen Feng. Otherwise, all your dad's efforts in acting will be in vain. Su Yan warned. Zhang Wanwan nodded superficially. In fact, he had already taken out his freshly charged mobile phone and sent a message to Shen Feng. Expose Zhang Ziyi. That is someone else's husband. Feng Zi is her husband. Zhang Wanwan is a person who clearly distinguishes between public and private affairs. So she will definitely side with her husband. At this time, in the study, Zhang Ziyi was standing with his back to Shen Feng, lecturing him in a serious tone. I don't care how much love you and Zhang Wanwan have, but I won't recognize you unless you can prove your ability like you said before. Don't think that I can look up to you just because I'm famous now. I value people's character more. You haven't finished getting the marriage certificate behind my back yet. If you can't produce results that satisfy me, I will go straight to your parents to settle the score. The reason why Zhang Ziyi turned his back to Shen Feng. The main reason is that I'm afraid that my acting skills will be exposed. The key to avoiding being exposed is not showing your face. This is what Zhang Ziyi thought. But Zhang Ziyi didn't know it at this time. Shen Feng was looking at the message sent by Zhang Wanwan. Exposing Zhang Ziyi. Look at the message, then look at Zhang Ziyi's back. Listen again to Zhang Ziyi's pretentiously majestic voice of scolding. Shen Feng tried his best not to laugh out loud. Chapter 90 for recharge. Zhang Ziyi had no idea that he had been ruthlessly sold by his daughter. After he scolded Shen Feng for a few words, he turned around and glanced at Shen Feng quietly. At this time, Shen Feng had already put the phone back. He just stood obediently behind Zhang Ziyi, looking very honest. Zhang Ziyi couldn't help but raise the corner of his mouth. But had quickly returned to normal. With his hands behind his back, he slowly asked, You said before that you would give me a gift in a month. What do you want to give me? Rather than a gift, it's more of a surprise. I'll give it to uncle on his birthday next month, and he'll know then. Shen Feng said. When Zhang Ziyi heard this, he smiled secretly again. Feng Zi is a person who really has a lot of thoughts in mind. I even knew that his birthday was next month. I also planned to give him a birthday present. Come to think of it, it's been a long time since Zhang Wanwan gave him a birthday present. But he still pretended that Shen Feng owed him millions. He said in a deep voice, Surprise? I'm not a silly girl like Zhang Wanwan who would be frightened by any little surprise. If your gift doesn't meet my standards, I will never allow Zhang Wanwan to be with you again. Do you understand? I understand, Shen Feng smiled. Uncle, do you want to eat here later? Why is Shen Feng's thoughts so jumpy? He immediately started talking about eating. Zhang Ziyi was a little slow to react. However, as someone who followed the entire variety show, Zhang Ziyi knew that Shen Feng's cooking skills were quite impressive. I am definitely impressed by Shen Feng's cooking skills. While it's okay to eat in, but will you and Wanwan cook? Are you going to let us eat takeout? Uncle, if you want takeout, that's fine. I'll order it for you. Don't. Zhang Ziyi turned around and saw that Shen Feng was actually holding out his cell phone. As if he was planning to order takeout, so he quickly put down his phone. Then he said naturally, Well, let's just see your cooking skills. I have to see if you are capable of taking good care of my daughter. Shen Feng smiled and nodded. Okay, I'll go to the kitchen later. Yeah, well, let's not talk about cooking for now, let's talk about the gift. My birthday is only a little over half a month away. How is your preparation for the gift going? Maybe it will be ready in the next few days. Shen Feng said, and then asked, I remember that uncle doesn't like to eat green peppers and carrots, right? Is there anything else he shouldn't eat? Coriander. I don't really like cilantro. Remember to use less. Let's not talk about food first. Let's talk about what happened to you today. You dared to hit someone and even beat him into the hospital. You are too reckless. Why are you so impulsive? Zhang Ziyi first answered Shen Feng's questions with a few words. And then he felt that he should not talk about food with Shen Feng. As soon as they talked about food, the seriousness he had worked so hard to create disappeared completely. Quickly changed the subject. Don't worry, uncle. I only took action against Wang Wenqiu after I was sure of his crime and could guarantee my own safety. I heard that you like Cantonese food, how about pig stomach chicken? Finally, Shen Feng changed the topic back. When Zhang Ziyi heard the word pig stomach chicken, he swallowed again. This is exactly his favorite dish. Okay, remember to add more pepper. Well, have you ever considered what impact beating up your company's CEO will have on Wanwan's career? Shen Cheng smiled and replied, Wan Wan was planning to leave the company and work on her own. So it doesn't really have much impact, uncle. How about sweet and sour pork? Wan Wan likes it too. I remember you seem to like it too. This is good, your aunt will like it to Shenfeng. Don't talk about food first, Uncle, I'm actually pretty good at cooking fish. I heard that you can cook fish too, do you have any tricks? Shenfeng even found out the crimes that Zhang Wanwan's boss had committed. Naturally, Shenfeng already knew what Zhang Ziyiqi liked and what Suyan liked. The fact that Zhang Wanwan is a foodie cannot be entirely blamed on her greed. Mainly Zhang Ziyiqi and Suyan, both of them are foodies. So when Shenfeng turned the topic to food, Zhang Ziyiqi couldn't hold it in anymore. In the end, he even fell into Shenfeng's trap and discussed fish cooking techniques with Shenfeng. I waited until Shenfeng said he was going to prepare dinner and then left the study. Zhang Ziyiqi suddenly came back to his senses. Something is wrong. He obviously wanted to put pressure on Shenfeng, and then let Shenfeng transform it into motivation and stimulate Shenfeng. Ought it end up being a discussion with Shenfeng about how to stuff fish to make it delicious? Zhang Ziyiqi took off his glasses helplessly and wiped his face with his hands. Suddenly he laughed out loud again. This Shenfeng is really good at speaking now. Compared to who he was a few years ago, he doesn't seem like the same person anymore. If this kid had this personality, I wouldn't have been so against them being together. Sighing, Zhang Ziyiqi put on his glasses again and went downstairs again. After going downstairs, Zhang Ziyiqi discovered that Zhang Wanwan and Shenfeng were missing. Suyan was the only one left in the living room, helping to clean up the house. Zhang Ziyiqi couldn't help but ask, "Where are they?" "I'm going to buy some food. Fengzi said we should stay for dinner, so I'm going to buy some food," Suyan said, and rolled her eyes at Zhang Ziyiqi again. "You didn't say anything you shouldn't say to Fengzi upstairs. Did you? Don't scare her?" "Scared?" Zhang Ziyiqi gave a bitter smile. They talked about cooking techniques for half an hour. And if anyone was scared, it could only be the fish in the seafood market. Right? However, in order to maintain his dignity, Zhang Ziyiqi definitely cannot tell Suyan about this. He put his hands behind his back and said slowly, "I knew my limits. I just hit Shenfeng once. But you didn't tell Wanwan that we should accept Shenfeng's request. Right? Of course not, am I that kind of person?" In the supermarket, Shenfeng and Zhang Wanwan were wearing masks, hats and big framed glasses as they searched for ingredients for dinner in the supermarket. Flu is prevalent recently, and there are quite a lot of people wearing masks in supermarkets, so their formal attire doesn't seem out of place. Shensheng pushed the shopping cart, and Zhang Wanwan threw items into the cart one by one. She picked out the food she liked. While shopping, Zhang Wanwan asked, "Fengzi, my dad didn't make things difficult for you, did he? You should have seen the message I sent you. He was just pretending. In fact, he and my mom have started to support our relationship. Don't worry, no uncle father-in-law is quite gentle." Shenfeng smiled and said, "We also discussed the methods and precautions for the fine processing of underwater creatures after their death. Speak human language." He also talked to me about how to stuff fish. Zhang Wanwan. She ran to the aquatic area, scooped up a big fish and threw it into the shopping cart. After shopping, Shenfeng and Zhang Wanwan returned to the community. However, as they were almost home, Shenfeng suddenly stopped again. Zhang Wanwan thought Shenfeng couldn't lift anything anymore. So she asked, "What's wrong, Fengzi? Are you tired? Do you want me to help you lift a little bit?" "I am a little tired, but not my hands." Shenfeng looked at Zhang Wanwan. "I had planned to take a rest with my wife today. But we haven't been able to do so yet, so I'm quite tired." Zhang Wanwan understood the metaphor in Shenfeng's words and her face turned red. "Fortunately, I had a mask to block it." She lowered her head and whispered, Isn't it because my parents are here? But if I don't rest for so long, I'm afraid I'll be too tired to cook later. So, brother, can you help me charge it?" Shensheng said this as he bent down slightly. Zhang Wanwan glanced around. When he saw that there was no one around, he shyly took off the masks on himself and Shenfeng's faces. She stood on tiptoe and gave Shenfeng a kiss on the mouth. Then, with a red face, she whispered in Shenfeng's ear, Just charge these batteries first. I'll charge you the rest in the evening." After saying that, Zhang Wanwan walked up to her, picked up the big shopping bag, and walked quickly towards home. Shenfeng smiled, followed Zhang Wanwan into steps, and wanted to take the shopping bag. Zhang Wanwan refused. The two people argued for a while, and finally each of them returned home carrying his shopping bag. Chapter 95. I think you are a little bit arrogant. Shenfeng's craftsmanship is beyond doubt. Zhang Ziyiqi and Suyan both enjoyed a very satisfying dinner. Suyan wanted to praise Shenfeng at the dinner table several times. They were all stopped by Zhang Zihengli and secretly. On the contrary, Zhang Ziyiqi himself subconsciously praised Shenfeng several times when he ate the delicious dishes. I didn't even notice it. After eating and drinking, Zhang Ziyi and Su Yan left the villa. Before leaving, Zhang Ziyi looked at Shen Feng and then at Zhang Wanwan. Then he warned Shen Feng righteously, Shen Feng, I still say the same thing. I still don't accept you as my son-in-law. Remember, unless you can give me a real surprise in a month to prove your ability, I will never allow you to be with Wanwan. Shen Cheng nodded with a smile. Okay, then what would you like to eat next time, uncle? How about Western food? I'm pretty good at making braised steak. Steak is fine too, and as for red wine, I like dry red wine. I'm not talking to you about dinner, I'm talking about you and Wanwan. Before you get my approval, you are not allowed to get too close to Wanwan. Understand? Shen Feng nodded again. Okay, then uncle, please call me before you come to dinner next time so that I can prepare in advance. Zhang Ziyi subconsciously wanted to agree again, but I still reacted. Why is this kid so cunning now, always making jokes and leading him astray? He was afraid that if the conversation continued, it would be like the afternoon, when Shen Feng led him to discuss cooking for half an hour. He simply waved his hand and left. Su Yan watched him walk a few steps before turning around and whispering to Su Yan, Xiao Shan, it's delicious next time, call your parents and we can eat together. Yes, aunt. Su Yan glanced at him and said, you're still calling me aunt? Shen Feng smiled, nodded at Su Yan and said, Mom. Su Yan's smile grew even wider, and she followed Zhang Ziyi in front of her. They got into the car and left together. Wait until Zhang Ziyi and Su Yan leave. Shen Feng turned his head and looked at Zhang Wanwan. Zhang Wanwan pretended to be stupid and was busy cleaning the dishes in the kitchen. Shen Cheng picked her up and whispered in her ear, Wan Ji, it's time to charge me. Zhang Wanwan buried her face in Shen Feng's chest. Not daring to look at Shen Feng, she just said sullenly, I didn't forget, I just wanted to clean up the kitchen first. Don't clean the kitchen, clean me. Shen Cheng said with a chuckle. Carry Zhang Wanwan to the bedroom on the second floor. The bed in Zhang Wanwan's room is not big, just slightly bigger than a single bed. Zhang Wanwan's face turned as red as an apple when Shen Cheng carried her to the bed. Under the warm yellow light of the bedside night lamp, it looks particularly delicious. Shen Feng leaned over and kissed this little apple in the Garden of Eden. Wanwan, I love you. This night, it is destined that you cannot watch it even if you pay. The next day, Zhang Wanwan slept until noon. When she woke up, she found herself nestling in Shen Feng's arms like a kitten. Shen Feng seemed to have woken up a long time ago and was hugging her gently while looking at his phone. Rubbing his eyes dazed lie, Zhang Wanwan asked lazily, what time is it, Fengzi? 12 o'clock. Shen Sheng helped her wipe the saliva from sleeping. Are you hungry? I'll go cook for you. Zhang Wanwan nodded lazily. Shen Feng kissed her on the face and then went downstairs to cook. Zhang Wanwan sat up from the bed in a daze, looked at the messy bed, thought of everything that happened last night, and her face turned red again. At the twist of her hand, Zhang Wanwan touched the phone that Shen Feng had just dropped. Her eyes rolled and she suddenly became interested. I just saw that Shen Feng seemed to be browsing his phone. I don't know what he is looking at. She quietly picked up Shen Feng's phone and tried the password to unlock it. 123,456 wrong. Shen Feng's birthday is wrong. Her birthday is wrong too. Then Zhang Wanwan tried the date when they would get their marriage certificate. 210,801. This time, it was true. Zhang Wanwan was excited. It feels like being a hacker. She glanced furtively at the door. After making sure that Shen Feng was not there, he looked at the phone screen again. It turned out that what was displayed on the phone was an article. It was the fan fiction she saw that day. And it seems to be a new chapter that hasn't been there before. What's more, the plot develops to a point that some ordinary websites are not allowed to appear in. This Fengzi. Zhang Wanwan blushed and returned to her phone's desktop. Then he looked at several apps on Shen Feng's mobile phone. Everything seems to be normal, no special software. Looking at the QQ and WeChat on Shen Feng's phone, Zhang Wanwan was a little hesitant. It is quite common for wives to check their husbands' phones. However, Zhang Wanwan didn't want to investigate Shen Feng, nor did she distrust Shen Feng, and just simply curious about who Shen Feng usually communicates with and what they talk about. Open QQ first. It was discovered that Shen Feng's most recent chat records were with his college roommates. But it was basically just the roommates chatting, and Shen Feng only said 2 sentences a long time ago. Then there is WeChat. Zhang Wanwan thought the situation on WeChat was similar. But I didn't expect that after opening WeChat, I saw several recent chat records. The most recent one was even yesterday at dinner. Zhang Wanwan clicked on it and took a look. Her eyes widened. MRLI from Shan E Trading, I have prepared everything you asked me to prepare. And I have signed the contract you asked me to sign. Please don't let anyone hold my goods anymore. If this continues, Our company will really close down. Chen Feng, please send the contract to me by email. If there is no problem, I will have someone release the goods. Shenhe Trading MRLI, definitely no problem. A few minutes later. Shenhe Trading MRLI, thank you. Chen Feng, do you have an idea of how to get along with Zhang family in the future? Shenhe Trade MRLI, of course. Alas, I just had a misunderstanding with Jiang's before. A small misunderstanding. If I had known that there was a god like you backing up Jiang's, I would not have dared to make plans against Jiang's even if I had 10 times the courage. This is the end of the chat history. Zhang Wanwan was stunned. Zhang Wanwan knew Shenhe Trading. He once cooperated with her father's company. But later they broke up and even began to suppress her father's company. For a period of time, Zhang Ziaiqi was worried about the Shenhe Trading. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was an enemy of Mr. Li, and he became jealous of him whenever they met. How come Shen Feng seems to have MRLI under his control? Shen Feng supports Jiang's company. When did Shen Sheng have the ability to support her family's company? Zhang Wanwan looked at the other chat records again. The more I looked, the more stunned I became. In other chat records, those who negotiated with Shen Feng were also some rivals of her father's company. At this moment, everyone seemed to have surrendered to Shen Feng and her company. Zhang Group. How come all these rival companies that made her father so worried and unable to sleep have surrendered one after another? Zhang Wanwan was looking at it stupidly, but Shen Feng had already gone upstairs with lunch. Zhang Wanwan quickly wanted to turn off the phone, but her hand slipped and Shen Feng's phone fell directly to the ground. Zhang Wan coughed and looked at Shen Feng with an awkward but polite smile. I'm just looking around. Shen Sheng put the food on the table in the bedroom, picked up his phone, and sat next to Zhang Wanwan. He said to Zhang Wanwan, Wanwan, if you want to watch it, you don't have to watch it secretly. I can send you a copy, or we can watch it together. Zhang Wanwan knew that this guy was talking about fan fiction again. She poked Shen Feng and said with a puffy face, who wants to read that kind of unhealthy pornographic novel? Read it yourself if you want. Okay, I'll see for myself. Shen Sheng rubbed her little face, then wait until I finish reading it. And I'll retell it to you in the evening, okay? Eat. Stop talking about this, I'm so hungry. Zhang Wanwan quickly picked up her bowl and changed the subject. Shen Feng smiled, sat next to Zhang Wanwan and started eating. But as she ate, Zhang Wanwan couldn't help herself anymore. She was really curious about how Shen Feng had managed to make so many rival companies submit to him. Or even to exaggerate a little, make all these companies submit to him. You know, when Shen Feng first negotiated with one of the companies, he hadn't started filming the variety show yet. Without fame or money, how did Shen Feng take over so many big companies? Curiosity killed the cat. Zhang Wanwan couldn't help but ask in the end. Hearing Zhang Wanwan's question, Shen Feng put down his bowl and chopsticks. Zhang Wanwan thought that Shen Feng was angry because she had secretly read the important content on his phone. He said hurriedly, I won't peek again, don't be angry. I just want to hear how you did it. You want me to not be angry. And you want me to tell you how I did it, that's not impossible. Shen Feng looked at Zhang Wanwan, then, do you have to agree to one of my requests? You say? Tonight, try the fan fiction. Shen Sheng hadn't finished speaking yet. Zhang Wanwan's hand had already reached into Shen Feng's clothes. Then he pinched Shen Feng's waist. I think you are a little bit drifting. Chapter 96. Thank God for bringing him an angel. Shen Feng confessed in the end. It certainly couldn't be that he was able to take over so many rival companies just by relying on money. Zhang Ziaiqi's assets are not enough to deal with these companies. So Shen Feng certainly cannot win financially. What he relies on is still intelligence. Some of them he had mastered before his rebirth, and some of them he stole by temporarily hacking into the phones and computers of those company bosses. Everyone has soft spots and weaknesses. Almost every businessman has done some shady business. These bosses are certainly no exception. When Shen Feng grasps the deepest stains of these people, Shen Feng has already won half the battle. However, it is certainly impossible to take over so many companies with just some black material and intelligence. Apart from this, Shen Feng relied on the method of driving the tiger to devour the wolf and some psychological games. Some companies are easy to control, so Shen Feng will control these companies first. Some companies are difficult to control, such as Mr. Li Shenhe Trading. But Shen Feng's assets and status. It is not easy to bring down Shenhe Trading. So Shen Feng started to kill people by using another's knife. For example, leaking some of Shenhe Trading's intelligence to some hostile companies of Shenhe Trading. Shen Feng alone is no match for Shenhe Trading, but if these hostile companies are added together, the situation will be different. With General Li under attack from all sides, Shenhe Trading is at stake. At this time, Shen Feng intercepted the most important batch of goods of Shanhe Trading. Shen Feng used some black material to threaten the manager of a company who was in charge of this batch of goods and asked the manager to delay the shipment. Delaying shipment is not a problem for this manager. But for Shanhe Trade, which is in a difficult situation and a matter of life and death, it is fatal. It was not until this time that Shen Feng officially showed up and began to negotiate with Mr. Li. Tell MRLI that as long as he signs a contract expressing his willingness to cooperate with Jiang's company, the goods will be released. The Jiang family is just a rival of Shanhe Trading. But this batch of goods is related to the life and death of Shanhe Trading. MRLI had no choice but to agree to Shen Feng's conditions. Some of the other companies were also taken over by Shen Feng using similar methods. In fact, some small and medium-sized enterprises in Zhonghe City are now in a chaotic state. The culprit is Shen Feng. But people like MRLI have no way to deal with Shen Feng. Even if MRLI knew clearly that the person who leaked the black material to the rival company, causing Shanhe Trading to be attacked from all sides, was most likely Shen Feng. But there is no evidence. Except for the final discussion about the batch of goods, Shen Sheng almost never showed up in public. MRLI couldn't find any evidence against Shen Feng. Shen Feng only gave Zhang Wanwan a brief account of these things. Zhang Wanwan didn't understand business warfare, but she was still stunned by what she heard. Shen Feng, a college student in his 20s, dealing with so many business owners. Killing someone with a borrowed knife is like driving a tiger to devour a wolf. Let the snipe and the clam fight each other, while you sit back and reap the benefits. In the end, the rival companies that had given Zhang Ziaqi a headache were forced to give in and cooperate. The most terrifying thing is that Zhang Wanwan has no idea when Shen Feng did all this. They had clearly been recording a show before. When did you do this? Zhang Wanwan couldn't help but ask. It's not that troublesome, I can just handle the operation when I have time. Shen Feng spread his hands. It's just a few small companies. It's nothing. The corners of Zhang Wanwan's mouth twitched. A few small companies? These small companies are enough to make her father lose sleep. Fengzi, when did you become so powerful? In fact, Zhang Wanwan had long felt that Shen Feng was incredibly powerful. She discovered it when Shen Feng could solve advanced mathematics, play the piano, speak foreign languages and play chess in seconds. But those are still within Zhang Wanwan's acceptable range. The fact that Shen Sheng now controls so many companies by himself is beyond Zhang Wanwan's understanding. Is this really something a college student can do? Shen Feng thought about it. Then he hugged Zhang Wanwan and whispered, Brother One, there are some things I don't want to hide from you. And I don't want to have any secrets from you. But there are some things I'm afraid you won't believe even if I tell you. Even I myself have some doubts about whether those experiences were real or not. Or whether they were just a long dream. In that dream, I was trapped on July 31st and couldn't escape no matter what. And in the repeated cycles of that day, I learned it a lot. In fact, Shen Feng didn't want to hide this matter from Zhang Wanwan. Even though this is his biggest secret. The reason why he never said it was because Shen Feng didn't know how to say it. He was afraid that Zhang Wanwan would not believe it and would just treat it as a story. After all, even Shen Feng himself felt that this experience was extremely absurd. After hearing what Shen Feng said, Zhang Wanwan was obviously stunned. Looking at her expression, Shen Feng sighed slightly. Sure enough, even his younger brother wouldn't believe such a thing. It's okay, just think of it as a joke, let's eat. Shen Feng picked up a piece of food and fed it to Zhang Wanwan. Zhang Wanwan chewed while staring at Shen Feng blankly. After a moment, he suddenly said, I believe you. Shen Sheng paused with the chopsticks in his hand. He looked at Zhang Wanwan, and Zhang Wanwan beside him was also looking straight at him. If you say it was a dream, then perhaps, I have had a similar dream. It's just that the world in my dream doesn't have you. I lived in that world without you for 10 years, fulfilled the promise between us, and then, having said that, Zhang Wanwan pursed her lips. Those 10 years of life were a very numb and painful experience for Zhang Wanwan. Her memories of those 10 years were all gray. Zhang Wanwan originally thought that her experience was unique and could not be shared with others. After all, I'm afraid no one would believe it even if I told them. But she didn't expect that her husband had a similar experience as her. Chen Sheng was also very surprised. Afterwards, I felt somewhat relieved. No wonder his younger brother suddenly became so proactive. No wonder his younger brother suddenly learned to play the piano and his acting skills soared. Maybe this is fate. Shen Feng held Zhang Wanwan's hand, put his forehead against hers and whispered, Only you will believe my experience. And only I can understand your experience. So we are destined for each other. And each other's only one. Shen Sheng once didn't believe in fate. But if it was really fate that gave him and Zhang Wanwan this opportunity, allowing them to depend on each other like this, Shen Feng is willing to worship fate as a god. Thank God for the angel that was brought to him. Revealing secrets to each other actually had no impact on the relationship between Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. If there was any impact, it was probably that Zhang Wanwan said one sentence when she was arguing with Shen Feng, an old monster over 800 years old. Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan did not leave home all day today. Zhang Wanwan was even served by Shen Feng so much that she hardly left the bedroom for the entire day. It was such a comfortable life. However, as the night progressed, Zhang Wanwan felt more and more uncomfortable, because she always felt that Shen Feng was just like raising pigs now. During the day, she kept the little piglet comfortable and fat. In the evening, it was time to slaughter her and enjoy her. Facts have also proved that Zhang Wanwan's guess was correct. At night, the true form of an 800-year-old monster was revealed. Eat her up clean. So the next day, when she saw Shen Feng was going to serve her like a pig, Zhang Wanwan quickly jumped off the bed and escaped from the pigsty. Then he said to Shen Feng, "Fengzi, I don't want to stay at home today. Can we go back to Qingyu County to see our parents?" The only saviors Zhang Wanwan can think of now are Tang Ping and Shen Xiaojiuo. Shen Feng nodded generously. He even took the initiative to say, "If we go back to Qingyu County, why don't we just stay there for 2 days? How about that?" This made Zhang Wanwan breathe a sigh of relief. I didn't expect Fengzi to actually offer to stay for 2 days. Very good, but I haven't let out this breath yet. Then Shen Feng, who was bullying him, pushed it back into his mouth. Shen Feng pressed her against the wall, kissed her, and then whispered, "Since we're staying there tonight, how about we do the work we're supposed to do tonight in advance?" Not so good. Zhang Wanwan, who was carried to the bed by Shen Feng, lodged a strong protest. But unfortunately, the protest was ineffective. Chapter 97, Why don't you try to force me again? It was already afternoon when Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan returned to Qingyu County. As soon as they got home, Shen Xiaojiuo and Tang Ping took good care of Zhang Wanwan and asked about her well-being. As for Shen Feng, he was thrown directly into the kitchen and asked to prepare dinner. "I am your biological son after all, can't you be nicer to me?" Shen Cheng said helplessly. Shen Xiaojiuo came over with 50 yuan. Shen Cheng didn't expect there would be hard work money, so he took the 50 yuan with some emotion and said, "Thank you, Comrade Shen, for your concern. Care for nothing. Go out and buy me a bottle of wine later, and you can pay the difference yourself." Shen Feng. While Shen Feng went out to buy wine and came back to cook, Tang Ping pulled Zhang Wanwan aside and asked her a lot of questions. For example, how she has been doing recently, whether Shen Feng has bullied her, etc. We also talked a lot about previous variety shows. I watch your variety show every day, it's really fun. Do you plan to shoot this kind of variety show in the future? Tang Ping usually likes to watch TV dramas, but rarely watches variety shows. Originally, I watched the variety show Date, just to support my son and daughter-in-law. Unexpectedly, after watching 2 episodes, Tang Ping also became addicted to it. It's not just because it features sons and daughters-in-law, but also because the content of this variety show is interesting. This is one of the reasons why Date is so popular. If the content planned by director Chen had not been good enough, it would have been difficult for Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan alone to raise the program to such a high level. Tang Ping had nothing to do at home, so she was watching variety shows almost every day. So much so that when day came to an end, Tang Ping suddenly felt bored. Zhang Wanwan thought about it. Then he nodded at Tang Ping. "In fact, I really like this variety show. It's the most interesting show I've ever filmed. If someone asks me to film next time, Fengzi and I will definitely go again. Next, we may have to record a variety show for the development of new talents. And we will only be guests, we are not the main characters. So it may not be that interesting." Tang Ping smiled and patted Zhang Wanwan's hand. "It's okay, no matter what you go to record, Mom will support you." Alas, actually I never thought that Fengzi would become a star one day. Shen Xiaojiuo came over from the side and said, "There are many things you haven't expected. Have you ever thought that our son can play the piano and speaks several foreign languages? As a father, I don't even know when he learned it." When Tang Ping heard this, she also said to Zhang Wanwan, "Yes, Wanwan, do you know when Shen Feng learned so many skills? I don't remember asking him to learn piano. If it were a few days ago, even Zhang Wanwan didn't know the answer to this question. But now, she already knew Shen Feng's secret, and she also understood how Shen Feng learned so many things. Actually, Fengzi taught herself all of this, and since it's a show, there's a script, so Fengzi isn't actually that great." Of course Zhang Wanwan would not tell Tang Ping and Shen Xiaojiuo the truth, because even if I told them, the old couple might not believe it. In the evening, after dinner, Shen Xiaojiuo and Tang Ping were watching TV, and Zhang Wanwan took Shen Feng with her and planned to go out for a walk. There is a fountain square in Qingyu County that was built in recent years. It is quite lively at night. Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan took a taxi and went to the fountain square. In the taxi, the driver looked at Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan several times. At first Shen Sheng thought that the driver recognized them. It's a bit strange, how could they be recognized so easily when they are wearing masks, glasses and hats? As a result, when the driver dropped them off at the square and they got off the car to pay, Shen Sheng saw the driver heaved a sigh of relief. "Seeing you two dressed so warmly in the middle of summer, I thought you were going to rob me," the driver said. The robber couple got out of the car silently. The Fountain Square is indeed very lively. Not only are there old men and women dancing square dance, but there are also many children playing skateboards and roller skating. There are stalls of various sizes around, some of which sell small cars, while others are stalls selling games such as ring tossing and sandbag throwing. Zhang Wanwan hadn't gone out to play at night for a long time, and she felt quite excited to see such a lively square. He took Shen Sheng and found a stall selling skewers, and ordered a few skewers to eat. Shen Feng looked at them and couldn't help asking, "The meal I cooked tonight wasn't tasty? Are you not full?" Zhang Wanwan glared and said, "If the food you cook is not delicious, then there will be no delicious food in the world. Of course I am full. Then why do you buy skewers? That's dinner, this is a midnight snack. And the midnight snack is in another stomach." Zhang Wanwan said seriously, "I don't know if it's in another stomach, but it can definitely add weight to you. Beautiful girls don't gain weight by eating midnight snacks. Do you understand?" Shen Feng glanced at Zhang Wanwan. A beautiful girl in her 30s. Zhang Wanwan bared her teeth. An old monster over 800 years old. The two of them were bickering while eating. Although there were lights in the Fountain Square, it was not that bright at night, so even if Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng took off their masks to eat, they would not be easily recognized. While eating, the two of them strolled around the square, and Zhang Wanwan was attracted by a stall. It was a stall where people used stair guns to shoot balloons, and rewards were given based on the number of balloons shot. What attracted Zhang Wanwan was the reward for bursting 20 balloons. A huge teddy bear. It is white and fat, looks naive and very cute. It turns out that Zhang Wanwan likes this kind of furry things, but apart from the time my parents bought it for me when I was a child, I haven't bought it for myself since I grew up. After all, I have to travel back and forth to film, and I don't live in the villa permanently, so there is no need to buy one. She finished the skewers in 2 or 3 bites, and wiped her hands with Shen Feng's clothes. Then he stepped forward eagerly and asked the boss, Boss, the first prize goes to the big bear, right?" The boss was in his 30s and was holding a mobile phone, as if he was live streaming. Seeing someone coming, the boss put his phone on the stand and said to Zhang Wanwan, "That's right, beautiful girl, do you want to play? How much?" $20 per chance, 20 bullets in total. If you hit all of them you'll get the teddy bear as a reward. Zhang Wanwan immediately scanned 20 yuan and gave it to the boss. "My target is that bear, boss, bring the gun." "Okay." The boss handed the air gun to Zhang Wanwan with a smile, and then said to the live broadcast room on his mobile phone, Brothers, it's open again. A young lady is here to shoot, and her goal is the first prize. Let's see how many the young lady can win. Let's start." As the boss spoke, he picked up his phone and took a picture of Zhang Wanwan shooting. Seeing this, Zhang Wanwan first pulled up her mask and then raised the air gun in her hand. He aimed at the balloon on the shelf in front of him and pulled the trigger. Bang! The balloon popped. "That's awesome, brother one." Shen Feng quickly applauded. "Certainly." Zhang Wanwan snorted complacently. "But actually I feel a little guilty. To be honest, that wasn't what she was aiming at just now." Feeling guilty, Zhang Wanwan aimed at the balloon again. He exploded 3 or 4 balloons in succession. But as the number of balloons decreased, Zhang Wanwan finally ran out of bullets. The reason she was able to hit the target before wasn't because she aimed accurately, but because there were so many balloons that it was easier to hit the target. With fewer balloons, Zhang Wanwan's chances of cheating will also decrease. In the next dozen shots, Zhang Wanwan only popped 5 balloons. In the end, only 9 balloons were broken, just reaching the 4th prize level. The boss had a regretful expression on his face, and it was unclear whether he was talking to Zhang Wanwan or the audience in his live studio when he said, "Oh, what a pity, the young lady only won 4th prize in the end. I don't know if the young lady's first few shots were just luck. Anyway, she's still a long way from the first prize. Do it again, I won't believe it." Listen to the boss's weird voice. Zhang Wanwan was not convinced and handed over another 20 yuan to the boss. After the boss happily arranged the balloons, Zhang Wanwan raised the air gun again. She knew that the guns at these stalls must have been tampered with and would not be very accurate. But even though she knew it, Zhang Wanwan still felt that she could give it a try. In the end, after firing 20 bullets, I still got 4th prize. Zhang Wanwan scanned another 20 yuan. Another 20 rounds were fired. Another 4th prize. When Zhang Wanwan transferred money for the 4th time, the boss couldn't help but say, the beauty is really persistent. But I still advise the beauty not to get too excited. This level is not good, it's useless no matter how many times you try. Little sister. Although I am happy to make money, I still have to ask, is this beautiful lady here to do charity? She is truly a beautiful and kind-hearted femme bodhisattva. This boss may have been saying sarcastic things to provoke Zhang Wanwan for the sake of the light broadcast effect. Zhang Wanwan took a deep breath after hearing these words. Then he picked up the air rifle, aimed at the boss. Can you try to force it again? Chapter 98. Take it. Oh, what a fierce young lady. I have long felt that my boss deserves a beating. If I were in his place, I would scold him too. I thought this beauty looked familiar just now. And now seeing her tough appearance, she looks even more familiar. Could she be Zhang Wanwan? It's funny, Zhang Wanwan is a big star. How can she come to this kind of street stall? That's right. The money people earn in a day can buy hundreds of these stuffed toys. So why do they need to come here to play? There are still some viewers in the boss's live broadcast room. Many viewers laughed out loud when they saw the boss being pointed at with a gun by a customer. And the customer lady said cruelly, "Just try to say that again." This boss usually likes to say some sarcastic words to stimulate customers. But in fact it is mainly for the show effect in the live broadcast room. The income from live streaming is not lower than what he earns from setting up stalls. Many viewers come just to see him being weird and disgusting. Normally I see him always disgusting others, but this is the first time I see him being attacked so harshly in return. Some viewers were so excited by Zhang Wanwan's fierce performance that they even recognized her identity. But it was quickly rejected by other viewers. It is said that a real man can bend and stretch. When the boss saw that Zhang Wanwan was a ruthless person, he immediately chose to give in. With a smile on his face, he said flattering lie, "Don't be angry, little sister. Don't be angry, come and shoot, shoot." He quickly looked at Shen Feng and said, "Handsome guy, comfort your girlfriend." Shen Feng glanced at him. "You made my girlfriend angry, do you think I should comfort her or settle the score with you?" "Hey, don't be so angry. How about this, after the young lady finishes these 20 rounds, I'll give you another 20? Boss, please sell it quickly." Zhang Wanwan snorted, then stopped caring and started inflating the balloon again. "After shooting 20 rounds, I still got 4th prize." The boss subconsciously wanted to say something sarcastic. Before he could finish his words, he saw Zhang Wanwan glaring at him. The boss quickly shut his mouth again. Seeing that Zhang Wanwan was obviously unhappy, Shen Cheng smiled and whispered in her ear, "Brother Wan, you want that bear, right? The bear isn't important now. What matters is the face." Zhang Wanwan frowned and said, "This boss has been nagging for a long time. We need to teach him a lesson." "Okay, leave it to me then." Shen Cheng touched Zhang Wanwan's head, and then took the air gun from Zhang Wanwan's hand. When Zhang Wanwan handed the air rifle to Shen Feng, she reminded him, "This aim is off to the right, the difference is quite a bit." After shooting so many times, Zhang Wanwan had of course discovered the problem with this air gun a long time ago. Just because you may find a problem doesn't mean you can solve it. Even though she knew that the aiming of the air rifle was biased, it was difficult for Zhang Wanwan to grasp how much the deviation was and how to aim it. After hearing Zhang Wanwan's reminder, the boss on the side smiled secretly. "So what if you know there is a problem with the air gun? Almost everyone who comes here to play can see that the air rifle's sight is off. But even if they knew this, only a very small number of people could hit more than 15 targets in the end. After all, even if you know the offset of the crosshair, calculating the angle and distance of the deviation is not an easy task. In addition to the crosshair, eyes, hand stability, and even wind direction can all greatly affect shooting accuracy. Even if you have an air gun that has not been tampered with, many people may not be able to hit the target. He has been setting up the stall until now. And except for one person who was extremely lucky and hit all 20 bullets by chance, he has never seen anyone else hit all of them. So the boss was not panicked at all. Then, the boss saw Shen Feng burst 10 balloons with 10 consecutive shots. Then, the boss started to panic. There is something wrong with this person. 10 shots were fired in succession, with almost no pauses between each shot. A shooting speed is extremely fast and every shot hits the target. But this was not what shocked the boss the most. The most terrifying thing is that while this person was shooting, he was still muttering the location of the balloon he wanted to hit. The balloon that was finally hit was exactly at the location he reported. The audience in the live broadcast room were also shocked. "Damn, this guy is really good. Is it really that accurate to hit wherever you point? I am a retired soldier, this guy is holding a gun in a very standard way. Could he be a comrade? Awesome professional match. The boss is going to suffer a loss this time. I let you mock that girl. And now her boyfriend is here to get back at her. I can only say that you did a great job. Let's not talk about this for now. Don't any of you think this man looks like Shen Feng? It is indeed a bit. Could it really be Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng? Fans of Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan quickly shared the leap broadcast room with their fan groups. It soon attracted a lot of Peng Hubei fans, and the popularity of the live broadcast room soared. The boss was dumbfounded by Shen Feng's marksmanship. But now I am dumbfounded by the number of people in the live broadcast room. His live broadcast room has never had so many viewers. Who are these Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan? The boss thought about it and suddenly remembered the online variety show that his wife used to follow all day long. It seems that the stars in it are called Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. Now the boss only regrets why he didn't watch a few episodes of that show with his wife. Otherwise, he would be able to tell whether the two people in front of him are real or fake. Just when the boss felt regretful. However, Shen Feng had already put down the air gun in his hand and looked at the boss. Let's count them, Shen Feng said. The boss then came to his senses and hurried forward to count the quantity. Don't worry about whether these two people are really Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. There are so many viewers in the live broadcast room now, and they are all here for them. These two people must be served well now. Not only must we not offend them again, we must also find a way to keep them. Otherwise, once the two of them leave, the audience will run away. The boss ran over to count them and found that Shen Feng had popped just 20 balloons. Zhang Wanwan snorted complacently and said to the boss, "Come on, keep on being sarcastic. Weren't you very talkative before?" The boss quickly apologized with a smile. "I won't dare to do that anymore. I was not good at speaking before. I'm sorry. Come on. Beautiful lady, this bear is yours." He quickly handed the big furry bear to Zhang Wanwan. Zhang Wanwan threw the bear into Shen Feng's arms, then turned around and was about to leave. But the boss quickly stopped them. "Hey guys, don't leave in such a hurry." Zhang Wanwan glanced at him and said, "What's the matter? You don't want to give it to me anymore? Do you want to regret it?" No, it's like this. We have a ring tossing game here. Do you want to play it? It's very interesting. You'll get whatever you catch. There's also a stuffed bear as a reward. It as black. And it makes a pair with the white one. Zhang Wanwan rolled her eyes. Then your black bear and polar bear make a pair? Having said that, Zhang Wanwan still pulled Shen Feng to the ring-tossing stall next to them. The boss came up and handed each of them 10 rings, saying with a smile, "Hey guys, to express my apology for what happened before, these 20 rings are for you. Try them as you like. And take whatever you find." As he spoke, the boss looked at the Leap broadcast room on the mobile phone in his hand. The number of viewers in the Leap broadcast room has reached nearly 10,000. There are many veteran fans of Peng Hubei among them, who have already identified Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan's identities based on their body shape and voice. Some viewers gave gifts to Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. In just a short while, the boss earned enough money to equal his entire day's income. Zhang Wanwan looked at the boss. I looked at the phone in my boss's hand again. Suddenly he asked, "Whatever you get, you'll get it." Of course. The boss nodded. "You won't default on your debt?" "Of course not. I don't believe in your character." "Swear an oath." "If I default on my debt, I'll be a grandson." The boss swore a solemn oath. But at this moment, a barrage of silence filled the live broadcast room. The boss is still swearing, and the fans are already mourning for him. Indeed, this old fan can already guess what Wang Ji is going to do. Guessed it one. The young boss doesn't know what he's going to experience yet. Goodbye, boss. I hope there is no late brother in heaven. Candle. Just when the boss was a little confused and didn't understand what these comments were saying, Zhang Wanwan then showed a kind smile on her face. "Throw the ring in your hand forward. Impartial. Just right." It fell on the phone in his hand. "Bring it here." Zhang Wanwan snatched the phone from the boss's hand. The boss was dumbfounded. "No, that's how you play ring tossing. Why don't you just put it on my head?" He just thought so in his mind. Zhang Wanwan's next hoop was placed on the boss's head. The boss is numb. Chapter 99. You still say you are not robbers. Of course Zhang Wanwan would not take the boss away in the end. After all, human trafficking is illegal now. And it's not certain that anyone will buy from this boss. As for the mobile phone, Zhang Wanwan finally returned it to her boss. Otherwise, looking at the boss's expression, I would almost cry. But before returning the phone, Zhang Wanwan turned the camera of the live broadcast room to take a selfie, waved to the audience in the live broadcast room and said, Hello, good evening everyone." She just took a look and knew that she and Shen Feng had been exposed. In this case, there is no need to pretend anymore. It is better to greet the fans openly. When the Peng Hubei fans in the live broadcast room saw Zhang Wanwan's face-to-face selfie greeting, they all excitedly swiped the screen. Evening. Good evening. Husband, it's really you. MUA. Good evening. My elder brother is really handsome. Even the close-up photos of his face are flawless. Stop talking. I'm already licking the screen. Seeing these comments, Zhang Wanwan smiled proudly. Afterwards, she said to the camera, I was also surprised. I just came out to have fun today. But I didn't expect to be live broadcasted. This is the Fountain Square in my hometown, which was built a few years ago. There are many interesting things here. Is there anything you want to see? I can take you there. As a result, the barrage of comments started to flood the screen again. I want to see Shen Feng. Husband, let me see my other husband. Alright, Wan Ji, we have finished praising you. Please move the camera away. We want to see Feng Zi. Feng Zi. Feng Zi. Feng Zi. Please have some self-awareness, female anchor. And leave the camera to my male god. Zhang Wanwan. Just now you were praising her for her beauty. But now you turn around and look at Feng Zi. You guys are so fickle. Zhang Wanwan said this and turned the camera to Shen Feng. My hands were shaking and I deliberately didn't take a clear picture. Wan Ji, do you have Parkinson's? It's probably kidney deficiency. Let Feng Zi replenish you. I want to see my Feng Zi's beauty. Stop shaking. The boss at the side also hurriedly said. Stop shaking, be careful not to fall. This is his new mobile phone. Zhang Wanwan shook for a moment, then walked up to Shen Feng with her cell phone in hand. He pointed the camera directly at Shen Feng's face and said with a grin. Look, let me show you clearly. Humph, you said you were fans of the couple. But it turns out you are all Shen Feng's only fans. Come on, you the leader of Shen Feng Wei's fans, are still criticizing us? A barrage of comments floated out. It immediately attracted a lot of copy and paste comments. Who is his only fan? I am not his fan. Zhang Wanwan snorted. Shen Feng smiled and nodded, and said to the camera. Indeed, Wan Ji is not the leader of my only fan group. Just when the audience thought that Shen Feng's #1 fan was someone else and there was some gossip to be had, Shen Feng said another sentence. She is my wife. Damn. Showing off your affection again. I used to eat dog food when watching variety shows. And now I have to eat dog food when watching live broadcasts. Where Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan are, there is bound to be a show of affection. Don't be fooled by the fact that everyone says they don't like dog food. They are actually laughing like idiots right now, including me. Are you there? Take the camera apart? Zhang Wanwan's face turned red at Shen Feng's sudden words. And she quickly changed the subject. Can you please say hello to the fans first? Shen Feng obediently waved at the camera and said hi. He even took off his mask and hat. I just say hi to my husband. Feng Zi said hi to me, he has me in his heart. Feng Zi looks so handsome in glasses. Can she apply for permanent residency in glasses? Shen Feng. I have been your senior male fan for 10 years. I order you to fencing with me immediately. Hit the hammer. When Zhang Wanwan saw so many comments confessing their love to Shen Feng, she quickly turned the camera to the boss. Okay, Feng Zi has shown you guys how to do it. So Feng Zi and I are going to continue playing, and you guys can go fencing with the boss. Bye. Having said that, Zhang Wanwan returned the phone to the boss. The boss was very grateful. This is his new mobile phone. If Zhang Wanwan really took it away from him, he would be heartbroken. Big star you, do you want to play for a while? Or if you want a gift, I'll give it to you. Seeing that many viewers in the live broadcast room were giving gifts to Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan, the boss quickly asked Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan who had not left yet. Zhang Wanwan waved her hands. Oh, how can I do this? I'm not the kind of person who likes to take advantage of others. As she said that, she walked to the ring tossing area on her own, picked up the big black bear. He also picked up several small stuffed toys nearby. Under the boss's shocked gaze, he hung dozens of rings on his wrists. Even later, Zhang Wanwan got a sack from somewhere and started throwing the prizes into the sack. After the sack was full, Zhang Wanwan looked at the mobile phone in the boss's hand again. The boss was so scared that he quickly protected his phone. Zhang Wanwan smiled again and said, I'll just pick these few. Bye. The boss's mouth twitched as he watched Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng holding the bear and dragging the sack away. Then he looked at the live broadcast room and said with some trembling, let's be honest, these two stars that you are fans of, were they bandits or robbers before their debut? Bandits? Robbers? Stop kidding. There was a comment. How can these words be enough to describe them? You haven't seen how they tricked the director when they were filming a variety show. Yes, you offended my brother, so it's not bad that you ended up like this. What about those who have a bad ending? The boss asked trembling Lai. And I have to tell you the story of the 6 circle locks. Originally, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan planned to play for a while longer. It's a pity that I can't play after carrying so many things. Big and small. The two could only walk to the street and take a taxi back. What a coincidence, the driver of this taxi was the same one that Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan came with. When the driver saw Shen Feng carrying a sack and throwing it into the car, he shuddered with fear. Fuck, you two really are robbers. Have you ever seen robbers steal stuffed toys? Zhang Wanwan said. These are all our spoils. Spoils of war. Did you win this from the street stall? The driver asked. Zhang Wanwan said proudly, of course. I won it by tossing the ring. That's awesome. Hey, is there any trick to the ring toss? My son always fails when I play with it. Can you teach me? The trick? I don't know what the trick is. And how did you win so many prizes? Just put it in a sack. Driver, and you said you are not robbers. Chapter 100. You all don't have a wife. Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng stayed in Qingli County for 2 days. Then Shen Feng suggested leaving. Zhang Wanwan, Tang Ping and Shen Xiaojiuo expressed their unanimous opposition. 3 against 1. Stay a few more days. Zhang Wanwan, who had received support from Tang Ping and Shen Xiaojiuo, said proudly with her hands on her hips. In response, Shen Feng just smiled. He turned to Tang Ping and Shen Xiaojiuo and asked, Mom and Dad, do you want to have a grandchild soon? Tang Ping, Shen Xiaojiuo. The 2 elders looked at each other. And one of them ran to pack luggage for Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. One of them said to Shen Feng, what are you standing there for? Take Wanwan and get ready, go back quickly. Zhang Wanwan was stunned. Shen Sheng rubbed her little head and said, 3 against 1. Let's go back. So Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan returned to Zhonghe City. As for Zhang Wanwan's 2 big bears and a sack of prizes, she sent them back by express delivery. On the way back to Zhonghe City, Zhang Wanwan was studying something carefully on her mobile phone. Shen Feng took a quick glance and then said with a smile, why, have you started researching how to broadcast live? Yeah, I haven't really done any live broadcasts. Zhang Wanwan sighed. I'm still on vacation, and Sister Lin gave me this kind of task again. Ever since their boss live streamed the event at the Fountain Square in Qingli County 2 days ago, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan have become a hot topic again. Although it did not cause much response externally, many old fans of Peng Hubei have been asking Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan to do more live broadcasts and show up more often. Sister Lin agreed with these opinions. You two have nothing to do lately anyway. So why not start a live broadcast to increase the cohesion of your fans? And we have already discussed the next talent show with Ming Lei. If you can do more live broadcasts, it can be regarded as a warm-up for the talent show. Afterwards, Sister Lin even set goals for the 2 of them. Live broadcast at least 3 days a week, each time for more than 2 hours. So Zhang Wanwan has now started to study matters related to live streaming. Although Zhang Wanwan was a movie queen in her previous life, but as a film queen, she has never done any live broadcasts. In this regard, she is just a rookie. Shen Feng actually doesn't know much about live streaming. He was reborn many times, but all of them were on the same day. Even if a host has accumulated fans, he or she still has to start all over again the next day. Seeing Zhang Wanwan checking live broadcasting tips on her phone, Shen Feng suddenly said, don't we know people who are good at live broadcasting? Why don't we just ask a professional? Professional? Zhang Wanwan was stunned. Then I remembered. Des. Aren't Xiaoqian Shu and Chen Lu both posting videos and doing live broadcasts? She quickly opened WeChat and joined the small group that was previously formed by the cast of Date. Tag Xiaoyan Shu and Chen Lu. Zhang Wanwan, do you have any live streaming experience you can share with us? Lulu, live streaming experience? Are you going to do live streaming? Jietnan is particularly difficult. Brother 1, do you need experience to live broadcast? Come with me, Brother Shen, and show your face in front of the camera. And people will be willing to watch you. Listen, yes. Didn't you guys use other people's live broadcast rooms to get on the hot search a few days ago? Zhang Wanwan, that's different. Sister Lin gave us a task, forcing us to broadcast live, and we have to broadcast for more than 2 hours at a time. Zhang Wanwan, I only showed my face for a few minutes in the Leap broadcast room before. In these 2 hours, we have to think of something to broadcast. Right? Xiaoqian Shu, actually, there are only a few forms of live broadcasting, such as live broadcasting, outdoor activities, games, and talent shows. It depends on your ideas. Jietnan was particularly troubled. How about we connect the microphones together and do a joint live broadcast of the Date crew? Zhang Wanwan also became interested when she saw the message from Jietnan. This is indeed a good idea, and it is the perfect promotion for her first live broadcast. Zhang Wanwan, I think it's okay. Zhang Wanwan, but we are promoting Date, right? Should we ask Director Chen for salary? Director Chen, who had been lurking, finally emerged after seeing this news. Director Chen, you still want salary? You are just trying to take advantage of my show's popularity. I haven't asked you for money yet. Zhang Wanwan, forget it. We don't dare to compete with your show. Why don't you cut us out of the show later? Director Chen. Director Chen, I definitely won't get any salary, but I can use the official account of Date to promote it for you. Director Chen, you guys discuss when to do the leap broadcast. Let me know when you've made up your mind. I'll take my leave now. After typing these words, Director Chen seemed to be afraid that Zhang Wanwan would ask him for money again. He actually quit the group right away. Zhang Wanwan didn't chase Director Chen for money, but instead called Sister Lin and told her idea. After getting Sister Lin's support and affirmation, Zhang Wanwan discussed the time and content of the live broadcast in the group. She was so engrossed in the conversation that she even kept her head down typing when she got off the bus at her stop. If Shen Feng hadn't held her back, she would have almost bumped into the pillar several times. Shen Feng turned his back helplessly and squatted in front of Zhang Wanwan. Come up. Zhang Wanwan chuckled and lay on Shen Feng's back. While walking on Shen Feng's back, Zhang Wanwan muttered, Fengzi, do you think we'll just chat during the live broadcast? Or play some games? Wouldn't it be boring if we just chatted? And what can we play games for? As long as you like it. Anything is fine, Shen Feng said. Zhang Wanwan knocked Shen Feng's head with her head. Hey, this is not a question of whether I like it or not. We are doing a live broadcast together, and it's the first time. So we have to do it well. But there are 8 of us. If we play a game, what game can have so many players? Shen Feng thought about it. Suddenly he said, script killing? Nowadays, tabletop games such as script killing are popular all over the country. The number of people is relatively flexible, 2 or 3 people can play. Or 8 or 9 people can play. You can play it online through software or in offline physical stores. The content of the game is to play the characters in the murder scripts, unravel the clues and find the hidden murderer. When Zhang Wanwan heard this, her eyes lit up. She quickly shared Shen Feng's proposal with the group, and it was finally unanimously approved by the group. However, Jade Nan suggested that it would be best to find someone to customize a script that no one has ever played before, to prevent someone from spoiling the story during the leap broadcast. Zhang Wanwan called Sister Lin again. After I mentioned this idea, Sister Lin immediately said it was a good idea, and immediately went to find someone to write the script. By the time Sister Lin had finalized the script, Director Chen had already started preheating the show on his official Weibo account. Official of Let's Start Dating today, the guests of Dating are reunited. The first online live broadcast is about to start, stay tuned. As soon as this Weibo post was published, it quickly became a hot topic. The show Dating itself is very popular. The live broadcast of Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan a few days ago brought some heat again. Now the official has said that it will organize an online live broadcast with the guests together, which immediately made fans excited. Ooh, my happiness is back. It sounds terrible. Go for it. Go for Peng Hubei. What is a surprise? Please translate what a surprise is. Amid heated discussions among fans, 3 days passed. The script that Sister Lin had requested was finally obtained, and the live broadcast finally started as scheduled. In the live broadcast room of a certain platform, as the live broadcast began, Director Chen's voice was heard. Dear viewers, welcome to the special episode of Let's Start Dating today. As soon as they heard Director Chen's voice, the audience felt it was extremely familiar. My youth is back. As soon as they started talking, I felt like I was watching a variety show. Director Chen looked at the comments and chuckled, then continued to say a few more polite words. Then, he announced loudly, all right, enough small talk. Let's welcome the real protagonists of the show, our 4 groups of guests. They are, respectively, the Ugly Combination, Titanlu Combination, the Mighty Combination. Every time a group's name is read, 1/4 of the screen in the live broadcast room will become a shot of the corresponding group. The 3 groups also greeted the audience. Director Chen saw the enthusiastic response from the audience in the live broadcast room and deliberately paused for a moment. After all 3 groups had greeted each other, he finally read out the name that the audience was most looking forward to. And of course, there's also the grand prize winner of our dating show, the Peng Hubei group. The last quarter of the screen also lit up. 2 figures appeared on the screen. Fat, plump. 1 black, 1 white. The audience who were about to post comments and cheer were stunned. Where are the people? Why are there 2 teddy bears? Just when the audience was full of questions, the 2 teddy bears suddenly raised their arms. She greeted the camera. Hello, I'm Zhang Wanwan, did you miss me? As she spoke, Zhang Wanwan's head popped out from behind the white teddy bear. With a mischievous smile on his face, Shen Feng also appeared from behind the black teddy bear. The 2 men threw the 2 teddy bears onto the bed behind them, then smiled and greeted the audience again. But for many viewers, the focus at this moment is no longer on the 2 of them. Wait a minute, they were live streaming while sitting on the bed, right? This couldn't be broadcast live at one of their homes. The key point is the 2 pillows. Didn't you see those 2 pillows? 2, they live together. I'm going to die. This is no longer a question of living together. This is sleeping together. Oh shit, oh shit. When Zhang Wanwan saw the barrage, she realized that the location she chose for the leap broadcast seemed to be wrong. Chen Feng, on the other hand, looked calm. While pulling out the marriage certificate from his pocket, he said to the audience in the live broadcast room, "We are a legal couple with a certificate. Is there any problem with sleeping together?" "There is a big problem. I also want to see you sleep. Although I already knew you were a couple, it was only when I saw you sleeping in the same bed that I felt really touched. What I am more concerned about is, does Shen Feng always carry the marriage certificate with him?" Shen Feng saw this comment, nodded seriously. "Of course I carry it with me. It's a testimony to my love for my younger brother." "Why, you don't carry it with you? Oh, or do you all have no wives? Damn it, this guy used to criticize the director, but now he's directly criticizing the audience. I can't bear it anymore. I'm going to cry now. You keep scolding me." After a brief silence, the barrage broke out again. Chapter 101. I hope there is no Shen Feng. Zhang Wanwan in private. Money in heaven, amen. The audience was fed with dog food and shown a lot of affection. Shen Feng also attacked him in the face, causing real damage. I finally experienced the pleasure that Director Chen felt when he was criticized by Shen Feng. Damn it, I only see you because you are handsome and talented. Otherwise I would definitely turn from a fan to a hater. I have been hurt by Shen Feng. My heart is bleeding. Please send me a Shen Feng as a boyfriend immediately. Otherwise I will die here. I just can't find a partner. What have I done wrong? Feng Zi, why do you bully us singles like this? Wan Ji, help us beat him up. An audience member suggested. Zhang Wanwan snorted when she saw this comment. Whoever's husband it is, I feel sorry for him. I can't bear to hit him. Director Chen, who was eager to create chaos in the world, interrupted at this time and said, "If you beat Shen Feng according to the audience's request, I will give you a red envelope later." Zhang Wanwan started taking action without saying a word. The audience was numb. Whose husband should be cared for? Of course Zhang Wanwan didn't really do it. She was just cooperating with Director Chen to create the show effect. After playing around with Shen Feng for a while, they all sat back in front of the camera. After their lively atmosphere, the live broadcast room became obviously more lively. Both the audience and other guests felt as if they were back to the recording of Date. Relax and be happy. Alright, now that the 4 groups of guests have greeted everyone, the special program Let's Start Dating Today is officially starting. Director Chen's voice was heard again in the Leap broadcast room. He held up the long-prepared schedule and said, "Today's special program is divided into 3 parts. The first round is a quick question and answer session. The second round is a script-based show, and the third round is a love word chain. We will ask the audience to rate the 3 rounds of games. The group with the highest score will receive the reward prepared by the program team. The Penghu Bay group will not participate in the rating." Zhang Wanwan was quite surprised when she heard there was a reward. After all, this is nominally a special program of Date, but in fact she is officially broadcasting live under the name of Date. Zhang Wanwan was surprised that Director Chen would actually pay for the reward out of his own pocket. She was still curious about what the reward was, and Director Chen said that the Penghu Bay group would not participate in the scoring. Zhang Wanwan became famous at that time. "Why? We are also one of the guests. Why don't we participate in the scoring?" Director Chen said calmly. "Wanwan, don't be so angry. I said I won't give you any ratings for a reason." "What's the reason?" Zhang Wanwan asked. "Because I don't want to give it." After Director Chen finished speaking, he continued in a rather smug tone. Are you angry? Are you angry? Do you really want to hit me? It's a pity that you can't. You can't hit me, but you can't use my camera to threaten me. Besides, this is a live broadcast room I opened for you, and you can't withdraw. How about that? Are you upset? You can't do anything to me, right? Director Chen laughed so proudly and arrogantly. Finally, after holding it in for so many days, he finally got a chance to take real revenge. When he was recording the show before, if he offended Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan, he would be retaliated by these 2 people tenfold. Either they want to cheat him out of his money or sell him his camera, or they would cheat him out of his money by selling him a camera. But now, things have changed. Live broadcast online. No one can touch anyone else. He could finally show off his power as a director and control Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan for once. Director Chen laughs like this. It's a pity he doesn't play a villain. It's so cheap, but I like it, so I have to teach this couple a lesson. Who asked them to show off their affection and call us singles? That's right, support Director Chen. Director Chen did a great job. This time, the audience did not talk about Director Chen's shady dealings. Instead, they united to support Director Chen. After all, Shen Feng had hurt too many of their hearts before. He who wins the hearts of the people wins the world. Director Chen couldn't help but feel even more proud when he saw that he had so many fans. He smiled and said to Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan, "See, the public also supports me, so you don't need to participate in the rating." Zhang Wanwan pouted. He pulled Shen Feng's arm and said, "Feng Zi, Director Chen bullied me. Okay, I'll bully you back." Shen Feng smiled, then said to the camera, "Sister Wang, are you watching? Director Chen's private money is hidden in." "Shut up." Director Chen quickly interrupted Shen Feng. Then he took a deep breath and said, "Student Shen Feng, this is really not fair. I don't have any private money. Besides, even if I did, how would you know where I hid it? Don't talk nonsense from that." Shen Feng looked innocent. "Since you think I'm talking nonsense, why are you stopping me? I randomly told you where you hid your money, and Sister Wang saw that it wasn't there. Doesn't that mean she trusts you even more?" Director Chen felt that Shen Feng was right, but he felt that Shen Feng was wrong. Shen Feng is such a bad guy. What if he had told the truth when he was drunk before? And this guy really knew where he hid his private money. Wouldn't his life be in danger? Director Chen looked at Shen Feng on the screen. The more he looked, the more he felt that Shen Feng's innocent expression was suspicious. He asked doubtfully, Do you really know where I hide the money?" "You guess." Shen Feng's tone was casual and indifferent. "I guess you definitely don't know. The place where I hid the money is very secretive. How could you possibly know?" Director Chen said with certainty. As soon as he finished speaking, he heard Shen Feng dry out a long no. "Oh, after hearing what you said, it turns out that you really have some hidden money. I just said it casually, but I didn't expect it to be true. Sister Wang, are you watching? Remember to ask Director Chen for money." Then Shen Feng said to Zhang Wanwan, "Brother Wan, don't you have Sister Wang's WeChat? Tell Sister Wang." Zhang Wanwan nodded and immediately took out her cell phone to send a message. Director Chen then realized that he had been tricked. Shen Feng tricked me into revealing the secret. But unfortunately, I found out too late. He had no choice but to quickly say, No, Shen Feng, Wan, let's talk it out, Isn't it just to let you participate in the grading? Sure, that should be fine." Zhang Wanwan then put away her phone and said with a smile, Director Chen, you are still too young to play with my Feng Zi. Or Feng Zi is an old monster who is over 800 years old. It's just Director Chen, it's nothing." The audience was filled with emotion when they saw Director Chen admit defeat again. "I'm not saying this, Director Chen is really bad. Although I support Director Chen in targeting Feng Zi and 1GE this time, Director Chen's fighting ability is not good enough. Alas, even if I can't see you, I can still control you. This is my strength, Feng Zi. Director Chen, forget it. Don't think about revenge anymore. I'm afraid you'll end up losing someone in the process." The barrage of comments kept appearing, but Director Chen didn't say anything for a long time. Everyone thought that Director Chen was heartbroken, and some people were comforting him. Even Zhang Wanwan, seeing that Director Chen hadn't spoken for a long time, couldn't help but whispered to comfort him, "Director Chen, don't be angry." After a while, a voice came from Director Chen's side. Hello, can you hear me? This is how you should open the microphone." But the voice that came was a female one. Director Chen's wife, Sister Wang, spoke a few words into the microphone, and after seeing the response from the comments, she continued, "I am Director Chen's wife. I was just watching the live broadcast, and then I went to deal with some personal matters with Director Chen. I'm really sorry for the delay, then I will continue to host the next part." Jiet Nan quickly asked, "Sister Wang, then, where is Director Chen?" Sister Wang said calmly, "Didn't I say that I had settled some private matters with him? What's the meaning?" "What I mean is, I solved him." Jiet Nan. Audience, rest in peace, Director Chen. May there be no Shen Feng Zhang Wanwan and private money in heaven. Amen. Chapter 100 to quick questions and answers. In the end, Director Chen came back to host the show, but listening to his voice, it seems that his tone is a bit haggard and miserable, and from time to time, you can hear the sound of keyboards coming from there. Although the picture cannot be seen, the audience reasonably guessed that Director Chen is probably kneeling on the keyboard now. The audience sighed one by one. It's better to be single. After seeing Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan, I began to believe in love after seeing Director Chen. I began to enjoy being single again. Thank you, Director Chen, for comforting our fragile hearts that were hurt by Feng Zi before. Director Chen YYDS. Don't cry, Director Chen, although you lost your private money. We gained happiness, thank you, Director Chen. You're welcome. Director Chen said miserably. Then let's move on to the first part. Quick questions and quick answers. The rules of Quick Quiz are simple. Director Chen will ask questions to each group of guests separately and keep time at the same time. You must answer the question within 2 seconds to answer it effectively. This kind of question and answer session that doesn't give guests time to react can easily elicit their true feelings. It is also easy to produce show effects. Director Chen first asked about the Wei Ming group, which consisted of Shang Wei and Meng An. Who of you two will answer the question first? Director Chen asked. Shang Wei and Meng An discussed it and finally decided to let Meng An go first. When Meng An was ready, Director Chen showed the timer in the late broadcast room. Ready, set, go. Who is the person you hate the most? The first question is so acute. Of course, Meng An subconsciously had to think about this kind of question that could easily offend people. Then he said, It's time out, and the answer is not good. Director Chen said seriously, quick questions and quick answers are all about being crisp and clear. How can you give such an answer? Okay, I'll give you one more chance. You have to seize it. Director Chen said, and asked again, who do you hate the most? Meng An made up his mind. At that time, I shouted, Director Chen. Director Chen. Okay, that's an answer. Director Chen sighed. Then said, the next questions will be very quick, and there will be no pauses. Be prepared. Then Director Chen asked again. Who is your favorite person? My mom. How many times have you been in love? Twice. Timeout. What do you think of Shang Wei's appearance? Ugly. Shang Wei? Do you feel happy working with Shang Wei? Happy. Do you think Shang Wei's acting is good? Not good. Shang Wei? Is it true that Shang Wei has bad breath? Yes. Shang Wei? At this point, the effect of the quick question and answer program was revealed. Many of the questions Director Chen asked afterwards were related to Shang Wei. Under the quick questions and answers, Meng An, who had no time to think about the answers, seemed to have become Shang Wei's #1 anti-fan. The audience in the live broadcast room also laughed out loud. Pass it on, Shang Wei is short, ugly, has poor acting skills, athlete's foot, bad breath, hemorrhoids, and hair loss. He also likes to wear pink pajamas at home. My brother Wei is so embarrassed. My good partner of many years has been betrayed like this. Director Chen is really mean. How could he think about these questions? After asking 7 or 8 questions in succession, Meng An finally finished this round. Meng An let out a long sigh. His mind feeling dizzy. She glanced at Shang Wei beside her and said, I didn't say anything particularly strange just now, did I? To be honest, she didn't hear several of the questions clearly. There was no time to think. She actually knew that some of the questions were directed at Shang Wei, but she didn't have time to think about the most appropriate answers, so she could only answer them casually. Shang Wei forced a smile. No, that's good. Meng An breathed a sigh of relief. It was Shang Wei's turn to answer the questions. Director Chen's first question was again, who do you hate the most? Shang Wei answered without hesitation. Meng An. Well, she must have said something weird and offended this guy. Director Chen, this is not a special program of dating. You should change the name to, If We Can Break Up a Couple. We can break up a couple. Two good friends turned into enemies just like that. I can only say that Director Chen is good at stirring up trouble. Was it taught by Shen Feng himself? This game is not about quick questions and answers, but about hurting each other. Amid the laughter of the audience and Meng An's confusion, Shang Wei quickly finished answering the questions. Next are the two groups of Xiao Tianshu and Chen Lu, and Jiat Nan and Li Ting. The highlight of this group of Xiao Tianshu and Chen Lu is Xiao Tianshu. Chen Li reacted quickly and basically didn't say anything offensive. But Xiao Tianshu was slow to respond and gave random answers to some questions. For example, Director Chen asked Xiao Tianshu, do you like Chen Lu? Xiao Tianshu replied without hesitation, I don't like climbing trees. Director Chen was stunned for a long time before he realized that Xiao Tianshu had heard it wrong. When it comes to the group of Jiat Nan and Li Ting, it becomes even more interesting. If the first two groups were here to make people laugh, and there was something a little off about the group consisting of Jiat Nan and Li Ting. When Director Chen asked who Jiat Nan's favorite person was, Jiat Nan blushed but answered without hesitation, Li Ting. When Director Chen asked whether Jiat Nan had confessed his love to Li Ting, Jiat Nan also replied immediately, have. Afterwards, Director Chen asked Li Ting whether she agreed to him. This time, Jiat Nan did not answer immediately. He looked at Li Ting. Li Ting also lowered his head in embarrassment. It was not until almost half a minute past the time limit that Jiat Nan nodded. He smiled and said, I've already agreed. Woohoo, another big melon. I saw online that someone had photographed them hanging out together. But I didn't expect they were actually together. What a great combination. I've made a couple again. I thought we would only eat dog food when we got to Penghu Bay. But I didn't expect that today's dog food would arrive earlier. The audience perked up. The group of Ji Adnan and Li Tingting was originally the second most popular group in date. There are also many fans who support them. Now that they saw that this couple actually got together, many people became excited. After the unpleasant group finished answering, it was finally the turn of Shenfeng and Zhang Wanwan's group. The audience got a taste of sweetness from the ugly listening group and began to look forward to whether the group of Shenfeng and Zhang Wanwan would bring them even bigger sweetness. Director Chen cleared his throat and asked, "Who of you two will answer the question first?" Zhang Wanwan volunteered and raised her hand. "I'll do it. All I have to do is answer quickly enough." "Yes, the sooner the better. If you are ready, I will start asking questions. First question, what did you eat for breakfast?" "Shenfeng." Zhang Wanwan replied immediately. Director Chen. "Shenfeng." Audience. Director Chen coughed lightly. Then said, "Student Zhang Wanwan, let me ask you what you had for breakfast." Zhang Wanwan said seriously, "Didn't you say before that as long as I answer quickly enough, it will be fine? You didn't say the answer must be correct. Hurry up, ask the next question, otherwise I'll call Sister Wang." Director Chen had no choice but to quickly ask the next question. "Who is your favorite actor?" "Shenfeng." "Who is the celebrity you hate the most?" "Shenfeng." "If your father and mother both fell into the water, who would you save first?" "Shenfeng." Zhang Ziyi and Suyan, who were watching the Li broadcast, were speechless. "What would you like to name your son?" "Shenfeng." Shensheng was also speechless. Of course, Director Chen and the audience are also numb now. I found that Wan Ji has figured it out. Is this considered cheating? I, Feng Zi, am completely dumbfounded. The person I love the most is him. The person I hate the most is him. He is my breakfast. He is my dinner. And he is still my son. I can't hold it back anymore. I'm dying of laughter, especially when Wan Ji talks about Shenfeng. His tone is different every time, with ups and downs. It seemed that Zhang Wanwan was about to get through the entire gang using the two words Shenfeng. Director Chen decided to find a way to turn the situation around. Perhaps kneeling on the keyboard improved his IQ, and Director Chen came up with an idea in a hurry. Suddenly he said, "You can choose one person to give out red envelopes to the audience for a prize draw. Who is this person?" "You." Zhang Wanwan answered immediately. Director Chen. Chapter 103. You are the murderer. Director Chen and the audience in the Li broadcast room did not expect that Zhang Wanwan would react so quickly to this question. However, Mr. Lu Xun once said, "Human joys and sorrows are not shared." Director Chen was confused and miserable at this moment. The audience was either laughing non-stop or posting comments urging Director Chen to draw the prize and give out red envelopes. Director Chen almost cried when he saw these comments. "Don't make me draw. Didn't you see what happened to me just now? All my private savings are gone. All gone. How can I have money to give out red envelopes for the raffle?" Although most of the audience didn't care about the red envelopes, they also felt that they might not win the prize, even if they participated in the lottery. But everyone loves to stir up trouble. At this time, regardless of Director Chen's complaints, he just kept posting comments, asking Director Chen to quickly draw the lottery. Director Chen was so upset that he wanted to cry. It was at this juncture that Zhang Wanwan spoke again. She said in a pretentiously gentle voice, "Everyone, please be patient. Since Director Chen said he would give out red envelopes, he will definitely give them out, so don't worry." "Director Chen, you are out of money, aren't you? I'll transfer some money to you. You must fulfill your promise to the audience." Zhang Wanwan's voice now sounds like an angel to Director Chen. This girl finally has a conscience. As a result, Director Chen didn't have time to be happy. Then Zhang Wanwan continued, "Friendship price, 1.5 interest per day. She has a fucking conscience." But in the end, Zhang Wanwan still drew the prize for Director Chen in the Li broadcast room. After the lucky draw was over, Director Chen continued with the unfinished quick question and answer session. The last person to be asked is naturally Shenfeng. Director Chen took a deep breath and said, "Shenfeng, let me make it clear first, you can answer the following questions randomly like Zhang Wanwan did. Do you hear me? You are responsible for every question you answer. Don't worry, Director Chen, don't you know what kind of person I am?" Shensheng said with sincere eyes. Director Chen curled his lips. "Damn it, I warn you because I know what kind of person you are." Director Chen cleared his throat and asked, "First question. Why do you like Zhang Wanwan?" "No reason, I just like it." "What do you like about Zhang Wanwan?" What do you think of Zhang Wanwan bullying me like this?" "Watch with a smile." Director Chen. Director Chen. What would you do if Zhang Wanwan quarreled with you? Admit your fault. What if Zhang Wanwan is the one who is wrong? Shenfeng smiled. No matter whose fault it is, as long as I quarrel with her, it's my fault. Feng Zi is a perfect student at Men's Mortality Academy. Be more confident. You are not a student, you are a teacher. Be more confident. I'm not a teacher, I'm the principal. I'm stupid. No wonder Shen Feng was able to pursue Zhang Wanwan. With his IQ and EQ, I would fall in love with him too. Wake up. If it were you, Shen Feng would stop chasing me. Director Chen's problems continue. Who is the actor you hate the most? This issue is no longer related to Zhang Wanwan. And it suddenly became acute. Xu Yilin. Chen Cheng said directly. When this name came out, the audience and Director Chen were dumbfounded. This is the old movie star. Moreover, the old actor had previously praised Zhang Wanwan's acting skills and wished Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan his best wishes. How could Shen Feng hate him? Director Chen was extremely nervous. Could it be that Shen Feng is getting carried away? Although Shen Feng is a little popular now, in front of the old movie emperor, Shen Feng is nothing. But before Director Chen could get nervous for long, Shen Feng continued speaking. Actor Xu's acting is so good. After watching his movies, I don't want to watch any other movies. He made me picky. How can I not hate him? Oh, so that's what happened. Director Chen breathed a sigh of relief. The audience also breathed a sigh of relief. I got so scared, I thought Feng Zi was floating. Me too. This Feng Zi is scaring people on purpose. But the old actor is really amazing. After watching a few of his old movies and then watching other people's movies, I feel that they are indeed on a different level. The audience was leaving comments. And Director Chen asked the next question. Who is the singer you hate the most? A god of songs. Not only does he sing better than me, he also has no scandal. She can even catch robbers every time he holds a concert. I feel jealous when I see someone so outstanding. What about the most annoying woman? Zhang Wanwan, Shen Feng said. She has filled my eyes and heart. I can't see anyone else except her. How annoying. Director Chen has figured out this guy's routine. To praise someone first and then criticize him is to avoid offending anyone. Very smooth. Director Chen thought for a moment, then suddenly asked. Who is the director you hate the most? Director Chen. Shen Feng said. Director Chen's eyes lit up. Is Shen Feng going to praise him? This kid is sensible. He smiled and asked quickly. Why do you hate me? Tell me now. Chen Chen said calmly. No reason. Director Chen. Director Chen's smile froze instantly. A decisive kill. Although there is no shot of Director Chen, I think Director Chen is about to cry. Director Chen is so pitiful. Hot bullying Director Chen. He has no other problems except that he is old, bald, afraid of his wife, stingy, and picky. He likes to target Wanwan and Feng Zi. Director Chen asked for this himself. He had to ask Feng Zi which director she hated the most. Isn't this clearly making Shen Feng a target? Director Chen wiped his face, wiping away the bitter tears. The quick question and answer game ended here. And Director Chen started the voting. Originally, the group of Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan was very popular, and many people thought that Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan would definitely win this time. Unexpectedly, the score of the group of Jiat Nan and Li Tingting was so close to that of Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. For a while, the situation was deadlocked and it was difficult to tell who was the winner. I am a fan of Peng Hubei, but in order to bless Xiao Jian and Tingting, I still voted for them. Me too, blessings. I hope Xiao Jian and Tingting can be as happy as Feng Zi and Wan Ji. A considerable number of Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan's fans were attracted by the CP of the two. These fans who like sweet love will certainly not hesitate to give support and encouragement to a new couple. Even at the end, when the voting was closed, Jiat Nan and Li Tingting surpassed the Peng Hubei combination with a slight advantage and won the victory. Director Chen was very pleased. This can be considered as a way to save his face. Although Jiat Nan and Li Tingting seemed to have nothing to do with him. After the first round of the game, Director Chen chatted with the four groups of guests for a while. Soon, the second round of the game began. This is also the highlight of this live broadcast, which Sister Lin has been planning for the longest time. Script killing. Because everyone is broadcasting live via video, script killing games can only be played online. Director Chen briefly explained the rules of script killing. He served as the host of the script killing show, and 8 guests took turns drawing script roles. Among the characters in the script, 1 is a murderer and the remaining 7 are ordinary people. After the roles are drawn, Director Chen will send the script for each role to the corresponding guests via mobile email. Guests need to determine their identities and tasks based on the description in the script. The murderer needs to hide his identity, while others have to find a way to catch the murderer or complete their own special tasks. After introducing the rules, Director Chen asked the guests to draw their identities. He first created a scrolling screen to play the roles' identities in turn. When the guest calls for stop, he will freeze the scrolling screen. And the position where the screen freezes represents the person's identity. Shen Feng drew the identity card of chef. Zhang Wanwan drew the word scholar. Shang Wei and Jiat Nan are quite interesting. Shang Wei drew the character dancer, and Jiat then drew the character madam. Both of their faces turned green. but Director Chen didn't allow me to change the role. Thus, the Madam Jiat Nan and the dancer Shang Wei took up their posts with honor. Jiat Nan pinched his throat and said, "Uncle, come and play." It made many audience members laugh out loud. After the roles were assigned, Director Chen distributed the script to everyone's mobile phone. A publicly available script outline and a map were also projected on the big screen in the live broadcast room. Zhang Wanwan opened the script she had just received, looked at her identity and mission, and then breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, she is not the murderer. She leaned over to see what was written in Shen Feng's script. But Shen Cheng turned his phone over and said with a smile, "Wan Ji, this is a live broadcast now, it's not good to peek." "That's right, you are not allowed to cheat, there are so many eyes watching us in the live broadcast room." Director Chen also spoke righteously. Zhang Wanwan withdrew her gaze with regret and started reading her script. Only then did Shen Feng turn the phone back. He looked at the last line of his script. There, a few words were written in red font. "You are the murderer. Please hide your identity." Chapter 100 For I Jump into the River 1 to chapters in 1. Huiyan Lu is the largest music house in the capital, commonly known as brothel. Here, there are dancers who are 8 feet tall, and a brothel owner who looks like a man and looks unlucky. There are young men from noble families who are proficient in surviving in the wild. And there are also guards who look weak and powerless. There is a country bumpkin who can speak multiple foreign languages, and a tone-deaf musician. There was also a cook and a waiter who was married to the cook. Director Chen looked at the identities drawn by the guests displayed on the screen and couldn't help but twitch his lips. Shang Wei drew the dancer, and Jiat Nen drew the brothel owner. Xiao Qingshu is a young man from a prominent family, and Meng Yan is his bodyguard. Chen Lu is a countryman who has just moved to the city, and Li Dingting is the zither player of Huiyan Lu. Shen Cheng is the cook and Zhang Wanwan is the waiter. He coughed lightly, then took the script and said in a serious tone, "This is Huiyan Lu, the largest aristocratic school in the capital. Last night was the Huiyan Tower's Oyeron ceremony, with dancer Shang Wei and Huiyan Tower's most popular beauty Cui Hong competing for the position of Oyeron. Dancer Shang Wei lost at the Oyeron ceremony, and when I woke up this morning, I found Cui Hong dead in the lobby of Huiyan Tower. You were the only ones who stayed in Huiyan Tower last night, so the murderer could only be among you. What you have to do is search for clues and find the real murderer." Director Chen introduced the background story. Then Zhang Wanwan quickly raised her hand. "I have a question. Since yesterday was the Oyeron ceremony, why were there only a few people staying overnight? This is a game, can you please not take it too seriously?" Director Chen said helplessly, "If someone like Shang Wei can compete for the title of Oyeron, why do you still care about authenticity?" Shang Wei said he was very hurt. "Okay, now you will each introduce your movements and times last night." After Director Chen finished speaking, several guests started to rehearse their own timelines one by one. After a thorough investigation, it was discovered that everyone had seen the deceased last night. They also have time to be alone with the deceased and the opportunity to kill him. The case suddenly became confusing. When it comes to the evidence search stage, guests can choose the places to search based on the map projected in the live broadcast room, and Director Chen will give the corresponding clues. For example, Zhang Wanwan searched the body. Dead Cui Hong, the courtesan of Huiyan Tower, died last night, suspected to have fallen from the 3rd floor, with 12 wounds on her body. All her hands and feet were broken, suspected to be poisoned. When Zhang Wanwan saw Director Chen give clues about the body, her expression was a little strange. What on earth did this girl do to deserve such a tragic death? Poisoning, falling from a building, broken hands and feet, and so many other injuries on the body. What kind of hatred and grudge is this? Worse consequences are yet to come. After searching for evidence, it was found that almost everyone had a weapon in their hands, including but not limited to poison needles, knockout drugs, blood daggers, kitchen knives, daggers, long swords, machetes, hammers, mountain-splitting axes, green dragon crescent blades, painted halberdiers, blood-dropping daggers, and a bloody brick. Did you all bring these things to the brothel for entertainment? Daggers and kitchen knives are fine, but why are there also green dragon crescent blades and Fengtian painted halberdiers? This courtesan is really lucky not to have been chopped into pieces. Shang Wei glanced at the comments and quickly explained. It's normal for a dancer like me to carry a dagger for self-defense, right? After all, I'm just a weak woman. Xiao Qianshu, a noble son of a famous family, also said, it's normal for me, a young master, to carry a long sword with me, right? Ard Mengyan said, I'm a guard. Is there anything wrong with carrying a machete? Jiat Nan then said, I am a brothel owner, so it's okay for me to keep the green dragon crescent blade and the Feiqian painted halberd for self-defense. The others said in unison. Xiao Jia is outrageous. Why did they find the Feiqian Huaji and King Long Yin Yadao in his room? What is his relationship with Guan Yi and Lu Biyu? The old procuress who looks like this, maybe it's because Guan Yi and Lu Biyu want to kill him when they see him. Jiet Nan said innocently, no, actually according to my identity. Although I am a brothel owner, I was once a martial arts master. For some reasons, I chose to retire, as the saying goes. A great hermit hides in the city, I will become a brothel owner. Besides, it's outrageous for Zhang Wanwan, a waiter, to carry a blood-dropping dart in the mouth and splitting axe. It's outrageous for a waiter to carry a splitting axe. But if this waiter is Zhang Wanwan, it seems very reasonable. I think so too, it seems to be fine. You guys are being hypocritical. This is too much for me. Jayatnam expressed dissatisfaction. But he didn't know. There are more things targeting him to come. After checking the clues and subsequent discussion, everyone told their true purpose and motive for murder. Dancer Shang Wei, I wanted to kill the madam. I had a grudge against him. But I don't know why the court saying that instead. Villager Chen Lu, I wanted to kill the madam. I had a grudge against her. I poisoned the wine he drank, but I don't know why he didn't die. Young Master Xiao Chenshu, I also want to kill the madam. Guard Meng'an, Dito, Li Dingting and Zhang Wanwan also said that in the script. Their real enemies were all brothels. Jayatnam was about to cry. He just drew the lottery casually, but how come he got such a tragic identity? He helplessly asked Shen Feng, the only one who hadn't expressed his opinion. Brother Shen, the person you wanted to kill wasn't me. Was I? Shen Sheng shook his head. Jayatnam smiled with relief. Fortunately, at least someone loves him. Then Shen Feng said, not only did I want to kill you originally, but I want to kill you now too. Jayatnan. Zhang Wanwan suddenly clapped her hands and said, why don't we just not solve this case? Everyone wants to kill Xiaojia anyway. And we all have the same goal, why don't we unite and kill Xiaojia? No need to go through so much trouble. Director Chen, who was in charge of the event, said, in fact, he will be dead after this case is solved. No, then why should I solve the case? I'm going to die anyway, what's the point of solving the case? Jayatnam protested strongly. Yes, at least it will allow you to be an innocent ghost. Director Chen comforted. Jayatnan said with a smile. So many people want to kill me, how can I be innocent when I am guilty of such heinous crimes? Having said that. But the game still has to go on. After the subsequent summary and investigation, Jayatnan, who was targeted by the most people, became the one with the least suspicion. However, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan became the two most suspicious people. Whether in terms of the time of the crime, the motive, or the method used, these two people are the most likely people to have killed the Oiran. Zhang Wanwan knew that she was innocent, so she looked at Shen Feng with a strange look. Although Feng Zi had no expression on his face, Zhang Wanwan was certain that the calmer he was, the more problems there were. Shen Sheng noticed Zhang Wanwan looking at him, and suddenly blinked at Zhang Wanwan. When Zhang Wanwan saw Shen Feng's action, she immediately confirmed it. This guy must be the murderer. Everyone, listen to me. First of all, I know my own identity. Secondly, Shen Feng's motive for murder is stronger than mine. The most important murder weapon, the brick, was also found from him. It's definitely right for everyone to vote for him. Zhang Wanwan was particularly confident. As a result, Zhang Wanwan saw Shen Feng smiling at her. Then he touched her head and said, if you say I'm the murderer, then I am the murderer. That tone was very doting. Afterwards, Shen Feng said to the other groups of guests, if no one is lying, then I was indeed the last one to come into contact with the deceased. And the fatal wound was also caused by me using a brick. So it seems that I am indeed the most suspicious one. Since everyone has reason to this point, I think there is nothing wrong with voting for me. After Shen Feng finished speaking, he looked as if he was ready to be voted in. Zhang Wanwan's eyes lit up, and she said quickly, he gave up struggling. I guessed it was right. Feng Zi, no matter how smart you are, you can't escape punishment in the face of overwhelming evidence. But the expressions of the other groups of guests were all weird. Originally, in their eyes, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan were equally suspicious. In fact, Shen Feng is indeed more suspicious. However, they did not notice that Shen Feng winked at Zhang Wanwan just now. When they heard Zhang Wanwan suddenly jump out and identify Shen Feng, they felt that Zhang Wanwan had become suspicious. Especially after Shen Feng smiled and touched Zhang Wanwan's head and admitted his identity. If someone else admitted that he was the murderer, it might be because there were too many clues and they were too obvious to argue. So he was forced to admit it. But Shen Shen is not someone else. It can be said that up to now, almost all the clues were figured out by Shen Feng. He has the ability to summarize these clues, and naturally he also has the ability to overturn them. But he did not make any excuses. Instead, he smiled and acknowledged Zhang Wanwan. In the eyes of other guests in the audience, this suddenly became a different feeling. It was as if Shen Feng had already known that the murderer was Zhang Wanwan. but deliberately revealed some clues that were unfavorable to him. When Zhang Wanwan pointed out him, he did not make any excuses, but instead admitted that he was the murderer. It seems that Shen Feng's purpose is to protect Zhang Wanwan and to prevent Zhang Wanwan from being suspected. After all, Shen Feng dotes on Zhang Wanwan so much. If it is a script killing game and Zhang Wanwan is the murderer, it is normal for Shen Feng to protect Zhang Wanwan. The more the guests and the audience thought about it, the more reasonable it seemed. After a few quiet exchanges, the guests said they could vote. Zhang Wanwan smiled triumphantly and said to Shen Feng, "Hey, Feng Zi, you can't escape." As she spoke, she was the first to raise her hand. "I vote for Shen Feng." Shen Feng also smiled and raised his hand. "And I'll vote for myself." Zhang Wanwan quickly looked at the other guests. She felt that this time, she should be able to win Shen Feng with a unanimous vote. "Feng Zi, Feng Zi, you've lived for 800 years, but you still can't beat your older brother." Ha 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 ha. Then, Zhang Wanwan saw Jie Nan raise his hand. Said, "I vote for Zhang Wanwan." The smile on Zhang Wanwan's face rose. "Xiao Jia, what are you doing? Didn't Shen Feng admit that he was the murderer? He voted for himself, are you stupid?" As a result, just as Zhang Wanwan finished speaking, Li Ting beside Jia Ten also raised his hand weakly. "Brother Wan, I will vote for you too." "Me too. Me too." The other three groups have 6 people. Everyone voted for Zhang Wanwan. Even on the barrage, there was a large amount of "me too." Zhang Wanwan was stunned. "What's wrong with you? Feng Zi has already admitted it. Why are you still voting for me?" "Intuition," Jie Nan said decisively. "My intuition is always accurate." Meng Yan also said, "I also think that Xiaoshan admitted it too straightforwardly. Which is strange." Shen Feng patted Zhang Wanwan on the shoulder. With a helpless expression, he said, "Wan Ji, I'm sorry I couldn't save you." After hearing what Shen Feng said, the other guests all smiled. "I guessed it right. I was wondering why Feng Zi had been collecting clues that were unfavorable to him before, and finally came out to admit it was really to protect Wanwan." Jayatnam was most proud. "See, I told you my intuition is pretty accurate." A barrage of comments in the live broadcast room started to fill up. "Xiao Jia is awesome, the bad luck has turned around. In fact, I have long seen that Feng Zi is doing this to protect Wanwan. Alas, I can only say that Feng Zi really dotes on her too much. It's just that Feng Zi is usually very nice to Wanwan. So we discovered it. What a pity, I still couldn't say Wan Ji. Feng Zi has tried her best." Looking at the barrage, you can also see the happy expressions of other guests. Only Director Chen holds the script and truly knows the truth. Only then did he sigh softly. These people really can't beat Shen Feng. Not only was he defeated, but he was also fooled around by Shen Feng. He cleared his throat and then said, "Then, let's announce the voting results. Shen Feng, 2 votes, Zhang Wanwan, 6 votes. Let us congratulate." When he said this, Director Chen deliberately dragged out the tone. And Jayet Nan and the others were already cheering excitedly. But before they finished cheering, the second half of Director Chen's sentence came out. "Let us congratulate the murderer for escaping capture. The murderer is Shen Feng." The cheers stopped abruptly. The other guests looked at Shen Feng in astonishment. Shen Feng smiled and said, "Thank you. You, didn't you say you were trying to protect Zhang Wanwan? How come you became the murderer yourself?" Jayatnam exclaimed. Shen Feng spread his hands. "I said before that I was the murderer. Why don't you believe that? When I tell the truth, you don't believe it, but when I lie, you believe it. Who do you blame? Do you blame me?" Shen Feng said, smiling even more wantonly. "So what if you blame me? In the end, I won and you lost. What can you do to me?" Jiet Nan was speechless after being rebuked by Shen Feng. Li Ting, on the other hand, started to help her boyfriend at this time. She held Jiet Nan's hand, and then said to Shen Feng, "We can't do anything to you, but someone can. Feng Zi, taste the anger of a woman after being used. Wan Ji, come on." Accompanied by Li Ting shouting, Shen Feng saw a big bear stuck on his face. Zhang Wanwan held down to Shan and pressed Shen Feng down on the bed. The scene became extremely chaotic at one point. Director Chen had no choice but to quickly turn off the camera on Shen Feng's side. But the screen was black and the sound was still ringing. The audience could hear Zhang Wanwan yelling angrily. I could hear Shen Feng begging for mercy and comforting him. Then they heard a soft, wet kissing sound. Zhang Wanwan gasped with a hint of anger. And Shen Feng's gentle voice. "Be good, Wan brother. You can punish me in the evening, okay?" Then came Zhang Wanwan's aggrieved voice. You are so bad, hurry up and stop pressing on me. This is still a live broadcast." Shen Feng whispered. "You were the one who pressed me first, besides, we were just lying on the bed and didn't do anything else." What does this have to do with the live broadcast? Or, 1G, do you want to do something that can't be broadcast live? The audience in the live broadcast room blushed. Is this really something I can watch for free? No. Director Chen said quickly. Then he added, you can't watch it even if you pay. Chapter 105. We still don't know what Da Xiaoying did that day. Several minutes passed. The footage of Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan was restored. Shen Feng sat in front of the camera with a normal expression. And Zhang Wanwan. Then try your best to pretend to be normal. I can only say that Zhang Wanwan's acting skills are indeed better than Shen Feng's. But in terms of shamelessness, she, who only lived one life, but not compared to Shen Feng, who lived for more than 800 years. Director Chen saw that the situation seemed to have stabilized. So he pretended that nothing had happened. Clearing his throat, he continued, well, after the intermission just now, I believe everyone is ready to face our last round of the game today. Love word chain. But before the third round of the game begins, we still have to let the audience vote and select the group they think performed the best in the script killing game. As he spoke, Director Chen placed the voting machine in the live broadcast room. There is no doubt that the Peng Hubei group took the lead in votes this time. Even during the voting process, the comments gradually became more diverse, leading to all kinds of speculations. I originally thought that Shen Feng was using Zhang Wanwan, but now I think this might have been a plan that the two of them had set up long ago. I also think that Wan Ji must have known Feng Zi's identity, and then deliberately let Shen Feng use him as bait to attract firepower in order to save Shen Feng. At first I thought it was Shen Feng who wanted to save Zhang Wanwan, but after thinking about it carefully, it turned out to be the beauty saving the hero. Originally, I didn't want to vote for this group because Zhang Wanwan was taken advantage of. Now after listening to your explanation, this group is really awesome. This couple's IQ is amazing. Director Chen's eyelids twitched when he saw these comments. Damn, I think your IQ is really amazing. These two guys almost got into a fight just now. You guys saw it. It is obvious that Zhang Wanwan was used by Shen Feng without her knowledge. How did you put such a big accusation on Zhang Wanwan? Don't you think this girl has such IQ? While Director Chen was still complaining in his mind, the voting was over. The Peng Hubei combination leads with an absolute advantage. Adding the votes from the first and second rounds together, the votes for the Peng Hubei group still far exceeded those of the second-place Sudley listening group. And next, we finally arrive at the finale of this program, Love Word Chain. The rules of this game are ostensibly called word chain, but in fact they are quite different from normal word chain. Director Chen will give a sentence. Next, the guests need to expand on this sentence. Each guest can only add one to character phrase, and it must be related to love. After hearing the rules, everyone thought they were quite simple. Director Chen also gave the beginning of the story. Da Xiaoan wants to confess his love. Chang Wei was the first to take over. Da Xiaoan wants to confess his love. Meng Yan's second one. Da Xiaoan is going to express his love for his lover. Xiao Qianshu, Da Xiaoan wants to express his true love to his lover. Jian Lu, the infatuated Da Xiaoan wants to express his true love to his lover. Jayet Nan. Jayatnam, which I thought was a simple task, is now a numbness. This word is almost full. Where else can I add it? Finally, Jiet Nan said with a stiff upper lip. The infatuated Da Xiaoying tried to express his true love but was rejected. Director Chen, what the hell is this rejection? Is this a word related to love? Jayet Nan was even more stubborn than his head. Of course not. Isn't being rejected a part of love? Oh, then does Ting Ting have to reject you once as well? Zhang Wanwan suddenly said when she heard it. Jayatnam shook his head quickly. In the end, Director Chen let Jayatnan get away with it. Li Ting then continued. The infatuated Da Xiaoan wanted to express his true love but was cruelly rejected. Is your cruelty related to love? Li Ting asked back. Then Director Chen, do you think you and Sister Wang are in love? You are talking nonsense. Do you think it's cruel for Sister Wang to take away your private money? Director Chen quickly said, You passed. Hurry up and move on to the next one. The next one came to Shenfeng. Shencheng didn't do any of that messy stuff. Just follow up normally. The infatuated Da Xiaoan wanted to go to the wedding to express his true love, but was cruelly rejected. Then there is Zhang Wanwan. Zhang Wanwan thought about it. And he clapped his hands suddenly and said, The infatuated Da Xiaoan wanted to go to her husband's wedding to express his true love but was rejected. You can't say this husband has nothing to do with love. Zhang Wanwan thinks she is a genius. But Director Chen felt very upset. First, why does Da Xiaoan, a man, have a husband? Second, why is Da Xiaoan's husband still holding a wedding? Zhang Wanwan rolled her eyes. How should I know? Just ask Da Xiaoan. You just said it had to be about love. But you didn't say it had to be reasonable. Alright. Director Chen admitted that he was not rigorous. But what director Chen didn't expect was, ever since Zhang Wanwan started talking about this unreasonable thing, this sentence has become more and more outrageous. The other groups of guests seem to have been enlightened by Zhang Wanwan, their husband. Suddenly, my thoughts flowed and I was overwhelmed with inspiration. All kinds of strange words were added into this sentence. For example, gay friend, and so on and so forth. Several groups of guests had a great time, so that the sentence becomes longer and longer, and more weird. Finally, it even became, a gentle and infatuated gay man is going to the wedding of his innocent ex-wife and divorced husband to express his love for his married and sincere boyfriend. He is cruelly rejected and painfully breaks up with his new lover. A strong gay friend, to book a room in a hotel. Seeing that the entire sentence was about to develop to the point where it could not be broadcast, Director Chen quickly cut off this section. Okay, this is the end of the chain. But the audience protested when they saw it. Don't stop, keep going. This is interesting. After checking in, what did you do? I like this one. Director Chen. I advise you to continue the chain quickly, otherwise I won't give you any gifts. Well, it's not that I don't want to continue, it's mainly because this sentence is too long. If I add more, the guests won't be able to remember it. Director Chen quickly found an excuse. The audience was very sorry. I still don't know what Da Xiaowen did that day. Zhang Wanwan also felt very regretful. She had already thought about what she was going to do after Da Xiaowen checked into the room. There's no problem continuing with a dozen more rounds. The chain game is over, and the main activity of the entire lit broadcast is almost over. In fact, the first round of quick questions and answers and the third round of chain games were just side dishes to liven up the atmosphere. And the total time did not exceed an hour. Most of the time was spent on script killing, which took more than 2 hours. The entire lit broadcast lasted 3 or 4 hours. After voting for the third round of games, Director Chen announced the group with the most votes in this lit broadcast. Without a doubt, it is the Peng Hubei group. Zhang Wanwan hurried to find Director Chen to ask for a reward. Director Chen said helplessly, "You and Shen Feng are so popular. It's normal for you to win first place. It's not fair to win. Can't you give the opportunity and reward to other groups?" Zhang Wanwan snorted. "This is our strength. Why do you say that the victory isn't fair? Why should we give in?" Director Chen had no choice but to project the picture of the prize onto the Li broadcast room. "I paid for the reward myself this time. I was planning to give the first place winner a red envelope. And unfortunately my family assets were confiscated. So now the reward has been changed to my autographed photo. But this is definitely the only one of its kind in the world." On the screen, there is a photo of Director Chen. In the photo, Director Chen has a smile on his face, a big belly, and his Mediterranean hairstyle shines under the light. Below is Director Chen's signature. Zhang Wanwan looked at the photo twice. Then he suddenly said, "Shen Feng and I are so popular. It's normal for us to be first, it's not fair to win. So we should give this reward to other groups." When second place winner Ji Yatnan heard this, he quickly said, "Our group got so many votes because we were in love with Ting Ting at the beginning. We didn't win fairly. The vote should have gone to another group." Zhang Wei and Meng An, who came in third, also quickly declined. Arrived at Xiao Tianshu and Shen Lu's place. Both of them looked very awkward. I wanted to refuse but I couldn't. Because they are already the last one. Director Chen sighed helplessly upon seeing this. "Alas! You young men cannot appreciate my handsomeness. Forget it. Let's draw a lottery in the Li broadcast room and take this photo out." As he spoke, Director Chen initiated a lucky draw. As a result, after a long time, no one came to draw. Director Chen said with mixed feelings, "Can you give me some face?" And suddenly there was one more person participating in the lottery. Director Chen smiled with relief. "Thank you, my friend. It turns out that there are still good people in this world." As a result, a barrage of comments appeared on the screen. "Damn, I clicked the wrong button, can I cancel it?" Director Chen. Chapter 106. 3 hours, Lan Yu is doomed. The response to the live broadcast was very good. Whether it was the first and third rounds of mini-maze that brought out the best in the show, or the script-killing segments with excellent scripts and rich content, they all gave the audience a great viewing experience. This lit broadcast once again became a hot topic. And many Peng Hubei fans who didn't see it said it was a pity. Zhang Wanwan and Shen Shang also posted on Weibo at the appropriate time to tell fans that they will take time out every week to lit broadcast in the next few weeks. Even though they may not necessarily collaborate with the members of Date in the future, fans are still as happy as if it were New Year's Day. For them, just being able to see Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng interact and send some sweets during the late broadcast is already satisfying. Sister Lin also praised the lit broadcast in the end. The income from the live broadcast was divided equally among Director Chen and several other groups of guests. But this lit broadcast off to a good start. The subsequent lit broadcast should go more smoothly. In the villa, after the live broadcast ended, Sister Lin came to find Shen Sheng and Chang Wan. And after this live broadcast, several brands have contacted me, hoping to have you to promote their products or do some live broadcast promotional advertising. Sister Lin looked at Shen Feng and Zhang Wan. What do you think? Do you want to take these ads? Zhang Wan said, we are still actors after all. Compared with live streaming to sell goods, we should focus on filming. Sister Lin interrupted, the advertising fees are quite high. Zhang Wan continued, my main focus should be on filming. But since there are no films to film now, it seems that live streaming to sell goods is not a bad idea. You're such a money grubber. Sister Lin poked her little head. I knew you couldn't control yourself once you got involved with money. Hey, who doesn't want to make some money? Zhang Wan rubbed his head. In her previous life, she filmed movies mainly to fulfill her promise to Shen Feng and become a movie queen. She never cared about the benefits of filming. Now I live a new life and damn with Shen Feng. When the spiritual world is enriched, of course we should consider enriching our material life as well. Moreover, if she really wants to start her own studio, she will need a lot of startup capital, and what she has on hand is definitely not enough. She knew that Shen Feng was not ordinary as an old monster who had lived for more than 800 years. Who had plenty of ways to make money. However, Zhang Wan still felt that since she had the ability, she didn't need to eat for free. Sister Lin rolled her eyes at her and then said, it's true that you can earn a lot of money by promoting products, but it's easy to cause disputes and it's likely to bring bad things to you and Feng Zi. So from my point of view, I don't want you to promote products. But you can still take normal ads. Mingyu Jewelry just contacted me and said they hope to invite you to shoot a set of ads for them. A jewelry industry is not short of money, and the price is not low. But unfortunately you have signed a contract with Law and YU Entertainment. If you accept the advertisement, the income will be shared with Law and YU Entertainment. And in the end there will not be much left for you. I can only discuss with Mingyu Jewelry to see if the advertisement can be postponed until your contract ends. Sister Lin was somewhat helpless. In fact, Ming La's variety show also has similar problems. But Mr. Lei has a lot of faith if he comes forward. Law and YU Entertainment will definitely give in to him. Zhang Wan also felt a headache when she heard it. It turns out that it is better to work alone. To put it bluntly, YU Entertainment is no different from a vampire. Zhang Wan really doesn't want to stay in this company for even a second. But if you terminate the contract early, you will have to pay a large amount of liquidated damages. It would be great if this company could be put in jail along with Wang Wei and QI. Zhang Wan muttered. When Shen Feng heard this, he raised his eyebrows. Suddenly he said to Sister Lin, Sister Lin, you can just take over the advertising. I'll take care of La and Yu's problem. You? Sister Lin was stunned. Then he looked at Shen Feng in disbelief. Xiao Chen. How do you want to solve this? Do you know how much the penalty for breach of contract is? La and YU Entertainment is very shady, so the contracts they give to artists are very harsh. Not to mention Wan, even if you breach the contract, you will have to pay the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. Chen Feng smiled and said, if you can't afford the penalty, then just don't pay it. If it's Law and YU who breaches the contract instead of us, then the contract will naturally become invalid. Sister Lin frowned, not knowing what Shen Feng was trying to do. And she suddenly remembered that Shen Feng had used some means to expose a vicious marketing account before, and also sent the identity information of that marketing account to all the little stars who were harmed by that marketing account. Thinking of this, Sister Lin hurriedly said, Xiao Chen, although YU Entertainment is not a top entertainment company, its size is beyond your imagination. YU Entertainment is not as easy to deal with as you think. It is completely different from the marketing account you exposed before. Shen Feng just shook his head. Sister Lin, believe me, I have a way. Zhang Wan also quickly grabbed Sister Lin's arm and said, Sister Lin, just listen to Feng Zi, he will definitely have a way. Don't even mention Lan Yu if Feng Zi wants to. Ator Ten Lan Yu may not be Feng Zi's opponent. Zhang Wan recalled Shen Feng's heroic feat a few days ago, in which he single in action made several of her father's hostile companies surrender. Among those companies, there are also companies of similar size to La and YU Entertainment. Feng Zi, this old monster who has lived for 800 years, can even deal with those companies, so how can he not deal with La and YU Entertainment? Zhang Wan what rust Shen Feng 100. Sister Kel still frowned. She thought for a long time, and finally said seriously, let's put the advertising on hold for now anyway. Your contracts will expire in half a year, and you can wait. Xiao Shen, listen to me carefully. Don't try to use any crooked methods to deal with Lan Yu. If Lan Yu finds out, you might be retaliated against. The person in control of this company is not just Wang Wenqiu who was captured. There are many vampires in the upper echelons. If you really mess with their interests, you will be in danger. Chen Chang knew that Sister Lin was concerned about him, so he didn't say much and nodded to indicate that he would be obedient. Sister Lin was still a little worried, so she gave Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan a few more instructions before leaving the villa. After Sister Lin left, Zhang Wanwan asked Shen Cheng curiously, "Fang Zi, do you really have a way to deal with Law and Yu Entertainment? I can't deal with a company without any flaws, but it's easy to deal with a fly nest full of stains and holes." Shen Feng touched her head. "How is it? Do you need me to help?" Zhang Wanwan nodded, then asked excitedly, "Can I watch?" "Certainly." Shen Cheng took Zhang Wanwan to the study on the second floor and turned on the computer. He thought about it, reached out and took out his cell phone and dialed a number. The call was quickly connected, and a somewhat gloomy female voice came from the other end. "Hello, who is that?" "It's me, Shen Feng." Shen Feng spoke in a light tone. When the woman on the other end of the phone heard this, her tone became angry. "Shen Feng, you still have the guts to call me. It's all your fault that I won QIU it, it's all your fault." The woman on the other end of the phone was named Liu Jin, the wife of Wang Wei NQI, the CEO of Lai & Yu Entertainment. It is also one of the largest shareholders of Lai & Yu Entertainment. Shen Cheng personally sent Wang Wen QIU to the police station. Although there has been no public trial yet, it can be said that Wang Wen QIU's second half of life is doomed. How could Liu Jin not hate Shen Feng? If Liu Jin hadn't been busy with Wang Wen QIU's affairs these days, she would have wanted to find someone to take revenge on Shen Feng. Shen Cheng listened to the other party's angry voice and just smiled lightly. "If you kill someone, you must pay for your life. If you owe someone a debt, you must pay for it. This is only natural. Mr. Wang did something wrong, and he should pay the price for it. Don't be too angry. Vice President Liu, I called you this time to discuss the termination of the contract with you. Since Vice President Liu dislikes me so much, why not let Wan and I terminate our contract with the company?" While Shen Feng was talking on the phone, he was operating the computer, doing some operations that Zhang Wanwan could not understand. After hearing what Shen Feng said, Liu Jin suddenly said in a harsh tone, "Want to terminate the contract? No way. Not only can you not terminate the contract now, even if the contract really expires in the future, I will definitely keep you in the company. I will make you Lan Yu's slaves forever. You will have to work hard for Lan Yu to make up for what you did to Wen Qiu." Shen Feng said, "Oh." Then he smiled and asked, "If I say that Vice President Liu does not agree to terminate the contract, I will shut down Lan Yu Entertainment within 3 hours. Will Vice President Liu change his mind?" Liu Jin laughed sinister lie, laughing very loudly. "It's also ironic. 3 hours to finish Lan Yu off. Shen Feng, what are you daydreaming about? Do you think I haven't investigated your family background? A child from an ordinary family, without any background at all. Let alone you. Even Zhang Wanwan's family's company would find it very difficult to compete with Lan Yu, not to mention you. Can you shake even a hair of Lan Yu?" Shen Feng tapped a few more keys on the keyboard. He smiled and said to Liu Jin, "Then Vice President Liu. See you in 3 hours. Chapter 107. I always keep my word. See you in 3 hours. After saying this, Shen Feng hung up the phone. At the same time, the enter key on the keyboard was pressed. Several emails were sent out in bulk. Zhang Wanwan blinked and looked at Shen Feng. "Is Lan Yu finished like this?" Shen Feng shook his head. Yu Entertainment has actually been finished for a long time. Wang Wen Qiu is a talented small business owner, so he was able to start Lan Yu Entertainment from scratch. But he is not a big business tycoon, so Lan Yu Entertainment has hardly made any progress since its establishment. Inside Lan Yu, apart from Liu Jin and Wang Wen Qiu, all other senior executives have their own agenda. Zhang Wanwan asked, "So what was that thing you just sent out?" The documents sent to the private email accounts of those senior executives recorded the losses of Lan Yu Entertainment over the years, as well as Liu Jin's plan to abscond with the money and abandon Lan Yu after Wang Wen Qiu got into trouble. Chen Feng said. Zhang Wanwan stared in disbelief. "Ah, Liu Jin wants to run away with the money, is this true?" Chen Feng said as a matter of course it's fake. I can't read minds, so how would I know what Liu Jin's plan is? And you? What I sent was just a random plan I made up. But there was some truth in it. I hacked into Lan Yu's internal computers and retrieved a lot of financial reports and data that only the top management knew, and added them to my random plan. With these data as evidence, the top brass will at least believe it's eventy of the time. What about the remaining 3 points? Shen Feng smiled. I have said before that the top executives of Lan Yu all have their own agendas, and their loyalty to Lan Yu is only 60.671, so the top management's trust in Liu Jin has now become negative. However, Zhang Wanwan still didn't understand. Even if they don't trust me, It's impossible for those high-level people to bring down Lo NYU within 3 hours, right? Of course not, so I still need a little help. After hanging up the phone, Liu Jin smashed the phone to the ground in anger. This Shen Feng, he actually dared to call me, and he even brazenly said he wanted to bring down Lanyu. Who the hell does he think he is? I will make him pay the price. Definitely. Muttering through gritted teeth, Liu Jin picked up the phone again. She planned to call some people she knew in society and ask them to deal with Shen Feng. No matter how much money it costs, I'll pay it. Since Shen Feng caused her family to be destroyed, she would not hesitate to let Shen Feng die. But before the call was made, Liu Jin received a text message. She clicked on it, only to find that what she received was a flight message, reminding her that she had just purchased a ticket to Hawaii. Liu Jin frowned. When did she buy the plane ticket? She hurriedly checked on the flight website, only to find that she actually had a ticket that she had just booked. Liu Jin felt something was wrong. But what made her feel even more wrong was yet to come. Because afterwards, she actually received several messages about remittances one after another. Moreover, the money was transferred to her by the company's finance department, and the amount was more than 50,000 each time. Seeing this, Liu Jin hurriedly called the company's finance department. What's going on? Why did you suddenly transfer so much money to me? The company's finances were in shambles. Puzzled, he said, we received your email. You asked us to remit the money? Mail? Liu Jin quickly hung up the phone again and wanted to log into her email. But she was shocked to find that she could no longer log into her email account. Someone has tampered with her email password. Liu Jin was anxious and she wanted to call the company's senior management. If she wasn't at home now, she would have wanted to call those senior executives to have a face-to-face meeting, because she felt that something must have gone terribly wrong this time. But what made Liu Jin despair was that, afterwards, no matter which senior executive she called, whether she dialed the number on her mobile phone, made a voice call on WeChat, or sent a WeChat message, none of her messages could get through. Liu Jin finally panicked. But right now, there are people in La NYU who are even more panicked than Liu Jin. That is, the senior executives of La NYU. Just now, they all received an email. The contents of the emails were similar, all revealing Liu Jin's plan to run away with the money. The data involved is very detailed and seems to be very authentic. So the senior executives who received the email created a WeChat group to discuss the matter. They all felt that the content of the email was mostly credible. After all, Wang Wenqiu's second half of life was almost over. Under such circumstances, it makes perfect sense that Liu Jin would simply take the company's money and run away in order to have a worry-free life for the rest of his life. However, these senior executives do not intend to take action immediately. After all, the plan did not specify when Liu Jin planned to escape. These senior executives all plan to observe the situation for a while and try their best to find more benefits for themselves. But at this moment, once again, they all received an email. The content of the email was simpler than last time, with just a few pictures. One was an e-ticket to Hawaii, and the name on the ticket was Liu Jin. Others are pictures of the company's finance department transferring large amounts of money to Liu Jin. Seeing this, the company's top executives couldn't sit still. Some people even went to the finance department to ask whether the money had been transferred and to confirm the authenticity of the pictures. After receiving a positive answer from the finance department, these senior executives all panicked. They didn't expect that Liu Jin's plan would be executed so quickly. If this continues, Liu Jin will soon empty the company. We can't let her take all the money. Since she wants to tear her face off, why should we argue with her? These senior executives, who were already disloyal, could no longer hold back after realizing that Liu Jin had already taken action against the company. They used the power they had cultivated in the company, and began to frantically collect whatever assets they could. Without the knowledge of the employees of La NYU, the foundation of La NYU Entertainment has been completely drained. And at this time, Chen Sheng looked at the time in the study room of Zhang Wanwan's villa. It's been an hour, and the senior executives have finally started to take action. Shen Feng said, then it's time to let Vice President Li see the current situation of her company. He retrieved the remittance records of NYU Finance and sent all the pictures of the senior executives taking the money to Liu Jin via the company's finance email address. Liu Jin, who couldn't make a phone call or send a WeChat message, suddenly received an email. When Liu Jin clicked on it, he was so angry that he almost vomited blood. The top executives of these companies actually emptied out her and Wang Wenqiu's companies. Are these people crazy? Don't they know that what they are doing is against the law? Or are they treating me like I don't exist? She hurried out of the house and drove straight to the company. When he arrived at the company, the employees who had no idea what was going on were still smiling and welcoming Liu Jin. Liu Jin rushed into one senior executive's office after another with a stern face. But almost all of them were empty. Everyone has left. Liu Jin finally kicked open the door of an office. I saw Manager Xiao, who had not had time to leave. Liu Jin gritted his teeth and said angrily, "Xiao Qi, what on earth are you doing? Are you crazy? Are we crazy?" Xiao Qi sneered, "You were the one who bought the plane ticket and planned to escape first. And you were the one who asked the finance department to transfer the money to you first. As soon as Wang Wenqiu left, Lian Yu was already ruined. You and I both know this very well, since you intend to be unkind first. Don't blame us for being in just later. Who is planning to buy a plane ticket and run away? Who is planning to transfer money?" Liu Jin yelled. "What nonsense are you talking about? I didn't buy the plane ticket or transfer the money. It was someone else." "What, are you trying to say that someone else controlled your phone and did this?" Xiao Qi smiled. "Liu Jin, was Wang Wenqiu's arrest such a huge blow to you that it made you stupid? You can't even lie anymore." Having said that, Xiao Qi pushed Liu Jin aside and was about to leave. Liu Jin grabbed Xiao Qi and shouted angrily, "Don't even think about running away. None of you can run away, you are breaking the law, I'm going to sue you." Shen Feng took a sip of the water that Zhang Wanwan handed over. Then looked at the time. 2 hours have passed, there is only 1 hour left. No matter how slow Liu Jin is, he should have remembered to call the police now. And this thing should come in handy. Shen Feng muttered to himself and sent another document to Liu Jin. This is all the black accounts, hidden contracts, and a series of illegal operations within Lian Yu Entertainment that he found in just 1 hour. If these things were to be discovered, Lian Yu Entertainment would face a penalty that would be too huge to bear. Even as the legal representative of the company, Liu Jin may have to bear greater responsibility. On the one hand, you lose both your money and your life, and on the other hand, you are burdened with huge debts and the possibility of being sued and imprisoned. I wonder what Vice President Liu is going to choose. Shen Feng smiled. Zhang Wanwan also poked Shen Feng with a smile and said, "I just realized why you are so mean. I have inherited my elder brother's true teachings." Shen Feng grabbed Zhang Wanwan's fingers and kissed them. And he looked at the time again and said, "If Liu Jin had a brain, he would have thought of calling me now." Unfortunately, another hour passed and Liu Jin still didn't call again. Zhang Wanwan sighed. "Alas, it seems that Vice President Liu has no brains." Shen Feng nodded. But he suddenly glanced at his phone again. And then said helplessly, "Oh, I misunderstood Vice President Liu. The phone seems to be out of battery and turned off." He charged his phone and turned it on, only to find that there were 70 or 80 missed calls. They were all calls from Liu Jin. He picked a missed call that he liked and called back. Liu Jin's voice on the other end of the phone was trembling. "You did all this, didn't you? What are you talking about?" Shen Feng said innocently, "What did I do? I'm just an ordinary person with no background. What can I do?" Speaking of this, Shen Feng suddenly lowered his voice. He said softly, "Vice President Liu, 3 hours have passed. I always keep my word." Chapter 108 Shen Feng, I am a law-abiding citizen. It started from the moment Liu Jin received the last email filled with all the black accounts, yin-yang contracts and illegal operations of Lian Yu Entertainment. Liu Jin knew that she could not beat Shen Feng. If you just want to kill Lan Yu, wouldn't it be faster for you to just hand the email over to the tax department or the police? On the other end of the phone, Liu Jin's voice trembled a little. At this moment, she was sitting alone in Lian Yu's office. The office was very dark with the curtains drawn. There was only a little fire flickering, which was the cigarette lit by Liu Jin. During the time when Shen Feng didn't answer the phone, her emotions gradually calmed down from hysterical madness. That is the calmness that comes after giving up struggling. After listening to Liu Jin's words, Shen Feng slowly said, "Because I was just in a momentary mood and simply wanted to do something." "On a whim?" Liu Jin sneered. "Just because of your momentary impulse, you have made Lan Yu so broken, doesn't your conscience hurt? It seems that Vice President Liu still doesn't understand." Shen Feng said, "Lan Yu was already riddled with holes before I took action. As for the conscience that Vice President Liu mentioned, look at the black accounts of Lan Yu that I collected. Who do you think should have a more painful conscience?" Liu Jin took another puff of his cigarette. She sighed and said, "Shen Feng, you are very capable. I am no match for you. But have you ever thought that taking such an extreme path will also bring you trouble? I hope you can be careful when you go out next time." After saying that, Liu Jin hung up the phone. After knowing that it was Shen Feng who did it, Liu Jin understood that there was no turning back. Ever since Shen Feng attacked Wang Wenqiu and sent him to the police station, Liu Jin already knew that this young man was particularly cruel. Once you've fallen out with him, don't even think about asking him to let you go. In Zhang Wanwan's villa, Zhang Wanwan frowned slightly when she heard Liu Jin's words. "Is this girl threatening you? Is she going to find someone to beat you up?" "She has already found it." Shen Feng pressed a few buttons on the computer and pulled up Liu Jin's call records. After hanging up the phone with Shen Feng, Liu Jin dialed another number. What should we do then? Do you want me to find a bodyguard? Zhang Wanwan asked quickly. She was still quite worried. She didn't want anything to happen to Shen Feng. Shen Feng just smiled. Then he said, when I was helping the bureau solve Wang Wenqiu's case, a police officer left me a phone number and told me I could contact him if I ran into any trouble. So you're going to call the police? No, so after Liu Jin hung up on me, I transferred her phone call to the police officer. Zhang Wanwan raised her eyebrows. At this time, Liu Jin was holding a cigarette in the cell phone. The voice was deep and said, Hey, Lao Xiao, help me be a human being. It's better to kill him, I can pay any price. A policeman in the Public Security Bureau had a strange expression on his face as he listened to the voice on the phone. However, his professional ethics still made him pretend to cooperate and said to the phone, Ooh? He deliberately spoke briefly and in a low voice, for fear that the other party would hear that he had dialed the wrong number. As expected, Liu Jin didn't hear anything wrong with the voice of old Xiao, so she directly said Shen Feng's name. The policeman